You're listening to Pave Media Show.
Visit pavemedia.net for more podcasts and video entertainment.
All right, and welcome back to the Fake Nerd Podcast in the year 2023. This is episode 141, and I'm here with Brandon T. McClure.
What's up?
Ben Magnet.
Hey.
Ryan Eliopoulos.
I'm old.
And I'm Sparks Whitty. Hey.
What's up?
It's 5 years in the future. What's
That'd
up?
be 33.
Oh, 4 years in the future.
Wow, and it's still episode 141. Wow, we took a huge break.
We took a
We were
huge
dusted.
hiatus.
Oh, yeah.
So
I took a nap and I woke up.
did we get dusted?
Yeah, all four of us.
All
got
four of us
dusted.
got dusted.
Yeah.
Oh.
Luna, the dog, was sitting here.
Hey,
just
right out of the
waiting.
gate, spoilers for Endgame.
No, people know that they got dusted in Infinity War.
But that's 2023.
Oh, yeah. Oh, oops. Welcome to the future. Guess what? The movie made $2 billion. How have you not seen it?
You know what? Just from this whole episode, probably safe bet. Spoilers for Endgame.
Listen, honestly, if you're listening to this show and you have not seen Endgame, really, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You should probably
What
stop.
are you doing?
As in,
I
like,
was saying-
stop listening to this episode. Go see Endgame. Make sure you've seen it.
listen
and
to
then
our
come back.
listen to our spoiler special.
Listen to our spoiler special.
Hell yeah.
Especially if you have 3 hours and 5 minutes to kill, because
Hell yeah.
we talk about
Thanks,
Oh,
Mom.
we're actually 2 minutes longer than Endgame.
But
Awesome.
still,
Yeah,
we're,
the movie's 3 hours 2 minutes.
oh.
Wow.
I was saying, we're like Peter Parker's classmates. We were all dusted.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting
What a
situation.
convenient thing to happen.
Yeah. Ever since Endgame came out, people started posting stuff on Facebook where it's like, okay, it's been a week. A lot of people have seen it.
Yeah.
People have been like, there's this one dude who posted like a list of like quote unquote complaints, and the most comments that he has gotten, like one of the things that he says, like, well, when did Cap lift up Thor's shields? 3 people comment like, dude,
Age of Ultron.
read the books.
Oh, you mean lift up the hammer?
Yeah.
The shield?
Yeah,
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Yeah.
Callbacks, baby.
Actually, what was interesting about that? Joss Whedon at the time was asked, did he lift it or not? And he's like, well, look, you don't just kind of lift Thor's hammer. So he'd have to
I watched
stop.
I watched an interview and somebody specifically asked, so you made Steve not worthy, right? And Joss simply said, did I?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Up-
the
up in the
implication is he had to he stopped himself from lifting the hammer.
That's I think even
That's
even
what
better theory. He realized he could take it, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to upstage Thor because I'm
No.
such a good guy."
I heard that theory.
So-
That goes to Thor's whole thing. It's like, I knew it.
yeah, it's good.
No, I have heard that theory.
It's a good one.
But at the same time, I also heard another one where he wasn't worthy because he knew Bucky killed Tony's parents, and he still hasn't told Tony yet.
That's
I
morally different.
I don't agree that made him unworthy.
Yeah.
Either way, I still don't think he's not 100% worthy until Endgame.
Maybe he's born with it.
Here's the
Maybe
thing,
he's
though.
Mjolnir.
Here's the thing. As far as we know about Mjolnir, you aren't kind of worthy.
It's one or
You're
nothing.
worthy
man.
or you're not.
You're
It's one
worthy or
zero.
you're not.
Yeah.
So at that point,
So he doesn't. You don't kind of lift the
Can
hammer.
you imagine Steve lifting it 75%? Like, man, it's pretty heavy, but I can do it.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen. You don't just kind of lift the
Yeah,
hammer.
I still don't like it.
Really?
I still don't like.
Captain America,
no,
baby.
I don't like the theory of Steve being like, oh, this is Thor's thing, because like he looks at Thor. I don't like that. I don't like people saying that. I just like he was almost like, oh no, you're not worthy yet, and then he's totally worthy.
Then
at
he
Endgame.
wouldn't have been able to lift it at all.
I could see. I can see both ways. I like ours better.
We totally stepped on your intro. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, sorry, bud.
No, you didn't.
All right, that's it.
That was
All right.
it.
Welcome.
Okay,
Welcome
well,
to Endgame.
That's our Endgame.
We
talk.
live in a post Endgame world now.
second highest grossing film of all time as of today.
After 2 weeks.
And it
1 week.
is
Really,
two
as
weeks.
of like this morning.
Yeah.
As of last night.
I really didn't expect it to be
11
this fast.
days.
That's
11
It's the
days.
fastest any movie has ever reached this milestone.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fastest any movie has ever reached any milestone.
It's broken every single it made more money on a Monday than any movie on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day it's a new record.
Yeah, it's broken every single record.
James
It's set
Cameron's
the new
crying.
record. What did James Cameron say today?
He's just like, the superhero thing is probably gonna bust sometime, and I'm like, shh.
You know what?
Shush up, man.
You know what? It will.
Shush it.
But until then, we're coming for that top spot, mother effer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's something to be said about like Avatar is an original property.
Yes.
Yes, it's also Pocahontas, Ferngully, Dances with Wolves.
Dance with the Wolves.
In
space.
I think that's a stupid argument. That's like, well, Avatar really should keep the top spot because it's an original movie, and I'm like, it has the top spot because it came out with 3D technology being its big gimmick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it made a bunch of money off of it.
Exactly.
That's not.
And also, we're forgetting.
It's not because it's an original product.
We're forgetting it at 34 weeks without any competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's unheard of.
Pokemon's coming out this week.
Yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
But here's the thing about Avatar. Like, I'm obviously, look, it is weird that Avatar made that much money. It's also kind of cool.
It's a product of its time.
It is a product of its time.
Also,
it is an original IP. It is not
it's
based
true.
on other IP.
It is true, but also the ticket. I mean, maybe adjusting for inflation a little bit back in 2009, but a 3D ticket was still a lot more expensive than a regular ticket.
I definitely saw that movie like 3 times in IMAX because
I saw that movie.
I was young, and I did think at the time it still is like
the 3D
spectacular.
is still incredible.
Oh, the
It's
3D,
spectacular.
the effects, the special effects in the movie.
It pushed special
Absolutely.
effects forward for sure.
Yeah.
that story's pretty boring.
I
though.
do not regret seeing that movie in IMAX 3D.
Yeah.
I
10 years
regret
later.
seeing that movie in regular D because I missed the IMAX bit because the IMAX bit made it pop more.
I can't believe we're getting 4 more movies.
No, but what I was really saying is like, yeah, look, you look at the top 10, the top 30, the 39th highest grossing film of all time is an original IP.
Yeah.
Everything above that, until you get to Titanic, is a sequel, reboot, prequel, adaptation, what have you.
Yeah.
That honestly, it's a little sad.
It is. Yeah.
Because where's the market for the original IP? And the fact that the top spot is an original IP is kind of cool.
It is.
Yeah.
But look, the MCU has earned this.
Yes.
This is a franchise that has made us care about characters that no one has been able to do before.
Yeah.
Turned Iron Man into a household name.
So it's kind of cool that this, it's the Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
Like we care. This franchise has made us care so much. Nobody remembers who the Avatar characters are.
What do you mean, Jake Sully?
Until you said it.
Jake Sully.
Until you said it, I didn't even remember.
That's literally all I got.
And you know
Until
what?
someone said that Zoe Saldana will have the 2 highest grossing films of all time, I didn't know she was in it.
Oh,
her
I
bank,
I never forgot she was
her
in it.
bank account has got to be flush. Oh boy.
And you know what, Ryan? I was gonna be a cheeky bastard and say, "Wait, you're talking about Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender?"
No.
I know.
At any rate,
No.
Avatar, as of this morning, Avatar has made more money in Titanic's entire run and its re-release, in so much less time.
Did you mean Avengers?
Said
You said Avatar.
Sorry, Avengers
Yeah.
has made more money than Titanic's entire run and its re-release because
Yeah.
it was re-released in 3D,
And-
which brought it above 2 million.
And
2
not,
billion.
again, like I'm not making this a Marvel versus DC thing, but I'm just looking at Justice League and what we were given.
Yeah.
And Avengers made more money on like a Tuesday. Like Justice League almost made like all of it all.
I mean, it should
Like,
be
it's incredible.
like a clear sign to everyone, not just DC, that like you want to do a cinematic
Just
universe.
be patient.
Do it right.
Yeah.
Don't have that be your goal when you make the movie. Make a good movie.
Believe in your audience, because if the movie's good, they'll wait for the next one.
Yeah, make
Hey,
a good
guys.
movie.
Did you see the article I sent you?
You get that thing I sent you?
I haven't read it. No.
Okay, this is a good place to plug this shameless plug.
Plug.
I actually have lost this job. Kind of. I mentioned a little while ago. I'm writing for the entertainment. Writing entertainment articles for Viking Social Agency.
Mm-hmm.
I've linked a couple in the show notes. I'll link this one in the show notes since it's directly what we're talking about. But now they're going to once a month instead of once a week. So the one I wrote this week, which is the last weekly one, was about why, or how I see it, why shared universes don't succeed like Marvel has.
Mm-hmm.
I basically dive into the ones that have been, the ones that we've seen specifically, like The Mummy, or that's it. No, like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, like The Mummy, like films that are specifically...
Try to build the universe too
DC.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I quote James Gunn where he was talking about, Marvel didn't set out to do this. They just made the foundation really strong. Man of Steel didn't make that foundation really strong. They made Spider-Man 2 didn't make that foundation really strong.
Yeah.
The Mummy, look, the Dark Universe tried twice. Dracula Untold and The Mummy, and both failed.
Man.
So...
And I like that Dracula Untold movie more than I like The Mummy.
So I mean, So what sparks his point? I dive into that in this latest article. I'll link it in the show notes if you guys are interested.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I actually want to do more with that because I was super into that. I had to stop myself from making it 4 pages.
Yeah.
So, guys, I just thought of that horrible line in Jurassic World,
Which
where he's
one?
like, $10 million, that's a slow Tuesday for me.
Oh yeah.
Avengers did that, made more than that.
No
on
joke.
a
It
Tuesday.
made like $30-40 million on like a
on
Tuesday.
a Tuesday.
That's like a good weekend opening for any movie.
Domestic.
Domestic. Yeah.
It's also made more money in China than every movie.
Yeah.
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 Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's here
That's
for the
insane.
Endgame. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, I don't mind that it'll beat James Cameron. I'm not like out to get James Cameron or Avatar.
I'm not either,
No.
but he's
But,
out to
like,
get other people sometimes.
I feel like he does act like kind of a pretentious
He
dick
does.
a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
He doesn't-
about
he
doesn't
film.
need to be.
Absolutely.
But I also just think it's cool. Like Avatar sat there for a very long time,
10
and,
years.
and in some ways I feel undeservedly.
Agreed.
and-
11 years.
And so Avengers Endgame being a film that we've had all this build up to, and that's the film that might take it out. That's pretty neat. I think
Yeah.
that everybody should just calm down though. Like it's not a big deal.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's awesome that it's making the money. If it happens, whatever. Avatar will still be the number 2 spot. Who gives two shits?
Until Detective Pikachu,
that
we're
Endgame
coming
beats
for
it.
that number 2 spot.
Oh,
Yo.
man. I'm actually really curious what the box office is gonna look
I think
like.
Pikachu's
Yeah.
going to do I don't
Good.
think it's going to like do these kind of numbers.
Nothing.
But
will.
I do think it will do
Yeah,
well.
I think so too.
Well, now actually, Pokemon is the most recognized franchise of all time. It
It
beat
is.
It beat Star Wars.
It sold the most money in terms of merchandise and games and stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it did beat. It
and
beat
its
Star Wars.
competition, its direct competition is John Wick, which isn't the same market. So
No.
it's got.
I mean, for me,
And
Yeah.
all the people who still
Yeah.
want to see Endgame.
and all the people who still
Again.
see game.
Who's left?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well, no, I said again.
Oh, again. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Okay.
Sparks, you and I went and saw it today.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Max.
So besides just that, how was your guys' week?
So besides thinking about Endgame and weird time travel stuff, I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat, which is a lot more time travel cool stuff. And Mortal Kombat operates in the Back to the Future world where you affect something in the past that changes the future. And that's
The Looper world.
The
yes.
loop. It's really, really fun to see, characters die. Like characters brought from the 90s die in 2018, so it affects the entire timeline. That stuff's really fun. It is really, really great.
I really want to play this game.
Dude, it's like honestly, I was thinking about you a lot because like when it gets political and like it's about like intrigue and I'm like, okay, like there's a lot of stuff where like the cons are battling about whose army they're going to use to fight this other threat, and it's just people talking in throne rooms.
The last 3 Mortal Kombats have really like been Jonesing for me.
Yeah,
like
like-
they look like they were like,
Yeah.
hey, lore, hey, time travel, politics.
A huge
Here you go.
For the last 3 games, a huge aspect of this game has been Outworld and the Khans who rule them. Because Shao Kahn was obviously the main guy, but now
Yeah.
Kotal Khan, who in the future is the new ruler, and he's like this cool Mayan temple leader, and he's nice and people like him. But Shao Kahn's back from the 90s, and he's like, I know I'm dead, but I'm here now, so I'm gonna take you out. And it's this huge conflict between like who should be the leader, and it's like, wow, this shit's really good.
Yeah.
And then Sonya Blade shows up and ruins it.
Oh,
Again.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, she's still bad, but that game's great. That's all.
Ben, do you have anything you want to bring up for this
I went to the Renaissance Fair.
Hell
week?
yeah.
I saw that. How was that?
It was fun. It was fun. I'm gonna be going again with Ryan and my friend Elena.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be dressing up and everything.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Party City, see if I can get something real cheap.
Shit, I need to buy my wizard robe. I still haven't done that.
We talked about this
We
earlier.
did. We talked about this at dinner. Damn.
All right, we got time.
Yeah. So right before we watched Thrones, I got to order my wizard robe, but it was good. It was I
Get a fake nerd
haven't
wizard
been.
robe.
What's up?
Get a fake nerd wizard robe
We don't have that
in the T Public store.
We
as
don't
of
have
now.
that. We know we don't.
Oh, the wizard robe's not on the docket. Oh,
I'll make it work.
$300.
No.
Just relax on the TeePublic
No.
for a while.
Yeah. chill out.
Disney just pulled one of your shirts. Just relax
Yeah.
a little.
Did we talk about this in the
Yeah,
show?
we
we
did.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it was fun. I haven't been.
I have that framed.
No, I haven't been to the Renaissance Fair for the past few years. It was really nice to go back. And yesterday was a nice chill day that I needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right on.
Sparks.
I watched all the CW shows.
You look like you did.
Yep. It got into that swing again where I was like, oh man, Legends is pretty good. And there was a nice stint where like Legends had come out 3 weeks in a row and everything else had gone on a break.
Yeah.
So I just had like 3 Legends episodes to watch and I'm like, oh man, this is great. And then it was back to Arrow
Oh.
and Flash. And then Supergirl, and then Legends, and then Arrow, and
That hurts me so
Flash.
bad.
Oh, the talk about Endgame real quickly. You know what the current Flash costume reminds me of? The first Avengers Captain America costume.
Yeah, I can see
And
it.
I was watching, and I was reading. That's the word I was looking for. An interview with them, and they were talking about that suit, and they were like, "Yeah, apparently Chris Evans hates that suit, and apparently the reason is because of the ears. It doesn't show his ears, so it throws off the whole
symmetry.
The symmetry of his head, and
it's just like a block. Yeah.
And so like the new Flash suit reminds me of that. It's just like a cloth.
The Flash suit is brighter than that suit appears in Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to.
No, that's honestly that's most of what I did, and uploaded things to YouTube.
Lots of YouTube stuff up.
We'll get to that later. Or do you want to talk about that now?
Doesn't matter to me.
Let's talk about it now then. What we got up on YouTube?
Pretty much the same things we said last week. We got another episode of Basement Arcade. We got our reactions to episode 3 of Game of Thrones. That happened because that happened after we recorded last week.
So have you? I know you don't watch Game of Thrones, but have you seen like the internet zeitgeist that's been happening around?
Yes.
So
this episode specifically,
it's very polarizing, and it's
not unjustified.
Yeah, not to get too into it, but like it's kind of reshaped kind of the way I view the show for a negative. The entire show, but not so much I don't like the show. Like, obviously I still love the show, but like they do something really, really something I don't like, and it's like it's building up a plot and they get rid of it. I'm like, this was worthless. I watched you guys' video on it. Oh,
and so I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
So Ryan,
yes,
you are the reason you have created the zeitgeist of the show.
What show?
Sorry,
of the show.
Oh, hold on 1 second, Ryan. I can hear your hand.
Oh, sorry.
Where it is. I think you might want to lower it.
Got it, baby. I just put it right back where it was. There we go. Cool. Okay.
You created the zeitgeist of this show, Fake Nerd Podcast.
Okay.
Back in the early days, Ben and I didn't care about what the tone of the show was going to be. You came on, you set the positivity tone to it.
Okay, I like that.
I attribute the tone of the show to you.
I like it.
So whenever you're negative about something, I'll be honest, it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching this like,
yeah,
this is nice actually.
Because like I don't like it's not like I don't have negative thoughts. I just like I don't always want to share them. Yeah. But like this really rubbed me the wrong way, and I was just like I was really just bummed out.
Yeah,
I was really bummed out. And like I was
bummed out for you guys.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this next episode because I'm just really hoping they can't like fix it, but just like right some wrongs maybe. But we'll see. I'm excited.
So we got Fake Nerd Watch, which is the Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah.
2 episodes of Basement Arcade right now.
Yes.
There are 2 episodes of that. Our last week's podcast went up as a video.
Yep.
I saw that.
With just pictures, and our Endgame special went up as a full video that we recorded.
I watched a little bit of that too.
Did you cut to the time mark where Luna scared you? I put that in the description.
Did you really?
I time marked in the description where Luna scared you.
That's awesome.
It's like 2 hours, 35 minutes in, and it's like watch Brandon be scared by a dog.
That's awesome.
It was very late. I might do that.
That's pretty good.
What do we have up as far as like archived things? Anything yet?
Not this last week.
Okay. We're kind of focusing on MCU stuff.
It took me a long time to get my computer to render the 3-hour video recording of us talking about Endgame, and that took a while. So I just didn't get any archive stuff up. I'm hoping to soon have up our MCU rewatch part 4. Mm-hmm. That up. That's like the next thing I want up.
Can I real
so
quickly,
all of them are there.
Can I real quickly talk about Fake Nerd Watch? Not our MCU rewatch part 2 that you put up masterfully.
Oh, do you mean part 1?
No, part 2.
Which
with Thor: The Dark World.
That was part 1.
Was that part 1?
Yes, because what happened is that Ben was listing the films in chronological order, and he said it goes Captain America, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor: The Dark World, and then everybody was like, no, and he's like, frick, Thor. But if you watch the video, Ben, I don't know if you have,
no,
but
I have not.
If you watch the video because you said Thor: The Dark World, I put up a picture of Thor: The Dark World where there's supposed to be a picture of Thor, but not only is it a picture of Thor: The Dark World, it's the bad redone poster from
with Thor from
China where Loki is being held by Thor
and loving
Thor: The Dark World, and I just put that in the place of the poster because you messed it up.
I have not seen that.
That was so funny to me.
Yeah,
I need to look at that.
I loved that.
Thanks.
I think I screenshotted it.
It's a nice little thing,
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to touch on?
We'll have more archive stuff in the near future. There will be another Fake Nerds Watch after today.
Yep.
Because we'll have the new Game of Thrones out. There will be another Basement Arcade this week.
Yep.
Other than that, this recording is going to go up. All our podcast episodes are now going to go up just the way the last week's did as videos. Occasionally, we might do video recording like we did with Endgame for them, but we're not going to do it every week.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
But it definitely we'll do it more frequently in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Downright Nerdy Podcast brought us up. They just dropped their episode yesterday. I haven't listened to all of it, but I listened to most of it, and we had a whole lot of conversations about Endgame. They kind of did. I think we're talking about the future of the MCU. They kind of did the same thing, but they also kind of did a second part of their Endgame discussion
Right,
like a
I
week
saw
later. I imagine we'll probably have a few thoughts that we'll share in that regard, but not a lot. Anyway, they shouted a few of us out, specifically talking to them about Endgame and time travel and stuff. And then they brought up the bingo card thing because they'd done that, and Michael felt really bad because he didn't do very well on his bingo
he shot
card.
for the stars.
I think dream big, man.
Dream big,
like
yeah.
I thought he did. There's nothing wrong with what he did.
Yeah.
But because some of us got bingo and he got like next to nothing.
Yeah.
Riley on the podcast said that we need to do a rematch, and they want a rematch of bingo cards for Star Wars: Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
I'm down for that. Hell
So
yeah.
this is
All
what I have
you
to
know
say
what?
to.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Damn it, Brandon.
Are you really going to say that?
Yeah, I was going to like challenge accepted.
Well, there you go.
I don't think you need to say it, so I
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a Mortal
check them,
Kombat.
There we
check
go.
them out. They're a good group of people. They have. Ben was listening to a little bit of it with me, and I'm like, man, I don't agree with that opinion. But, but I respect the reason why they feel that way.
Yeah, we were.
I haven't watched it. How were they?
And I don't want to say like I don't agree with everything that they say.
Yeah. I haven't listened, but were they positive on Endgame or did they?
Yeah. Michael felt. I think they both kind of the main host, Michael and Riley. I think they both kind of felt more positive on further reflection over a week.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they were negative to begin with, but they liked it even more in like deep thinking and hindsight kind of thing.
Cool. Like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So
What about you?
I guess I will go.
Hell yeah.
I did see 3 movies this week. I tried to make it 4 because I wanted to try and see Endgame before the end of the week, but it was not to be. I saw Curse of La Llorona, the latest in the Conjuring films.
So
It's
what's
fine.
It's fine. Okay.
It's not as good as The Nun, which is a low bar to set.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't hear the great things.
I heard you guys.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
interesting.
you, Brandon, were saying that the bun was the bun. The
bun.
nun.
There's
The
a shirt.
That's a. God damn it.
Oh my God! It could be the nun, a nun with a
Stop
bun
coming up with shirts.
Jen is gonna murder you. We've
I'm-
already.
I
How many?
need to-
How
I've
many?
only asked her for 1 shirt, and when I'm not gonna say it on the air, but when I tell you about it, you're gonna love it.
I have a question because
Yeah.
the thing is like the Nun didn't bother me that it didn't do super well because I was like that's fine.
It did.
But-
It did one of the best of the Conjuring franchise.
No, I mean like critically.
critically, yes.
And it didn't bother me that it was received that way or anything. But Curse of La Llorona, there's a lot of real cool history and stories to that, and I hear that almost none of it is utilized.
Yeah, no.
That's really unfortunate. That feels
Yeah.
like a real waste.
So as I've said before, I think Annabelle is the worst of the Conjuring franchise, mainly because I think The Nun is only better because The Nun has more likable characters, and I'm invested in those characters. Whereas
that's important.
Yeah, where Annabelle, I don't remember who those characters were.
Sure.
But The Curse of La Llorona is kind of in this in between. Like I like some of the characters, I don't really like the other ones. But the biggest offender to this, and being a Conjuring film, I think that it as a Conjuring movie hurts it because it's such a take away the line of dialogue. It's not a Conjuring film.
Yeah.
But it relies too heavily on jump scares. Every
I've heard
scare
that
is
too.
a jump scare.
I've heard that too.
And that's something the Conjuring films
have
just
gone pretty far.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not that they don't do jump scares, but they don't rely on them.
Right. And so this film relies on jump scares.
Yikes.
That's when your scares aren't good enough to just be like tension filled.
There are some good tension scares. When they rely on those are pretty good. The design of La Llorona is good when her shawl is over her face. I don't like it when her shawl's up, which actually happens quite a lot.
Is it just like a generic like? Rah?
Yeah, pretty much. I kind of have a similar problem with The Nun. Valak has a similar facial issue.
In many ways, this disappoints me because this should have been different culture version.
Yeah,
essentially, but different culture version of The Woman in Black.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a very similar execution and story, and The Woman in Black is really well done.
Yeah.
And I wish that this film was closer to that, but with all those different attributes of what the story has related to its culture and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some good scares in it. Like there's a not priest who like kind of like what the Warrens do. But he's using them as bait. There's a really good scare in the film where and it's kind of a Conjuring staple, where they look up the stairwell and the shadow starts to disappear slightly enough so that you see a silhouette of something, and it's her, and then then the shadow gets darker again, so she disappears. That was really effective. There's some good effective stuff, but it's too few and far between.
That's a shame.
I was disappointed.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. When the nun is the bar.
Yeah, it's kind of
it's a low bar, but La Llorona is a lot lower.
I think because we were talking about Cinematic Universe just a little while ago, and Conjuring is arguably the second or third most successful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sitting below the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think the only other one that's even close, and it's not really there yet, but it will be, is Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
With Hobbs and Shaw coming out, and potentially other spin-offs.
The Conjuring films do very well.
Yeah, they do. And now I'm hoping that they stop spreading themselves out a little too thin, I think.
Real quick, I just want a yes or no. Would you guys watch a Han Fast and Furious prequel movie?
Yes. Yes,
That's
I like that character.
That's all I want.
I like that character.
I'm gonna
a lot.
say
To be honest with you,
if you want to expand the universe.
but I'd rather there were the space for him to have a film with Gal Gadot in it.
Yeah,
because I liked him.
It could still be,
but it'd have to be a prequel in
After
between
Fast
like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, sure, because I think he worked best when he was in the relationship with her and they played well together.
They were good.
And I'm more interested in that, honestly, than
I
just
didn't even
him.
consider that. I like that better.
So we're quickly going back to Conjuring
Sure.
Cinematic Universe. There's room for the Conjuring success to help small, lower budget horror films
100%.
like La Llorona.
100%.
I don't think. I think if this film wasn't a Conjuring film, it actually might have been better received.
Is this a Cloverfield situation? You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah.
I think what my thing is that it feels like when it's closer to the Warrens, there's kind of a quality control before they approve it.
Yeah.
And there isn't the further away from it gets.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to do that because I want them to, like, I'm all for them continuing this train of this universe and everything, but I want them to bring the same kind of, let's do this well, let's think of this through, and execute a good horror film that they've been doing with the main Conjuring films and with the sequel to Annabelle. Because Annabelle Creation was really strong.
Yes, it was.
And I feel like that was because they looked at Annabelle and went, you know what, we could do this a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame that La Llorona isn't stronger. There's so much room for that to be really good.
Yeah, and the other thing is this director, the director of La Llorona, is directing Conjuring 3.
Yeah.
So that gives me pause now after watching.
To be fair, horror movies are tough. I was going to say, like, directors, not everything could be the writing, but directors do decide a lot of the scares and everything.
Yeah. So hopefully, I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
I think you're on something about the quality control thing. So I think I would be a little more worried, but those two Conjuring movies are awesome, and I don't think they would let that happen like they would a La Llorona.
I'd hope not. I mean, like, James
think.
Wan kind of has some oversight.
James Wan, fun fact, now that the movie's out, my NDA's off, James Wan actually had to come in and fix The Nun. So the final copy of The Nun is what James Wan had done because he was so disappointed in how it was turning out.
Sure, and I mean,
yeah.
and that causes me to think, like, he needs to be watching, like, if La Llorona is worse than that, he needs to be watching these properties a little more tightly, or put someone he trusts in the position where they can.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be doing oversight to make sure that they're going up to the bar that they should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because right now it just feels like, that's kind of a neat idea. Let's pump that out.
Yep. All right, so moving off of that, I watched Penguins, which is the new Disney nature film.
Is it cute?
It was really cute. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Beautiful films, those Disney nature movies.
They
Holy
sure
shit.
are.
Oh yeah.
And I saw Long Shot, which which hey guys, the romantic comedy is back, and it's successful. Long Shot's really good.
I was really looking forward to this, man.
I was
it's
hoping
real
this was
good.
I was gonna want to see this movie.
Yeah, I'm
it's
into
good.
watching.
I liked it a lot.
That's good to hear.
Apparently, I've started watching Gilmore Girls, which is not something I realized until like 2 days ago.
What?
My girlfriend just puts it on, and I've been kind of gotten into it.
Oh,
Riley? Is that her name?
Who's Riley?
Is there a character named Riley? Nope. Gilmore Girls?
Rory.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
I really enjoy it, but Sean Gunn's in it.
Yeah, I was going to
Yes.
say Sean Gunn yet?
Yeah, so
Seriously?
he's a main character in
Yeah.
every single
Yes,
episode.
he is.
And I was watching this like, that's Sean Gunn. I had a very shocked reaction.
So
That
is
show is actually really well
Jared
written.
Padalecki and Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah, a
Yep.
lot of actors actually got their start in that show.
Wow.
I saw Rami Malek had a small cameo in that show.
I believe it.
Really interesting.
And Melissa McCarthy before she blew
Oh,
up.
that's true
Yep.
as well.
Yep, she's
Wow.
really good in it.
Yeah, man, Gilmore Girls is all right.
Honestly, I quite enjoy it. But that's all I wanted to bring up. That Free Comic Book Day was yesterday. Anybody go?
No, I was at work.
No, I was at a Renaissance fair.
I actually forgot to ask if we wanted to go there today.
I would have said yes. I forgot though.
I would have liked to have gone. I missed it too. I was really bummed about that, but hopefully you guys did. If you guys did,
What time is it?
It's
Pause right now.
No,
it is.
they're
It's
closed.
not
No.
even close.
Yeah.
That sucker's closed.
if you guys, the audience, went to Free Comic Book Day, let us know what you guys got.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear about that. You guys might have known.
Wow,
I also
really
did,
are the fake nerds this week.
I started doing Godzilla posts. I said
saw.
every day till May 31st I was going to do a Godzilla post. Then I realized I got real bored.
Oh, Brandon, you got to commit.
So 3 days in, I was like, I'm going to do this differently.
Well, you're no Russo brother, are you?
3 days in, I'm gonna not do just the movies because there's only 35 and I've probably seen 12.
Well, okay. Well, you should think about
wait,
that
wait, wait.
before
Have
you
you
start
not
it.
seen all the Godzilla movies?
I've seen all the Heisei films. I've seen all the Millennium films. I haven't seen all of the Showa films.
Wow.
I've
I
seen
didn't know this.
I've seen like the heavy hitters.
I genuinely didn't know this.
Yeah, Terror of Mechagodzilla. Haven't seen it. I've only seen Godzilla vs.
There's no
Mechagodzilla.
way I've seen more Godzilla movies than you. That's crazy.
I've seen every single one.
yeah.
I've seen
can't say.
all the Ray films. By the way, I found out that the new era that we're in is Ray.
Uh-huh.
Or I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But
Are we in an era right now?
We are currently in an era. Yeah.
They're calling it that?
Yeah. So Shin
Not
and
just
the anime
America?
trilogy. No, Shin and the anime films are in an era of Godzilla films.
How is that an era? They're not even connected.
Ask Japan.
Hey, Japan, what's going on?
Shin Godzilla is a standalone product. Thanks, Japan, for ruining that.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me call Japan up real quick.
You got its number? Cool.
Yeah, I had the Prime Minister on the line. So
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen probably half of the Showa films, honestly.
I sense a Godzilla marathon in our future.
Let's do it.
I do sense a Godzilla marathon in our future, and I am totally down for this Godzilla marathon.
Yeah, so I'm going to do something differently. I'm going to post about the comics and things. I'm going to just change it up. Something a little bit more interesting.
Cough, cough, Godzilla,
and-
Century War, cough, cough.
Honestly,
Book club.
I've been doing just mostly moving, trying to get my place in order.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Had a fever yesterday, which came on quite suddenly and disappeared quite suddenly.
Nice.
So
Hot
should be
flashes.
fine. I should be
Was
fine
it Cat Scratch or the one that Frank Sinatra gives you?
Ooh, cat scratch fever.
now. Okay.
I got those references.
Let's move on. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up before we move on to our news?
There's a scene in MK11 where young Scorpion, who's evil, he's meeting old Scorpion, who's dope and is like running like the Scorpion gang to be good guys.
He's not good. He's just dope.
Well, he's good and dope, but evil Scorpion's like, you bring dishonor to the family, and then you have to fight old Scorpion, and then old Scorpion kicks his ass, and he's like, yo, young Scorpion, listen to me, I'm obviously you should be good, and he's like, oh, okay. And it's just really cool. It's just
I was expecting him as like, you bring dishonor to the family.
and he's like, no, we bring all the honor, dude. It's really good. That's all.
All right, let's get into our bread and butter.
All right.
And here's your bread. And your butter. Okay, not in my ear, thank you.
All right, then to start, we have some bad news, some sad news, really.
Yeah.
Peter Mayhew, the actor best known for Chewbacca, in the first 9, what are those movies called? Star Wars films.
There you go.
The first 9 Star Wars films. The first film he was not Chewbacca in was Solo, Star Wars Story.
Yeah.
That was purely the new guy. But yeah, he passed away at the age of 74.
So 8 Star Wars films, not 9.
If you don't count Rogue One, which I was, just to make it easy.
But he's not in it.
I know.
Okay.
Was he in 9 at all or no?
No, he's in
No.
9.
No, he's
not in 9.
He's not.
Oh,
in
he's
9.
not. Oh,
right.
He passed the mantle on to a younger actor
to the
in
guy who's in
Solo,
Solo.
and that same guy is doing it
Got
for
it.
Last Jedi.
Okay.
that tall
For-
blonde
for
guy.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is not, as far as I know, not in Rise of Skywalker. It's just the new
Yeah.
guy. But in Last Jedi, they both did it. It was a dual.
Yeah.
It was a dual role. Yeah, that's really sad. He was 7'3".
Yeah, man.
It's insane.
He obviously loved the role. Like he was at cons all the time.
Oh, yeah,
he was a. I mean, I don't think any of us met him, right?
No.
no,
No.
I did
But
not.
he seemed like a big sweetheart, and he seemed like a real nice guy, man.
Yes.
Him and Anthony Daniels were
Oh,
they
yeah.
always embraced their Star Wars, because Anthony Daniels, no one else will voice C-3PO. No matter how big or small, it's always his voice.
Yeah.
No one else will voice 3PO except for him.
Yeah, he doesn't even do the body anymore for C-3PO, but he does do the voice still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Peter Mayhew passed away at the age of 74. It's very sad.
Yes.
We're really sucks.
It's a bummer, man.
Yeah.
Lived a long life.
Yeah.
He's
He
one of
did
the
a
most
lot.
iconic characters in history, though.
It's hard for someone that tall to live so long.
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, man. Right?
Because it's for taller people. I'm not talking like 6'5" like me. Like
No.
we're like talking like 7 foot.
7 foot.
Yeah.
That's
That's
harsh.
That's with your organs, man.
It's
Right.
harsh to be that
Same
tall.
with really short people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like your body isn't made the way it's supposed to handle those, like the process of your organs and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's harsh on gravity. Like your knees start to it's like he was always walking around with a cane.
Yeah.
It's why in
made
all,
him look real cool,
It's all
though.
in the Star Wars films, the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi. He's always whenever Chewie is sitting down, it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Chewie's walking, it's not him.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's really a bummer.
he'll be missed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said someone else passed away.
Yes,
I forgot the guy's name.
yes, John Singleton. He had a stroke over last weekend, but he passed away on Monday after the podcast. He was 51. He made Boys in the Hood when he was 24, and he was nominated for Best Director and Best Screenplay at 24. And in the early 90s, for a black filmmaker to do that, it was next to Spike Lee. Like he's one of the most important black filmmakers in history.
Yeah.
Did he
And-
also direct Friday?
No.
Oh.
But he did direct. His track record isn't as great. He did do Too Fast, Too Furious, which is fine. But he's also he co-created Snowfall, which is a new FX show about the cartels, and that show is apparently pretty good.
Yeah.
But
I've heard good things. Yeah.
but Boys in the Hood is such a not monumental film for black people, and I'm like it for me. I think it's a good movie, but it doesn't have the impact it has for other people.
Sure.
And it's a shame because that dude was my dad's age. That's real young.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It's as the Empire podcast would say, it's no age at all.
No age at all. It's true. Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to something better,
Yeah,
happier?
Happier. Yeah.
All right, Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
I like those guys.
Has signed an exclusive deal with Sony.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't
Really?
hear about this?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
so they've
shit.
signed a 5-year exclusive deal with Sony
Oh, they got money.
to develop. I'm going to move my microphone. Don't worry about the noise. Signed an exclusive deal to develop projects around Venom, Spider-Man, Morbius, and Silver Sable for the TV screens for television. It's a television deal.
Is it tied to the movies?
Not that we know of. However, they did say.
But those are the characters.
However, they did
Yeah.
say the Into the Spider-Verse characters are reportedly also on the table, but there's nothing saying about this. This is television. Doesn't say if it's animated or not.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
This is weird.
This is quite weird.
Because Morbius and Venom, those are
These are all people
Yeah.
getting movies.
They're incredible talents. But that makes me think they're gonna make an Avengers everything with those characters, and we're gonna have a TV show about them.
It's everything about this is exactly what I was nervous about if Venom did well. Sony's
Yeah.
going to oversaturate this hard.
yeah. Oh, Luna.
Well,
our
Luna's-
puppy hates this news.
Luna's scaring me.
Luna
again.
hates Sony news. I hate vampires. I hate Jared Leto.
Oh, that's such a sad
It is.
moan. I'm just
Man.
gonna leave all of this in.
I'm gonna listen. I don't like Jared Leto either, man. I get it. All right.
All right.
Well-
Phil Lord and Chris Miller said, "We are so grateful to everyone at Sony Pictures Television for choosing to partner with us and expand our enduring relationship with the studio. Together, we aim to make groundbreaking work of the highest quality and integrity, and to place that work in convenient proximity to your eyeballs and ear holes wherever you may be."
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Well, it's weird. It feels like a double-edged sword because Lord and Miller, great, love those guys. They did Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. Love that movie. My favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. Doing stuff with Spider-Man villains that also have movies or had movies coming out.
Here's my best case scenario. How I see it. I'm gonna move my hand because it's right where I'm not supposed to put it. The only way I see this for me working is if they make a Spider-Man Spider-Verse animated universe where the animated Morbius character is in there. It's not the Jared Leto one, but it's the character Morbius, so there is synergy. That's the only way I can see where they introduce those characters in this universe. You know, we have like the Kingpin from Spider-Verse. That's not the same Kingpin.
Yeah, and even then, I still think if you're doing the live action and shoving those characters out in these animated forms in different versions, like it's too much.
No, I agree.
No, I know. Like
Yeah.
even in the best case scenario, I still think this is. Oh, you like that thing? Now let's just cram it. Cram it down their mouth. Cram it all out.
They don't have Avengers, and they want money. They're gonna do everything they can. Venom.
They get
Venom
money. They
was
get
such
money
a
when
bummer.
Spider-Man's in Avengers.
No,
like,
I know, but they're like, we need more. So let's make an animated Morbius.
I hate Sony.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller do give me, I like them.
They're so talented.
gives me hope there. However, the way Sony has handled the Spider-Man property,
So was the guy who did Venom before he did Venom.
Yeah.
even post the Sony deal that allowed them to use Spider-Man in the MCU, they don't need to do shit
Yeah.
with any of these characters.
I think Spider-Verse is a fine and great idea.
Yeah.
Even if Venom and the live action films weren't on the table, I'd still like. And you told me, oh, they're making these animated TV projects around Venom for Spider-Verse and Morbius for Spider-Verse and Silver Sable for Spider-Verse. I'd be like, this is still too much.
Yeah.
Like no matter what way you slice it.
And they didn't say that, so it does worry me that it's just going to be the Jared Leto, but it's animated. It'd be like the Marvel shows getting just a Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh man.
Like that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
That sucks.
This kind of reminds me of Disney XD doing,
Yeah.
the Avengers Assemble, the Guardians of the Galaxy,
the
Ultimate Spider-Man.
the bad Avengers TV show that you guys
And-
were talking about.
Yeah.
The
And
fine Avengers TV show.
Yeah.
That we're talking
No, I was.
about.
What about the bad one? The one that no one likes.
When we're saying it, we're saying
This is
Avengers
that
Assemble
one.
is fine.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that show
it's
is
not bad.
inherently
It's just clearly not the show before it.
It's not Earth Mightiest
I
Heroes.
really don't feel they would put their names on this if they really didn't believe they have something special.
True.
Because they do not make bad. They have not made a bad thing yet.
True.
And their quality control is on point. So I don't like it, but like my head isn't completely buried yet.
But there's a first time for everything to go wrong.
Yeah. No,
And
I know
this-
that's what's scary. That's what's worse. Sony is the company that's going to ruin directors because the guy who made Venom before was fine, and now what if this is the first? This is awful.
I mean,
Sony's going to take everyone with them into
I'm
the
pretty
grave.
much anti everything that Sony does related to Spider-Man properties that isn't Spider-Verse. So
Even Homecoming, or sorry, Far From Home.
That's Marvel.
I don't
though.
count that because I consider that part of the MCU stuff. Even though Sony's connected, that's Kevin Feige's calling those shots.
Okay.
Marvel still has creative control
Yeah.
over those
Sony-
films.
just
But the
spent
things
some
that
money.
Sony decides to do, Spider-Verse, I'm like A+. Everything else, I really
That-
wish it would just stop.
That new trailer is going to have a big spoiler warning in front of it. Apparently, you see
Which
that?
new trailer? Oh, the Spider.
The Far From Home
Far
trailer.
From Home
It's going to have an
That's
Endgame
the rumor.
trailer.
Is that it's
Wow.
going to have a Tom Holland at the beginning being like, okay, so look, if you didn't see Endgame,
got
don't watch
problems.
this trailer.
I think that's smart
Yeah.
because that's exactly what I want them to do. I want them to dive into what the hell happened.
Well, and
Yeah.
they said
Which we'll get
the
into.
Russo
Yeah.
brothers were like, as of tomorrow on Monday, that it's like, it's free game. Say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Spoil the end game. And I'm like, dang, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah.
So some comics news. We talked about last week. The news technically broke this week. Batman v Superman. Jesus Christ.
Batman Superman.
Superman, the comic book with David Marquez and Josh Williamson. There's some more information on that one, but it's basically what we already talked about, so we're not going to touch on that.
Yeah. But it's definitely
Sounds really good.
double happening.
Really, really cool. Really excited. However, the big news came today that Patrick Gleason, who
Hell
is
yeah.
a prominent DC writer for a long time, DC writer and artist for a
Yep.
long time.
Never heard of him.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
For a while, he was on Superman. For those who don't know, he was on Superman with Peter J. Tomasi.
Didn't he do Batman and Robin with him too?
He did Batman and Robin
did.
with Peter J.
That's a
Tomasi.
seminal run,
He
baby.
was also drawing Young Justice.
He was.
Recently
And
drawing Young Justice.
I was loving. I mean, it's been a while since I've been to the store. I haven't picked up because I have a few issues of Young Justice waiting for me, and
They don't have him as artist.
Ah, damn it! Because I really liked him.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, however, Patrick Gleason has signed an exclusive contract
Exclusive.
with Marvel Comics.
Oh my god.
Um,
They released
like
they released like a promo image of him just drawing the Marvel characters, and I'm like, oh my god, he draws maybe the thing I've ever seen. Like the
It's-
Fantastic Four.
You know what
thing.
this reminds
So
me
good.
of? I mean, it's not as big as when Brian Michael Bendis jumped ship from Marvel
No,
to DC,
but it's big.
But this is This is kind of like a reverse Bendis situation.
it's more like
bit.
a reverse David Marquez situation.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
honestly,
better. Yeah.
I'm the happiest about it because I was like, man, I was really liking that Superman book, and then Bendis is writing, and I love Bendis, and now Bendis is writing Superman, but I was liking that Superman book. Oh, now this guy's writing Spider-Man. That's
Yeah.
my number one.
Drawing
There you
Spider-Man.
go.
now actually, actually, he is drawing a Spider-Man story.
Yes.
Oh.
In Amazing Spider-Man 25. It is going to be a backup story. No word yet if he will be
Okay.
the current ongoing artist on that book.
All right.
We won't find out till a little later.
Yeah.
But he is doing this. But he is
He's
working
drawing
on the
Spider-Man.
He's working on the Spider-Man titles. He
Yeah.
is part of that group of editors. So hey,
He is
Yeah, man.
drawing
Yeah,
a spider.
His Marvel characters look real good.
He's drawing a spider. That's all I care about.
It's super interesting when you have an artist who is so loyal to one company, for not like loyalty, but like contract reasons. Like, who was it? Who's the guy who came over with Justice League with Scott Snyder? Jim Chung.
Yeah.
He was a primarily Marvel guy, and the first time I saw the Justice League versions of Jim Chung, I'm like, I've never seen them look this way before, and I love it. So it's the same way. Like, I've
Yeah.
never seen characters look like Patrick Gleason DC characters, and I'm
it
like,
allows.
this is awesome.
It allows the characters, regardless of like voices of writers or not. It's more interesting when artists go over from different companies because
Yeah.
you get to see these vastly different artists working on these characters, and oftentimes they look so different
Yeah.
that you're just like, wow, this is a really
It's
fresh
refreshing.
look for these
Oh,
characters.
yeah.
Oh, it's funny because when we hear news like this, like Gleason getting an exclusive contract with Marvel, Bendis jumping ship from Marvel to write exclusively for DC, I remember reading the foreword before Batman Long Halloween, where both Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale were talking about, it's like, yeah, after we were done doing a book at DC, we just jumped on the subway. We went over to Marvel to work across the street.
Yep.
And they would just jump back and forth, constantly doing different projects here and there. And those guys' names are both very prominent in both DC and in Marvel.
He's
Yeah.
the chief creative officer for Marvel.
TV?
And no, it's just for comics.
Oh,
Oh no,
okay.
sorry, that's Joe Quesada. Jeff Loeb is on the Marvel television
Yeah,
side. You're right.
Jeff Loeb was the executive producer for all the Marvel television
Yeah,
Netflix
it's
shows.
Still is, yes.
Hey man, people who work in comics love comics. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
It's cool when they get to jump ship like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Jeff
awesome.
Loeb was the chief creative officer for Marvel for a while, if I remember. He was
Yeah.
also the editor-in-chief at Marvel for a little bit. Interesting stuff.
Loeb in it.
So that's really cool. So Patrick Gleason had a quote, if you'd like me to read it.
Read it.
I am so pumped to be joining the Marvel family as a newly exclusive artist and writer. CB Sobolski and everyone at Marvel have been so welcoming and enthusiastic about what we are going to do together, and has been nothing short of awesome. Since I was a kid, I've dreamed of working with their iconic and now world-renowned heroes. It's exhilarating at this point in my career to reach a new high point and to be drawing The Amazing Spider-Man. I can't wait for fans of the Marvel Universe to see the crazy and exciting comics we're going to make together.
Hell yeah, dude.
Cool.
Awesome
This is awesome.
stuff. I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited to see what books he does. More honestly, like these days, because I've talked about how I've not been the biggest fan of Bendis on the Superman comics.
Mhm.
Like, it's not for me when an artist jumps ship. That gives me a sense of like, wow, I can't wait to see that character with that voice.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that art on that character.
Yeah.
So it gets me more excited whenever artists jump ship. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Anything else? you guys
Moving
wanna
on
add?
downtown.
Here we go. I call this MCU adjacent because I have a theory about the TV shows done by Jeff Loeb.
Ooh.
But Hulu has announced
right.
released this Wednesday, announced that they are going to be doing 2 TV shows, one based on Ghost Rider, with Gabriel Luna returning as Robbie Reyes, reprising his role from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
All right.
and Hellstrom, which is interesting
The
because
son of Satan. He's not the
Hellstrom-
son of Satan anymore.
Hellstrom is interesting because in the comics it's Hellstorm, and his sister Anna in the show is Satana in the comics.
Satana, yeah.
So that's interesting. So I'll talk about Ghost Rider first, because we know that character. We've seen this character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's Gabriel Luna returning. They say it will be a new iteration of the same character with an unconnected story from the one we saw in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Which is weird.
Very weird.
I don't know why you're bringing the same actor
That's
then, but
weird.
okay.
Yeah. It's going to be produced by Jeff Loeb and Ingrid Escajeda,
Mm-hmm.
sure, who will also serve as the showrunner. She, I'm assuming it's a she, had this to say: "I couldn't be more excited and honored to be handed the reins to a Marvel character as beloved as Ghost Rider. This story hits every note for me. My love for grounded yet conflicted characters and my desire to scare the shit out of people.
That sounds good.
It's important to me to find a take that thrills existing fans as well as wider audiences, and I believe we've done just that." Interesting.
I
What do you
wonder.
think about this?
I wonder how close to the Netflix level these Hulu shows are going.
What is Runaways Hulu?
Yes.
What is Cloak and Dagger?
Freeform.
Freeform.
Oh, is that's an actual TV station, right?
That's
Yeah.
ABC Family now.
okay.
We knew it as ABC Family.
Okay. I'd imagine it's probably like that level.
Because I mean,
right?
like I always
But
picture
Ghost Rider's all special
because
effects.
Ghost Rider's got to go so it's got to have a
Fast?
good budget and it's got to go pretty darn like
Dark.
brutal if it's going to do
Yeah.
it if it's going to do it justice.
Yeah.
On the level of like what Punisher is capable of. And
I will say, I enjoyed for the most part him on Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
I think you can do PG-13, especially with him since it's not Johnny Blaze. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you can have him be a teenage Ghost Rider and it be PG-13.
and it be toned down.
Yeah.
for sure.
which is which is not exactly what I want. But
No.
Well,
yeah.
he's not a teenage Ghost Rider because Gabriel Luna's
well,
almost
sorry,
30.
but that's
you're right.
but
yeah,
a
yeah.
younger
He's
Ghost
not
Rider.
Nicolas Cage 45.
right.
Yeah.
A different and younger,
A youthful.
not the one who goes to hell all the time.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, okay?
The young dude who's protecting his
because
younger brother.
and that's very much like
Yeah.
when this came out. I'm like, well, I'm kind of glad that they're not trying to do Johnny Blaze because I don't feel like Hulu's capable of doing Johnny Blaze
Yeah.
And
justice.
it's not even that for me. It's just like you've already kind of like established this is kind of separate. Like Johnny Blaze is such an important character. Like I feel like he needs his own thing. Like and especially a darker thing.
Yeah.
Like give him the
That's-
Netflix shit. Or
that's
or
what I'm
the-
saying. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. But like
Yeah.
we're not getting any more Netflix shows.
Or
so
then what
who knows where we'll ever get Johnny Blaze?
You'd
but-
have to put the dark stories
would that be?
would be going on Hulu. Like that's what the more mature content goes on Hulu. The family friendly
Handmaid's
stuff goes on
Tale
Disney
is
Plus.
Hulu,
Yes,
right? Or Amazon.
it's Hulu.
It's
Okay.
Hulu.
Okay, so Hulu can be dark and gross and okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just we haven't seen that out of the Disney.
Maybe this
Disney
is the
ABC
test.
camp.
Maybe this
Yeah.
one will be darker than we think it will. Who knows?
So
Yeah.
I was about to say I'm not the biggest fan of how Ghost Rider was handled on Agents of Shield.
Mhm.
Robbie Reyes in the comics is a teenage kid who had to drop out of high school because he had a full scholarship, but his brother was his uncle had died. And his brother was crippled because of it,
Mhm.
and his uncle ends up possessing him and becoming and making him Ghost Rider, which made him vastly different than every Ghost
He's
Rider in the
a
comics.
Spirit of Vengeance, but he's not the.
He's not even a spirit of vengeance.
Oh, okay,
So that's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
His uncle, he has the satanic ghost of his uncle,
Yeah.
and not a spirit of vengeance.
Yeah.
That's why he was so different than every other Ghost Rider. They made him a generic Ghost Rider on Agents of Shield. I've never been very happy about that, especially because they made him kind of a dunce who couldn't make it in school,
Mhm.
and not a smart kid who was good, but
Who
had
chose to
drop
drop out to take care of his brother.
Yeah, I felt like I had a friend Nora who worked at the comic book
Yeah,
store. She
yeah.
was Latina.
Mhm.
She talked to me about how that was actually really racist because it perpetuates a stereotype. I'm not going to go there. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of that story because I like the idea that each Ghost Rider is different,
Mhm.
and I want to see those differences celebrated. If you're doing Robbie Reyes, don't do a Johnny Blaze story with Robbie Reyes in that position.
I agree. Yeah.
I just want to see the differences of the Ghost Rider celebrated.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is almost like a PG-13 Ghost Rider, where like he is. It's kind of like its own narrative. It's not tied to Agents of Shield, and he's in L.A. taking care of his brother, and then he has to take care of crime around the city.
Yeah, the unconnected storyline thing actually gives me hope that,
Same.
like, well, okay, so you could change his character. You can make his character closer to the comics.
100%. Yeah.
I'd be really
And
interested
man,
in that.
Well,
that
this-
design is so effing good too.
Would this
Yeah.
still be connected to the MCU or no?
Well, that's why I say it's MCU adjacent. If it
Okay.
is truly a spin-off of Agents of Shield,
Then
then
technically.
technically yes.
All right.
Yes.
However, if it is its own thing, like we're hearing, like we're interpreting, then possibly not. It
Yeah.
could be as disconnected as The Offenders are, which is also Hulu.
Mm,
Okay.
So we don't know.
okay.
At any rate, it would have to be set in 2023.
Yeah.
this brings
Hell yeah.
This brings everything up to 6 Marvel shows on Hulu, right?
Yes,
There are 4 amongst the Offenders series.
Yeah, and then it would be this
and then
one and
this
then-
and the Hellstrom.
Yeah,
Okay.
so from Hulu, real quickly back to Marvel's Ghost Rider before we get to Hellstrom. From Hulu, Marvel's Ghost Rider, also known as Robbie Reyes, is a quintessential anti-hero consumed by hellfire and supernaturally bound to a demon. Reyes lives on the Texas-Mexico border, and when he
Oh, he's
unleashes the
moving.
rider, Robbie
That's awesome. Texas-Mexico border means they'll probably do more Latino stuff then.
Robbie brings
Okay.
vengeance for the innocents he encounters, but struggles to control the power he wields. By the way, he's really good on Avengers. I really like his character on Avengers. Jason Aaron writes a really good.
Oh,
Robbie
yeah.
Reyes.
Yes, I agree.
He's on the Avengers right now.
He is.
His I love it. His trunk has a portal to hell in it. So he just starts putting people in it whenever he's done with them. He's like,
In the first arc, he takes over the body of a Celestial, becomes
Hell
Celestial
yeah.
Ghost Rider.
was so cool.
It's like the coolest thing that character's ever done.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
So Hellstrom, formerly Hellstorm. Hellstrom, Damon and Anna Hellstrom are the son and daughter of a mysterious and powerful serial killer.
Yep.
Also known as Satan. No.
He was, so originally in the comics, they were the actual sons and daughters of Satan, and then they nixed that because Marvel didn't want to deal with Satan.
Yeah. The siblings have a complicated dynamic as they track down the terrorizing worst of humanity, and with their attitude and skills. Each with their attitude and skills. I didn't read this beforehand.
So you're the only person who's seen Hannibal, right, Sparks?
Correct.
This, to me, sounds like...
I have seen an episode, thank you.
Okay. This reminds me of Hannibal. It's the children of serial killers hunting serial killers, or Dexter. Like, this sounds like the darkest thing Marvel's ever done. We'll see how actually dark it is.
Sure.
But the fact that this is even the idea of a show is surprising to me. It really is.
Right.
I'm really... there's not as much information, but I'm really excited to see what they do with this show.
This one is produced by Jeff Loeb and Paul Zabizuski.
Does it say what else he's done?
He's been working pretty consistently in television. He
Okay.
he was a writer on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Lost. He works...
TV guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can if Hulu's going to go this dark, there's no reason we can't get our Netflix heroes back.
I don't think it's...
once the contracts are over.
It's just a scheduling... It's just a contracts waiting thing.
Yeah.
Because Marvel wants them. They will probably want to do stuff.
Unless Feige decides to introduce them in the show.
Right, that's
in
what
the
I mean
movie.
is we
Yeah.
by that time, they might repurpose them into something else.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
Paul said this: as a lifelong Marvel fan, I feel incredibly fortunate to help bring this darker, thrilling corner of the comic book universe to life, and I'm just grateful to everyone at Marvel Television and Hulu for the opportunity. Marvel's known for all the heart, humor, and action they put into every series, but this time around, we're adding some scares to the mix. I think we found a compelling way to dissect some of our deepest fears through the experiences of our two lead characters.
Dissect, because they slice things.
Cute.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on?
I'm not
before
all the Hellstrom stuff I've read has only been in Ghost Rider or Doctor Strange stuff.
They debuted in Ghost Rider.
Yeah. And then there was the Damned event that was last year with Doctor Strange and stuff like that.
That was pretty good.
Hellstrom was also in there a little bit. I think it's cool, man. I think Marvel's really gonna start taking risks. Like Thor Ragnarok was a risk, but this sounds super cool to me. I hope they stick with the darkness and how crazy it is.
Now remember, this is Jeff Loeb.
Yeah.
And so the thing is,
Yeah.
I'll explain my MCU adjacent thing a little bit more. The Jeff Loeb and Kevin Feige don't seem to be working together when it comes to the TV shows and whatnot. Now we have the Disney Plus shows being produced by Kevin Feige and not Jeff Loeb. It looks like those shows are the ones that are going to be connected to the movies, and they've even said these shows will impact the movies and so on. So it feels like to me, and we'll get to the next thing. It feels like to me he's saying goodbye to the TV shows produced by Jeff Loeb. That could be wrong. Who knows?
I mean, we've brought it up before. We know that at some point the Russos were in conversations about having the Netflix characters, and that
Jarvis
they
was
thought
in
about
there.
it. Right. I was going to say the fact that Jarvis came from the TV shows to the films means Kevin Feige isn't hard no about this.
No, I've never said
it's
he
just
did.
how
Has
does
to
it
work.
How does it work? How can we make it work? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think as long as that can be figured out, then there's a future for it.
What I just think is, Kevin Feige's not. He's not in the talks. He's not in the room with these.
What I will say is,
shows.
Yeah.
I agree,
Yeah.
but what I will say is that I don't think that he is completely oblivious to what's going on with them, and I don't think that he's looking for how to use anything that they are using now or will be using soon. So if he does want to play with them at all, he has to go to the shows, because that's obvious from what happened with Inhumans. Inhumans made a show, and therefore he was like, well, we can't do the movie.
I don't think he was ever interested in doing the movie.
At one time they
that was on a slate.
No, so all the backroom chatter about the Inhumans film was that Ike Perlmutter forced him to put the movie on the slate. Ike Perlmutter was heavily forcing this movie because he wanted to say screw you to the X-Men. We saw it in the publishing line. We saw it with that. Kevin Feige was never on board with doing a movie. So when he got Spider-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, he was very happy to take it off the slate. You saw it with his interviews when he said, "Yeah, it'll happen, I guess, whenever it happens." That's why Ike Perlmutter, adamant about doing Inhumans, gave it to Loeb to build his TV show.
Okay, whatever. Nonetheless, Kevin Feige let Jarvis come from Agent Carter. I don't think that he's opposed to if there's good use and they want it of anything from the TV shows coming
over. It's just will it work the right way? I think top of the list of anything is, because I think it's probably the most wanted thing, and the thing that Kevin Feige I think would most likely be wanting to see himself is bringing Vincent D'Onofrio over to be Kingpin in a Spider-Man film.
Probably.
I think that's probably highest.
That'd be
I
too
think that's
good.
probably highest up in anything anybody would consider including
That would be
him himself.
legendary, man.
So the possibilities are existed and open. Who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, so moving on. It's a good segue, but
love
we should do this
segues.
one first because this was last week and we missed it. Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Swamp Thing.
the Swamp Thing-
How did I miss this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally slipped my mind.
We were just very caught up in an Endgame
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
maelstrom.
Yeah.
word for
So
it.
the Swamp Thing trailer for the TV series coming out May 1st, not May 1st, May 31st, has dropped.
It comes out this
online.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah, end of the month.
Oh my god.
And,
Same day as
Godzilla.
Oh my god.
This looks really good.
Yeah, for a show that's apparently having a lot of behind the scenes problems, this show looks awesome.
I will say that watching it the second time, no detriment of the show or anything. There is real bad ADR in this trailer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
and I feel for them that I feel like this was maybe a little bit rushed, trying to kind of counter some of the bad press
Yeah.
that was happening.
But
And
you know
I
what,
feel
man?
for them on that. But the look is
The
good.
rot.
The look is
looks
good.
good.
Yes, I
Oh,
100%
man.
agree. I feel bad for them that the ADR kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the visuals of
lackluster.
this of the show look like that's what I wanted, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
dark and spooky, and like there's like creepy rot crawling into people, and Swamp Thing's rising from the swamp. Like,
I'm all for it. I really hope that this is the show you want it to be, because if it's a show you want it to be, I know it's
Yeah.
the show we're going to enjoy.
now
Yes.
I know. I think all of us have read. The dog's just being super cute. You're right. Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing run.
I have, yes.
Also, in Animal Man, there's like the rot disease that's killing people, and like I'm really wondering if they're influenced by the modern comics and the old comics, doing both at once. Because if like there's like Abby's like investigating some disease in the swamp, right? What if it's born from like the rot and it's
Dude, can I if these shows did well enough that they brought in Animal Man and did that story,
I would cry.
Holy crap.
I would cry. Yeah.
So much goodness.
The story of Rot World.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my god! And you have the Titans, so you can have like all the crazy stuff with like Batgirl being a bat and like giant robot Batman.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You
Yeah,
have
this show
the-
looks real
You
good.
could bring in the gray.
Yeah.
The fungus.
Well,
Yeah,
that was. I mean, that was
Part-
after.
Oh yeah.
That was after.
Um,
but
there's-
yes.
They're doing a smart thing by it looks like using all aspects of the comics in season one,
For
so they
sure.
can really develop whatever they want.
Yeah.
So far, I'm really impressed.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, I'm anticipating it. I hope that it isn't something where we're going to find out that it's already kind of been predetermined for death.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I really hope that's
Same.
not the case.
Yeah, same.
All right, then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. released a new trailer this week.
Hey, guys.
For season 6.
I'm kind of on board.
Probably set in 2023.
It's not.
It's not.
No.
The people have already seen the first episode for the season.
Yeah,
and they've done reviews. about
IGN
it.
reviewed it and they said
Yeah.
they liked it.
All right, so if it's not set in 2023.
I've seen both good, bad.
Yeah.
It's set 1 year after the events of Infinity War.
Okay.
So are half the people missing?
They don't acknowledge anything about that in the show.
50% of the world is gone. You better
They
acknowledge
don't
that.
acknowledge
They really
anything
don't?
about that. No.
That sucks.
That's what I was reading in the what it said in the review is that they are focused entirely. First off, nobody from the team got snapped,
perfect.
and
How coincidental.
and they are entirely focused on the loss of Coulson and finding Fitz in space, and those are the two things that the
What if
team
Fitz
is.
was snapped?
And those are the two things that the team are focused on, and nothing else.
How awful would that be? Like Fitz is snapped, so like the entire mission is to go get him. They open up that
they open it up and
cryogenic
it's
thing.
Ash.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
So this lends
it's
credence
no
to-
longer able, I think, to be considered part of the MCU. I don't think that at any point during this show they're going to acknowledge
Because this is some
the snap.
Avengers level shit happening now.
And I'll tell you what we're seeing in this trailer. If it were 1 year after the events of Infinity War, based on where we see Black Widow and the gang in Endgame, I think they'd be involved.
They would.
So
This is world-ending stuff.
I'm pretty sure if you want this to be connected to the films, that ended at 5.
That's
Yeah,
very true.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Which in a way is fine because
For
like
me, it
you
ended
can.
at 3. Honestly,
To be honest with you, I think it ended at 5 for me. I think 4 and 5 were the strongest seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting the part of season 1 that was the Winter Soldier stuff. I think 4 and 5 are the strongest points of the show.
Yeah. Oh man, I think so too. I'm just saying like connectivity. I think.
No, sure. I understand. But I think 5 was the proper ending that I wanted.
Yes.
And this looks cool, but it also looks like something where I'm not really going to think of it as part of this anymore. Just like I pretend that Inhuman show doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I got some like Mad Max vibes from some of this.
Yeah.
So basically, the plot is apparently an alien who looks a lot like Phil Coulson goes from planet to planet, destroying other planets, and now it's time for Earth to be destroyed.
I think it's because you have Deke from the future, and he's in the past, and there's a couple mentions of time stuff, and like you're out of time, and like they're coming to get me. So I think evil Not Coulson is there to wipe out this planet and this reality to fix the timeline.
I'm curious to see, but it's going to be hard to. I was very pleased with the way season 5 ended, and you're going to have to be a pretty good show to make me feel like it's justified.
There's a fundamental
going past this point.
There's a fundamental thing of Coulson being there after the way he went out, or I'm like, I just don't like that this is happening.
Yeah,
but the trailer they gave me, like, it didn't have to be like Clark Gregg being that evil character.
Sure,
but I'm sure it's impactful for the characters.
Yeah.
Like we just watched him die and he's back evil.
I mean, it's kind of like
a year later.
It's kind of like Supernatural. Supernatural for me ended at 5.
Yeah.
Like there's 15 more seasons.
Yeah.
I'm good.
10.
Whatever.
Yeah.
There's 35 more seasons. I'm good.
Ben, tell me how much you love not evil Coulson.
I don't.
Okay, cool.
Because I watch S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, I know.
haven't seen
You
S.H.I.E.L.D.
just haven't
forever.
said anything in a while. I just want to get you in.
But I mean, this trailer actually does look good because I remember you showed me the first trailer and the second, and Sparks was telling me how Coulson died in last season.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, and then
So
we
sweet.
see Coulson and he's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Oh god damn it, why?"
Yeah,
but seeing this trailer,
It makes
like,
sense that he's an alternate doppelganger thing.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm okay with that. I'm like, oh, so it's not the Coulson. It's not the stupid trope of I have my memories wiped and I'm bad now. Soon the power of love will get my memories back.
The power of love.
Yeah, that sometimes the trope works, other times it doesn't.
No, you're right.
Shit! I just realized that it's, you know what? Someone probably picked up his body, reanimated it, and gave him a false memory, like Captain Marvel.
Nah. No.
You want to?
That's not it.
You want to bet money?
Yeah. You think that
You know what? I don't feel strongly enough about it, but I
did you watch the
I'm
final
willing.
season of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely not.
I don't think that's what they're doing. I will give it that kind of credit. I don't think that's what they're doing.
I don't think that's.
I
Steve
think
Coulson.
he genuinely is from some other spot.
I'm not giving
place.
it enough credit. Ryan's giving it too much credit.
because he comes down and he has that line about which I think is pretty good, where he's like, I've raided a lot of planets. I've
None of
never
them
been the one where
recognize
they've
me.
recognized my
Yeah.
face.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
where I was coming from. That's the line I was basing my theory on. If this alien species are like, yeah, you're just this evil person, and then they come down and it's like, oh my god, Coulson is like, oh my god, I'm Phil Coulson.
No,
It's
I
happened
don't
with
think
Captain Marvel.
that's what it is.
The plot of Captain Marvel is all I'm saying. I'm not wrong, but hey,
she wasn't killed.
True.
And then
I thought she was dead.
she wasn't killed for the second time.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then it's too much. I think even the writers know that's too much.
I hope so. Is this?
Of course,
still,
I could be wrong. They surprise me sometimes in good ways and bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still Jed Whedon as the showrunner?
Yes.
Interesting. All right, let's move on.
Moving it.
We're not going to say this one yet. Crawl.
Ooh.
Is this Sam Raimi? Alexandra?
When you said that, it sounded like Kroll.
Alexander
like
Aja.
Krull Kroll, and I'm like, what?
Crawl, Crawl.
I know.
Which is a low budget horror movie that looks really rad.
Yo, man, there's a storm in Florida. Is it Florida?
Florida.
There's a storm in Florida, and a house gets
hurricane.
flooded.
It's a hurricane.
And then a bunch of crocodiles, alligators come and like wreck shop.
So I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I dig it.
This is
I dig it a
not
lot.
Sam Raimi directed.
No.
It's Sam Raimi
Produced.
Alexander Aja,
With
who
the-
did Hills of Eyes and
The Evil Dead remake.
No,
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe.
You sure you didn't do the Evil Dead remake?
100%.
Who did the Evil Dead remake?
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, he's going to look it
One
up.
second.
I know it starts with an A.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's this low budget horror film. You can tell by the fact that the CG on the alligators doesn't look great, but it looks really inventive and really fun. And
I think I'll say that the disadvantage I think this has in comparison to something like Don't Breathe, which
Fede Alvarez.
similar like Enclosure kind of thing.
yeah,
Is that Don't Breathe had Jane Levy, who is really great as an actress,
Hell
and
yeah.
this has
I don't know, but she seems like kind of like step up above sci-fi maybe, and I'm not feeling like I'm going to be super invested in these characters maybe.
Yeah.
But like the concept seems neat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I just like the low budget concept.
It reminds
alone,
me
yeah.
of that. It reminds me of that. There's some other characters in it too. There's some really interesting things I thought about. Oh yeah, it looks like he's in a supermarket. It looks like there's your eyes are literally rolling in the back of your head, Ben.
No, I'm okay.
Ben, I saw your eye in the back of your head. I saw the whites
You just
of your eye.
You just warged into something real quick.
You were
Where was Bran? Where was Ben?
He was in Ben the whole time.
you were not here for a second.
Okay. Anyway,
No, so there's a bit of the dog swimming. Really hope the dog survives.
Yeah.
There's a bit. It looks like a supermarket. What it reminds me of is the Shark in a Supermarket movie. Bait. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that.
yeah.
Oh, is that the movie where I think it's flooded, but a shark gets in there?
Tsunami hits.
A tsunami hits and there's a shark in a supermarket?
And more than one. Like 3 sharks
Okay.
get into a supermarket during a flood
Bait,
from a tsunami.
crawl, nice and easy. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because also...
Which is a all right movie.
all right,
And this
yeah.
probably will be about the same.
Yeah.
Well, also what I'm actually kind of drawn to this for the movie Crawl is that it's not one of those like it's not like the Meg where it's like, oh, it's this larger than life creature.
Hey, that is cinema masterpiece you're talking about, The Meg.
How quickly can I get home from here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sparks, I don't believe you for a goddamn second.
Go ahead, Ben.
It's just a bunch of gators that just happen to show up in this house, and then it's like, hey, food, let's eat.
Bunch of gators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're not like giant gators. They're not like it's not like
They're just hungry.
plastic gators. They're just like a bunch of gators native to the area.
Well, yeah.
and
Correct me if I'm wrong, but with a shark, you need to have a reason why they're going after them. You need to have
Yeah.
either it's starved or it needs to sense blood or something.
Or for revenge, like Jaws 4, The Revenge.
we don't talk about
Not
Jaws?
if it's a bull, tiger, mako, or blue.
But oftentimes, the shark movies are great whites.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. I
Yeah.
know. But I was saying, like, those sharks, they like to attack anything.
Yeah.
They're known for, like, that's the ones where, like, if you go to waters they're in, they're like, look, hey, these sharks, they're going to attack you, like, flat out. They're going to go for you.
Yeah.
They want to.
Yeah. But for an alligator, I believe you just have to be around and it's going to go.
They're as far as I know, alligators are ambush creatures. So if you
meet, they'll eat you.
yeah, essentially if they think they could get you, they're gonna try and get you.
If they meet you, they eat you.
Essentially,
I was
There you
trying
go.
to make the
Yeah, no, I like that.
All right, cool.
yeah.
All right, that's the highlight of my day. Goodbye, everyone.
Podcast over.
Everybody gets one.
No more trailers, right? That was it. We have nothing more we want to talk about.
Is this a joke? I actually don't remember.
Oh, no.
It is a joke. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
What a week for
here's
everyone.
I have to tell you guys this.
Yeah.
If you heard a scream in the wind,
It was you.
oh yeah,
It wasn't just you. It was Paramount too.
Sorry, so I just wanted to double check something on Crawl real quick. It
Yeah.
is gators in the movie. They're a little big, I think.
Yeah.
They look
Okay.
more like crocodile size.
Okay.
And I was like, gators are smaller than
I don't know.
crocodiles.
I don't know.
So
anatomy.
gators are smaller than crocodiles, like equally, like they're dangerous too. But the design definitely looked more like crocodiles to me, and I'm like, I hope that these actually are gators and look like
I
gators
hope
because
so.
they
Yeah.
look the size of crocodiles.
Right.
To me, sorry, I'm weird about nature.
That's fine.
No, we know.
The Meg is bigger than a normal shark. You know that, right?
Yeah, we watched Bait. There's 3 megalodons in a supermarket.
I think a
What
supermarket
is-
is the size of a megalodon.
what are they swimming through a freaking Winco? Jesus.
Yeah. It's a super
I'm
Walmart.
sorry, Sparks.
It's okay.
It's a
Don't-
Costco.
Right.
Don't give
So the
Sparks
Sonic the
a-
Hedgehog trailer dropped, much to everyone's dismay.
You think you were dismayed?
Oh, I was just saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ben, were you shocked?
Oh,
honestly,
honey.
You were really shocked. That I was gonna.
Ben, we knew.
This
Oh,
is the
we
same-
knew. No.
This is the same image we saw with Chris Pratt. They didn't change
To,
this.
to be honest, okay, so a leaked image of Jim Carrey came out as Eggman, and like Ben and Ryan saw it around me, and they're like, "Yeah, okay." And honestly, I looked at it and I went, "Yeah, I think I know what this movie's gonna be."
Yeah. Yeah.
so trying to be positive.
I can be positive. Actually.
Trying to be positive.
Does Sonic the Hedgehog go through parallel dimensions frequently? 'Cause that-
Trying to be positive. I thought Jim Carrey's leaked image with him with his hair and his smaller mustache looked fine.
I still like the way he looks. To be
It
honest.
looked fine. The ending image of him in the trailer, that's Robotnik. That's one of the that's the only live action Robotnik
That's
we
probably
have,
dude,
but
that's,
it
that's
looks
probably
great.
the end of the movie.
It looks great. I think that image looks great. the robots that Robotnik uses, they look like Robotnik robots.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I could believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Schwartz, I think sounds fine as Sonic. I have no
agree.
complaints.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything else fucking sucks, and I hate it, and I
Yeah.
want it to die in fire.
So does
Although it is,
Paramount.
as you and I talked about earlier, it's really weird that they went with Ben Schwartz for Sonic.
Yeah, it is weird. It
Like
is
if you're going to
weird.
replace the Sonic voice actor from the video games, why
Yeah.
not get a known name?
Like when I heard that he was cast as Sonic, I was bummed that the
not
voice...
that I'm saying Ben Schwartz is doing a bad job.
Exactly. But, I mean, I know how we talked about the design of Sonic before. I know how much we ragged on it, but just seeing it actually animate, seeing him run, and the only other good thing I can say about Sonic is that they got the sound effect for the spin dash right. That's straight from the game.
You know what's
Yeah.
interesting?
But besides that, it hurt my
Does Sonic
mind. It hurt
frequently
my soul.
Does Sonic frequently tap into the Speed Force and to go
That's
fast?
not a thing.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does he have lightning? Sonic never, even of all the cartoons,
Yeah.
the only thing that Sonic has is like a little trail of fire because he's running so fast the ground's on fire.
Now, one of the things I was, I've been trying to, say like I can understand the change in the design,
Yeah.
and all the other redesign, all the other like designs. I was kind of like, I'm not sure, so you still got the problem with the eyes and the gloves and everything, but like this one, look.
You see it in motion, you're like,
Look,
oh.
there is a rule that both Voltron and Godzilla use. It is called the silhouette rule. If it looks like the thing that if the silhouette looks like the thing you're trying to emulate, you can fill that in. Look, you make a silhouette of this thing, you're going to wonder what the hell is that thing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they dropped this trailer and weren't already redesigning Sonic for the movie. I can't. Like these images are it was the same thing leaked months ago, and the internet was like, "That's terrible." And they knew, and I can't believe that. I think that they genuinely have been working on it, but they had this queued up. They're like, "Well, we gotta put a trailer out." So they put the trailer out, and they were just ready for the fan backlash and to be like, "Hey, we're redesigning him."
I really hope that's the case.
I can't imagine that they
Because
waited
if it's not-
till this late to fix it, because I'm like, this shouldn't have shocked anybody.
And if people don't know what we're talking about,
this is what it was going to look like.
the director came on Twitter and said, "Hey
did.
guys, we've been listening to your response. This has never happened before
No.
with a big budget movie. Listen, guys, we know you guys don't like the design.
Is it a big budget? It looks real cheap.
It's bigger than
It's a blockbuster big movie. I mean, it's not Avengers, but it's
Hold on, I'll look up
it's
the
triple.
budget while
It's
you're
probably
I heard it
triple
was
figures.
90 million.
That's
I
that's
heard.
Actually, that's actually lower than I expected.
I heard it was 90
that
mil.
sounds right.
That's
for
actually
how
not
this
bad.
movie looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I forgot my train of thought. Who cares?
No, I mean you're right.
What was I gonna say?
About you were
The
talking
director-
about
you were
your
saying the
Twitter.
director
He's like,
came
"Hey, yeah, this thing looks like shit, and we understand, so we're gonna fix it. Gotta fix fast."
Yeah, the new hashtag got fixed fast.
Ridiculous.
Which,
Truthfully, that does create problems. One of the things is, like the CGI guy, the people who work on CGI VFX, the whole VFX industry is underpaid and underutilized.
yeah.
It's
This
estimated.
creates-
It's estimated to be around $90 million. However, knowing that they're going back and changing the CGI to animation, they are adding costs.
Of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it is difficult because the VFX industry is a suffering industry for how often it's used.
Mhm.
They're constantly overworked and underpaid, so this is creating more overworking.
This movie comes out in 6 months, and
Yeah.
they're
This movie comes out-
redesigning
And
the whole character.
and that's why I'm like, I personally don't believe that they weren't already retooling this.
You're right.
I can't imagine that they saw the response to the leaked images and went, I think let's drop a trailer and then decide.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I'm like, you must have
If
started
they-
changing course
if
and then just
people-
had this trailer close to finished. So you're like, well, we should probably just
If people were
put that
bit-
trailer out.
if people were bitching and moaning about the way Sonic looked beforehand, even before this official trailer came out, they should have known that there's trouble in the waters. You guys know, I'm a diehard.
Yeah.
I have been through this with this character through thick and thin. I will be the first to tell you what a good and what a bad Sonic thing is. I never even wanted a Sonic movie. Paramount thinks we want one, so we're getting one.
Why isn't it animated?
Thank you.
That's
first of
that's
all,
how I feel too.
but
Great question.
I mean, if they're gonna fix it, but they still want to try and make that November release date, I say, that's also dumb and stupid. Actually, just delay it. I don't care. At this point, delay it. Make sure Sonic looks good.
Can I tell you what? You already sunk the ship.
Oh yeah, this thing was like
this. Can I tell? Like this movie, like fixing Sonic's design is going to fix a problem, not the problem.
which is
like
the plot.
this is not a
And that's
Sonic
another
movie.
Another problem.
Right.
Paramount needs a hit so bad, right? this is the first time this has ever happened. We're like, hey, we're going to fundamentally change what the character looks like, but like a couple months before the movie's out.
Right.
Again, if they had been working on it, they didn't tell us that.
No.
Right.
They were like, we need this movie to be good because we need money real bad. Please do damage control.
I was saying to you guys, like, you know, when we're talking about what the plot was and it was going to be live action, I said, well, it's probably going to be like Rocky and Bullwinkle, the live action adaptation where the animated characters came to the real world and they still looked animated.
But it's not.
And you know what? I was thinking, well, we're out of that era. This looks like Rocky and Bullwinkle. This looks like the movie Rocky and Bullwinkle,
It
where he
feels
comes
like-
out of an animated world and he's still freaking
Like
animated.
this movie should have came out. It feels like it came out in, like 2007.
Yes.
This movie should have came out 10 years ago. Yeah.
This movie does just seeing the
Why isn't it animated?
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't seem outside of having Sonic, Rings, and Eggman. Kind of. It doesn't seem to have anything that's taken from the Sonic games at all.
Do his rings constantly make parallel universe
Here's
travel?
the thing. Actually, that's called a
Are you
warp.
gonna do it 8 more times? Or
I don't
like-
understand where they got the idea from.
I'll tell you exactly where they got the idea from. There's the item in one of the Sonic games, Knuckles and the Chaotix, called warp rings, and they were used in the Archie comics at the end of the run, where essentially they were teleporters. It looks like it's a smaller ring, but once you throw it up,
It's a sling ring.
It'll enlarge, and you can. It's exactly like Doctor Strange's sling ring, but you have to think the location beforehand. Toss it up, you walk through, boom, you're good.
So
Okay,
anyway,
so there's precedent.
Here's the thing. I think the movie, as what it is from what we've seen, as what it is right now, with a better designed Sonic, is actually going to do worse financially
'Cause they're
than just
spending the
leaving
money.
it as it is. Not only that, at least bad. It's a bad movie people would want to see for like memeing it. It's the next internet. Oh man, this movie kind of thing.
They've already been making
that.
jokes about it.
Now that Sonic will actually potentially look right in it, it's losing that.
It's just gonna be a bad
because,
movie.
Like, the amount of this past week of internet memes created off of Sonic's look, at least it would have had that going for
I've
it.
already shown you. I've shown you guys a bunch already. Oh yeah,
Right.
they're
But
good.
It at least would have had that idea of being like the next biggest memeable film since Shrek. It could have had that potentiality.
Yeah.
But now that he might be redesigned, it's like, okay, so that'll be fixed, and then the movie around him will still be hot.
Shit.
So
messy
now I'm
garbage.
going to be positive for a second. I saw Jim Carrey from 1995 for the first time in like 20 years. He hasn't been Ace Ventura since the 90s.
Yeah.
And for me, it may not be like the best dialogue, but seeing Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey, I'm like, oh wow, I missed that a lot. I missed that a lot.
I was more interested in seeing Jim Carrey than I don't care who Robotnik
Yeah.
is. But I did like what he was doing.
I found him
liked
charming.
His look, I didn't care for. What he was doing as an actor, I was like, you know what? This is Jim
I'm
Carrey.
into Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
Yeah, no, and that's
it.
That's true, and I don't think anybody is against like Jim Carrey being that person.
Every
but
internet meme I've seen is just Jim Carrey is going to carry this movie. Yeah. Jim Carrey.
Poor James
people
Marsden, dude.
People have been saying that Jim Carrey is going to save the movie. I'm pretty sure he's not, but at least it's going to make the movie watchable.
I can't even feel bad for James Marsden because he did Hop.
No,
he
I know.
should know what he's walking into.
I've seen that. I've seen those
know.
memes. I've seen those memes as well.
That dude's so talented, and he's like on Westworld. He's incredible.
He is,
and I'm just like, why do you keep doing these shitty animal movies?
What are you
dude?
doing?
What are you doing?
Yes, Jim Carrey I think will be good, but and that'll be nice, but it's still just going to be like a nice gem.
Oh no, yeah.
in a
chaos
in a film
emerald?
that isn't good.
Yeah,
and then a Sonic who does look good.
Yeah,
like it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
It's messy. It is the start of the Smash Brothers cinematic universe.
Oh my god!
Stop it right there.
Listen, you want it. I want
no,
it.
it isn't. Detective Pikachu is.
Oh, you're right.
Anyway, I will drop this little. It's not that important, but it's really funny.
Oh no, I know where you're going.
This
with
trailer
this.
dropped out, because we talked about this morning.
Yeah.
Somebody on Twitter, a celebrity, posted a picture of himself and Shadow the Hedgehog, and saying, "Just something to think about." What actor do you think posted a picture
my
of "I want to be
God.
Shadow the Hedgehog"?
Oh my god!
Was it The Rock?
No,
no.
The guy from Fast and the Furious.
No.
Tommy Wiseau.
Oh.
Posted a picture on Twitter of himself and Shadow the Hedgehog, and let me tell you, as awful as that is, That would sell so many tickets. It's insane.
So Sonic, how's your sex life?
I'll show you the true power of chaos control.
I did not hit Amy. I did not. Oh my god.
You're the real faker. Fake.
Gosh.
I don't understand people's fascination with Tommy Wiseau.
He's a fascination.
That's fine, but
that's unbelievable.
it's
yeah, Sparks,
insane.
you broke me
That's
with that.
awesome.
What
dude.
I was told that by a friend, and I was shown it, and I'm like, oh my lord.
Chaos Emeralds.
You want to?
And I genuinely don't believe Tommy was
No.
so really meant to. Somebody who knew how smart that was as an
Yeah.
insane idea
It's a good-
told
it's a
Tommy
good
to
meme.
post it.
Quick,
But it's incredible.
quick little side note. We can finally get off of this because I don't want to talk about it anymore. But so the other day when this trailer came out, I got a Facebook message from one of my cousins in Montana.
Oh, because you're the Sonic guy, right?
Yeah, and my entire family, my entire Montana side of my family knows that I am a huge Sonic fan. And he sent me the link to the trailer, and he's like, "Hey, Ben, this made me think of you. I'm just scared for the onslaught of stuff from my family."
Oh my
like
god, this
sending-
is what you like, Ben?
sending me Sonic stuff because
Oh,
they
okay.
just saw the name Sonic, and they're like, "Hey, Ben likes that. Let's send him stuff like this, or let's show him stuff like this." And I'm just sitting there mentally screaming
Yeah. See-
because I think this design is just god awful.
I thought this was going in a different direction, where like they've never played a Sonic game, so like, oh, I can finally do something that Ben likes.
I think the cousin who sent it to me, I think he has. He's
Yeah.
just a few years older than.
Ben,
He's a little older than I am.
You're me when Dragon Ball Evolution was coming out.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
He's the Dragon Ball guy. He loves Dragon Ball. I'll send him the trailer. I'll show him the thing.
You want to run that again?
Oh no, I
nope,
no, I don't care.
That's like with comic movies. Like
You're not gonna cut it anyway.
I would if you want to run it again.
Too late.
we all have our specialties.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
All right. Shall we get off this topic?
Boy,
Gotta leave this thing.
gotta be real fast. Jeez, gotta fix fast. You kidding me?
All right, then time now for our main topic. Might as well just say again, we've been saying it since the top. Full spoilers for Avengers Endgame.
We're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe future.
We're going to be talking about what the storytelling potential of the future films could possibly look like.
Thank you, Squidward.
You're welcome.
I love you.
So I think Sonic is the first film in that one, right?
No, it's actually Detective Pikachu. I was just corrected on that.
What were you going to say, Sparks?
Nah, it's nothing.
Okay. All right. So we so at the end of, I guess, full spoilers. So at the end of Avengers Endgame, we are stuck in the year 2023
Yeah.
with 50% of the entire universe back as if it was still 2018.
Yeah.
That's, first of all, for a lot of people who were married and then that person died and they got remarried and now those people are
There
back.
are all kinds of scenarios that are.
They
real
are
weird.
literally
awkward.
too many to name.
Right. So
because Tony Stark's got to be able to keep his daughter, man.
Yeah.
Then he dies anyway, so.
Well, you know,
Here we are.
Hero moment.
yeah. So
Hero, we are.
how do we want to start this? Where do we want to
Why don't we start with Spider-Man? What do we think's going to happen with Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Good idea.
That's
think
really-
so.
that's the
I
next
think.
one.
I think let's do Spider-Man. Let's talk about the films we know are coming. Let's talk about the Disney Plus shows we know are coming, and then we can go from there.
Okay. So Spider-Man Far From Home is the next film coming out. It's in a couple months. Opening in July.
Yep.
I saw a rumor this week. I don't know how. I don't really feel anything about it, but I saw it, and it said that we're going to find out Mysterio is from an alternate time.
All right.
Alternate dimension reality thing.
I don't want that.
See, that's like cool comic book stuff, so I'm into that.
Right.
It immediately makes me think of Jessica Jones after Secret Wars, because in that new Jessica Jones book, there's a character from the pre-universe saying, I know all this stuff that none of you guys know, and it's freaking me out. I can see that working as a good actor Jake Gyllenhaal is,
Sure.
to work that into emotional core.
I ever since I cast Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm like, there's got to be some meat on this character.
Yeah, there has to be.
So I'm wondering
Yeah.
what that's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I buy into that rumor necessarily, but like it's
If
were definitely interesting to think about.
If that were it, I wouldn't be mad against it.
Yeah, I think they want to. I guess it could be because they talked about how Spider-Man Far From Home was the next film because they wanted to get a ground level view of what the universe is now.
Yeah.
Introducing us to the new universe. And I guess that could be a way to do it, but I think that's probably telling that it's probably not because you want to. Is this going to be this character? Maybe he was snapped, or maybe he wasn't.
Maybe he wasn't. I'd assume for how fast this is happening after Endgame that he was not.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he can. He looks like he's like a mystical master, and he has all this armor and like tech. Like I
Because
think
this
he's been
is
working on
very
it.
soon after Endgame.
Yeah, he's been working on it for a while.
Yeah.
Apparently, they touched the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
Much like Rogue One touched the beginning of Star Wars.
I would imagine that he's probably like he's the dude who's getting Fury up to speed on this situation. That's
he
why
is
Fury
working with
trusts
Fury.
him
Yeah.
because Fury was snapped,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, what's this thing going on?" And then Jake Gyllenhaal's like, "Oh, yo, dude, I've been doing this whole thing because I didn't get
I'm so
snapped."
excited because they're posing him. They're doing the Frost thing from Dragon Ball, where he's Frieza, but he's like, "I'm actually good and I'm saving people, but I'm actually a bad guy who's causing problems."
Right.
That's so genius.
Yeah.
love
So we know that from the Russo brothers, they must know this, but all of Peter's classmates were snapped.
Yeah.
Conveniently.
Conveniently, there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Probably Peter's teachers too.
Probably Peter's teachers.
Aunt May.
Aunt May.
Yeah.
I would actually assume Aunt May, truthfully, because I don't think they'd want to. I mean,
I don't
like
think
to
they're
see,
going to do a character beat where she's gone through 5 years of losing Peter. I don't
really-
think that's going to be
I don't
part
think
of
so
her.
either. And what I want to say is, I don't think that's where they're going to go. I think you don't have the storytelling
Too
to do
dramatic,
it.
maybe.
But I would have liked to have seen that. Personally,
If we were further away from the freshness of Uncle Ben
Yeah.
that's implied in the previous
yeah,
films, I'd be more into it.
Right.
I think that's too sudden
yeah,
for a character to have to go through. I think that there would be a cost to that I feel like would take a long time to unpack and explore with her.
right.
I also think that the nice thing about her finding out that he was Spider-Man in the end of the last film
Yeah,
is that we can kind of see this very supportive, like, fun relationship that's kind of been teased in the trailer of her, like, being very supportive of him being Spider-Man, which isn't something we've seen handled in the films a lot, like, not directly like this. Like, in the previous
she
films, it's always been,
knows,
like, she's always known or she's found out, and she's been like, I'm glad you're
I
out there.
always knew.
Yeah. I think that if she'd lost him for 5 years, that would create a very different dynamic of how she feels about him being Spider-Man.
And I don't think she'd want him to
And
be
I don't.
so.
And I don't want to see that right now.
Yeah.
So I prefer her snap.
Especially after Endgame, like with the dire consequences, and like it was a fun movie, but there was a real like tone to it.
Yes.
Like I want Spider-Man to be light and refreshing.
This kind of needs to feel a little closer to Ant-Man and the Wasp post Infinity War. This needs to be like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Happy's in it.
Yeah.
So I just want to really quickly bring up. I guess the Avengers Tower or whatever, whoever bought it, is still under construction in 2023.
I wonder if that's just a thing where they're not revealing it yet. Like because like the trailers aren't going to show that.
you're
Obviously.
right.
The
Yeah.
trailer won't show it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's for whatever reason it's always under construction on the bottom part. I didn't realize that the Avengers Tower is where the MetLife building is.
I don't know New York very well.
Yeah, the New York skyline where it is the MetLife building.
Oh, okay.
I guess Tony bought the MetLife building and built the Avengers Tower over
That
it.
dude loves buying
Well,
buildings.
Stark
and
Tower.
destroying
Stark Tower,
them.
yeah.
That
I think
became
that was,
Avengers Tower.
I thought that was interesting because
Yeah.
I knew its placement, but I always thought the MetLife was behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody, I don't remember. Somebody was like, "Oh yeah, Jon Favreau's definitely done it." I'm like, "No, he's in Far From
He's
Home."
in the next one.
Oh, yeah, they must have
How-
just not
He's
seen
definitely
the
flirting with Aunt May.
how much of the post snapping? Like, look, I mean, people probably committed suicide in this 5 years.
Yeah.
There are people with weird ass marriages. Like,
Yeah.
how much do you
I'll
think we're
put
going
it-
to see?
I think
Not
we're.
a lot.
I think we're only going to see
the characters who we were involved
it
with.
related to the characters of our Spider-Man film. I don't think that we're gonna see much of it outside of that. That being said, I could see them talking about the event itself happening because that's not too spoilery for when they would have filmed this.
And
Yeah.
kids who deal with grief, like deal with it like, with comedy. So I could definitely see like really dark comedy conversations. Like, well, I remember when everyone was dead. That was crazy. Like how kids talk. Like,
Remember The Vanishing?
Yeah.
Well, to
Yeah.
the 50%, it was just
it was like the
we were
nap.
dusting. Oh, we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it looked to
They
them.
they felt they think they passed out and then they woke up.
Yeah.
Right.
So and they woke up 5 years later.
It's going to be weird to see how they handle it. Obviously, like they knew going into this movie, they would have had to know. So maybe
Of
there's
course.
more of it than we think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just honestly going before we get any further into this. I am just worried that this massive shift will be swept away. Like, oh, don't worry about it. Nothing weird happened.
I think in the upcoming Marvel films, not the Black Widow films, but the films in the 5-year plan that we know that are coming out, Spider-Man Far From Home being the one exception, they are going to deal with that a lot more than Far From Home.
I know
feel Far From Home
would.
I feel Far From Home will mention it. They'll talk about it a little bit, but then they're going to focus more on Spider-Man versus Mysterio.
Can I? What do you want to see?
Something.
Okay, but can you give any more detail than that?
Well, look, there is a thing with the MCU and the X-Men. The X-Men movies are the biggest offenders of this idea, but the MCU does do it sometimes, where it's like, don't worry about what happened in this time frame. Between, I more specifically think, I guess a good maybe example.
Like Civil War, Infinity War?
No, more so Winter Soldier to Age of Ultron. At the end of Winter Soldier, Black Widow's like, I need to find out who I am. Peace out. And then in Avengers, she's just like, wow, that was crazy. I've been here the whole time. Like, what happened? I want to see that. Don't sweep that under the rug. I think
that specific moment's way past.
What I want to see is to not see them not acknowledge it, if that makes sense. I want it to be...
You want them to respect the history.
I want it to be a prevalent thing that we are now in the year 2023.
Okay, so I'll put it this way. I think what we're likely to see is characters like Aunt May and Peter, or Peter and some of the classmates.
Happy
kind of directly speaking with each other about it. I don't expect we'll see much of it referenced in the wider world of like people in Europe and stuff. Sure. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that. Now, that being said, if Jake Gyllenhaal's been alive the entire time of the snap and that's a part of the plot, that's pretty neat. So that's some direct relationship stuff. I think that the main characters are going to have reactions to it and like kind of like what the world is now. I don't think we're going to see much of like the rest of the world.
Yeah. So I think I just kind of processed this in my brain. Skipping forward a little bit, Black Panther 2. We know the movie's coming. The movie made $1.5 billion. Black Panther 2, if it doesn't acknowledge that T'Challa has been gone for however long that was, I feel a little cheated. I would like to see kind of, like the sequel specifically, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, like, hey, this was a seismic shift in your life. Now you look at Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. You look at Captain America 1 and 2, Thor the Dark World. Those films were made very differently than the later movies were. They were made to act as trilogies. Iron Man 1 and 2 and 3, you can not watch Avengers and you'd be fine. You'd miss a plot element, but you'd be fine. Captain America and Captain America Winter Soldier, kind of the same thing, but they were starting to go away from that. Thor the Dark World, you don't need to watch the Avengers at all. So I kind of would like to see, and then towards the later end of the MCU, specifically in Phase 3 when we get to Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, like it starts to be, Thor Ragnarok doesn't make sense unless you've seen all the movies. Captain America Civil War doesn't make sense unless you've seen all
It's where the
these.
serialized storytelling comes in. It's why we love it.
So I want to see that continue. I want to see Black Panther 2 and Doctor Strange 2 deal with the fact that their worlds are very different than the ones they snapped out of.
I think we'll see that.
I hope so.
Specifically for
I'd
those
like to,
characters.
yeah.
Since we are talking about the future of the MCU, I think specifically for Doctor Strange, the best way to acknowledge it is that I think Mordo shouldn't have been snapped.
Oh, yeah?
Mordo's been around like wow, they took out half the Sorcerer's for me. I'm going to finish the job.
Yeah,
interesting.
I think if Mordo's kind of been gaining himself that entire time,
a cult following.
That's a lot. Like that kind of for Strange would come up out of nowhere.
I'm into that.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
I would like that.
As far as Black Panther, I don't know what you can do to really show that.
Power struggle in
maybe-
Wakanda?
Yeah,
no,
like maybe.
But
like,
I don't know why there would be, because everybody very faithfully followed Okoye. At least it's implied.
But
and
then
now,
and then
but it was
T'Challa shows
because
up.
the king was gone, and Okoye was just the highest in command. But now T'Challa's back. I don't know. I don't know that Wakanda would be broken.
No,
by
I
it.
got you, because Killmonger shows up. He's a random, and they all have to follow the code of like he challenges the king, right?
Yeah.
It could be. I know you like we talked about it earlier, like M'Baku. Like I don't think that's right.
I was just throwing that out
No,
there.
no,
yeah.
yeah, but like another Wakandan character who's maybe introduced in the second one. He is the king, and he's like, listen, I know you're back, but I am the king, and this is my rule. So there will be conflicts there, I think.
But
Yeah.
is that too much like the first Black Panther film?
It kind of feels like it is
It
too
do-
much like the first
it-
Black Panther
it
film.
See, and that's why
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
how much time would we really
I
spend on
want
that
to say
kind of
that
thing?
it won't
That's
be
true.
the main conflict of the movie, but a sub-conflict is between Okoye and T'Challa. Because
maybe in like she doesn't approve of the way he's
exactly
trying to lead
because
things because she
Okoye,
found better ways.
because
Like,
I would say
almost
Okoye,
like a civil war between them.
well, I would say Okoye was like the interim leader of Wakanda, as in because Shuri is gone. I assume Angela Bassett was dusted as well. So even the queen mother died. So there is no trace of the royal family left.
Yeah.
So then Okoye and M'Baku are like, you know what? We're gonna help him out with Okoye taking point. And so when T'Challa comes back and he thinks, okay, we can do this, and Okoye's like, no, this is what we've gone through these past 5 years. This is what we need to do now. And then the two of them butt heads and may not come to blows, but it'll still be.
I don't want to say blows, but
no,
something political. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would still be a sub conflict. A main conflict could be something completely different. I have no idea. But a good subplot would be Okoye and T'Challa bumping heads on how to run Wakanda.
That's what I kind of would like to see. I would like to see not the main plot of the movie, but a subplot of something like she's like, I want to do it this way, and she's like, well, this is better, and he's like, well, this is how we did it before.
Like, you've been gone 5 years, T'Challa. Like, you don't know how things are anymore.
I think you could definitely do, especially going from Black Panther 1, carrying with that narrative, if Wakanda has now exposed itself to the world. I would imagine, thanks to Okoye, Wakanda did a lot of cleaning up post what happened with Thanos for that 5 years. So Wakanda's technology and everything was very much all out there. And now people are maybe coming back and being like, whoa, what are you doing?
It's like, hey,
all over the world right now,
like,
Wakanda.
It's like, wait, I was over at this thing over at MIT, and they're showing off a new Wakandan vibranium machine that, what?
All right, so I have my list here of like my 5 wants that are specific to.
That's what that was.
Yeah. So while we're talking about this, I'm just going to go into one of them, which is Sokovia becoming Latveria, and how they can very much easily introduce politics and stuff into Black Panther 2, having them feuding countries.
Yes.
There's some real good political shit right there, guys.
That'd be really interesting. I'd like to see that.
Like Doom slowly introduced. Like he's the leader of this country and he sees what Wakanda's doing. He's like, hey, like I respect what you're doing. Maybe we can talk it out. And then he sees Doom's a tyrant, and then they come to blows.
And we actually have a Victor Von Doom.
Out of all the Fox characters that they've now acquired, the Fantastic Four and Victor Von Doom especially is the easiest one you can introduce.
And the potential for Doom as like a character for literally 20 years is. Well, you guys have read the comics. You know?
I don't. So the idea that Doom could have put himself in place for the 5 years.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly
when
what he
they
does.
come back, it's already Latveria, but nobody knows because nobody's paying enough attention because it's a small thing.
And he's been building
but
it
it's
up.
been that for a while. I don't think we'll see it for a while. So like when Black Panther 2 drops, I don't think that'll be part of it.
Yeah.
I think we're still further down the road, but we could definitely get a hint of it. And I think that whenever it does come up, even if it's like near the end of that 5-year plan, that's nearly 10 years
of a country building itself
of a country having built itself to be Latveria, and it perfectly makes sense if it started during the 5-year gap when no one was looking.
Guys, I just saw something.
Yeah.
What up?
How funny or how awesome would it be is if in Far From Home, Spider-Man's Peter Parker's looking at a map of Europe, and on where Sokovia was, they crossed out and put Latveria.
As like a little Easter? Like,
just as a
that'd be
tiny
cool.
little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I think that the Fox Disney's deal was very well going to happen into the production of Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, but I don't think
the film Spider-Man Far From Home was very, very, very much done by the time the Fox deal was solidified. And Feige has even talked about like the idea they weren't allowed to use any of the characters, even concepts, even ideas, because contractually they needed to wait for the deal to be signed.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So
they legally couldn't just.
But you're not wrong. Like somewhere in that 5-year plan, because again, like I'm saying, I don't anticipate we're going to see it for a while.
Yeah.
No,
but I do think that idea should be done. I think if that Doom having it place himself during the 5 years that we haven't seen, and that's when the turn happened.
Sokovia will be Latveria. I think that is 100% going to happen.
Haven't they said? Hasn't Feige said that all the stuff, all the acquisitions they got from the Disney Fox deal will not be in place during this 5-year deal, this 5-year plan?
As far as movies, we're not going to see an X-Men or a Fantastic Four film,
but things can be introduced from those properties.
Yeah, they can sow the seeds that are going to lead to it because they know that eventually we're getting there.
Because one of the things,
and Latveria would be one of those.
One of the things I really want is Doctor Doom.
Oh, baby, you're talking to the Doctor Doom guy.
I know. I want Doctor Doom, and I know we're not supposed to talk about big bombastic things, but a stupid big bombastic thing I want an infamous Iron Man film.
I don't think it's possible anymore.
It's probably not, but I want one.
Because you need Tony to be alive to conflict with Victor.
Bring it back as an AI.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's just not the same.
I don't think that's something we're going to get.
Trust me, dude, like I want that more than anything, but
like
it's just not going to work out.
Yeah,
we could get
we could get a what if.
We could get not even a what if, but we could get a nod to the armor.
Yeah,
sure. Because, I mean, Iron Patriot isn't Norman Osborn.
He could still suit up and like. I mean, actually, he could be like there isn't an Iron Man. I should be Iron Man. Why not? But
Yeah.
Tony not being there,
There you go.
is a problem.
There you go. If it was Iron
Yeah,
Man.
Tony not being there, and if it's not going to happen in these next 5 years, I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I just don't foresee that.
Yeah.
But the Latveria thing, I 100% am.
Mhm.
I've always been on board with you ever since that was talked about. So
It's so
yes.
good. It's so genius.
I think that makes the most sense of anything is make Sokovia Latveria. It's
Yeah.
a failed state. He came in, cleaned it up.
It's a state that most of it was dropped on.
Yeah.
He has plenty of reason to come in there, and the seeds of it were already there in Age of Ultron. There was like anti-Avenger graffiti.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that. I want to
What do you
anything
wanna
more
do?
on Spider-Man: Far From Home, because I'd like to talk about that and then leave it.
No, I do think
No.
it's a really interesting idea if Mysterio wasn't snapped and he's like, oh, half the Avengers are gone. This is where I can become a hero.
Yeah.
I really like that idea a lot.
Yeah, and I think it makes more sense for us to have never heard of him, but Fury immediately have a lot of trust in him, seemingly with the trailers of I'm going to team you.
He's a
and
special
Peter
effects
together.
wizard. He's
It's
playing
because
us.
he has more knowledge about what's been going on for the past 5 years than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm
I wonder if we're gonna get Ben, you haven't beaten Spider-Man 4 yet, have you? Or excuse
No.
me, Spider-Man the game.
No, I haven't.
I wonder if we're gonna get a Doc Ock Spider-Man-esque I trusted you, you betrayed me kind of thing.
We could, because if we're going to the Spider-Man game, because that's when Peter works for Octavius.
You've gone to the point
after
where you
Paul.
know he's bad.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm way past that
No,
part.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm once again.
I'm wondering if we're gonna get wow, we're gonna see some sweet ass emotions.
because I would love to
between the
see another Doc Ock in Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I know that the Russos have said that they very much have considered Mysterio as cool uncle.
I saw that.
mentor
Yeah.
role for Peter. That's what they were, or that's what they.
And now that now that Tony's gone too,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's looking for
or not
something.
the Russos, but whoever that
The writers
that's
or whatever?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that they've been seeing him that way. Kevin Feige, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that thought has been out there. So that's interesting. I definitely don't want to see Peter lean too hard on you're my new replacement mentor.
I don't think it'll be you're my new replacement mentor. I just think it'll be this I have a hollowness in me, and this oh, here's this guy and he is a hero, so I look up to him. But I don't think it's
Uh-huh.
going to be hard, but I think it will be there.
Yeah, chiefly more than that, I want to see parallels between the loss of Tony for him and the loss of Uncle Ben, because I
Yeah.
want that to be directly at least mentioned.
I think it will.
It's got to happen in this movie, because it now it will be getting to the point where it will bother me if you're not bringing it up at all.
Yeah.
So I really hope that that's a present part of Peter's story in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
I'll
Yeah.
believe in it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah, I'd be
going to
down
be
for that.
interesting to see how that plays out. Okay, let's leave Spider-Man: Far From Home behind.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Black Widow.
All right,
We know
so-
there's a movie for Black Widow coming out.
I'm
Yes.
going to put money on it, say it's a prequel.
Well, it has to
Wait.
be. She's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Unless they
That
pull
girl-
some weird
I
thing.
don't. She's not the character to do that. She's not a
No,
cosmic
she's
character.
not. She's not.
I don't want that.
I don't want. I mean, you screwed that by killing her. So
Yeah.
it's almost certainly got to be a prequel, which I think is in some ways kind of a bummer.
What
Um,
period would you want to see this film in?
Early 2000s.
I would say before this would be the movie where she joined S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
She,
Yeah, so I would say early
she
2000s.
and if Jeremy Renner's up for it, Jeremy Renner can have a good role in this movie.
He'd have
the
to
real
be.
question is Budapest, yes or no?
If she's
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
getting very tired of the
No,
Budapest.
Budapest. That is both of them. They're probably gonna freaking do it, but
No.
that's them as a team.
Yeah.
I would say the Black Widow film is her.
I think any Black Widow film shouldn't have Jeremy Renner as a sensitive role.
Yeah.
I think that would do a disservice to the character.
I would only be interested in it if it's showing how she was working against their team and he put faith in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what's referenced, is that he's the person who gave her the chance to
Yeah.
be good.
He
if
was
you're
sent
gonna
to
show
kill
that,
her,
if you're going
and
to
then-
show that
yeah.
moment, that's fine with me. If you're going to show that trust being built between them, because if he's just kind of the Mark or part of the Mark for most of the movie, but by the end he's like, I'm putting faith in you on this, and
Yeah.
kind of we see him turn her. That's all right.
Yeah.
Because I think that only deepens that relationship, and
Sure.
and that's not something we've been told the details of, kind of thing. If I don't mind seeing that,
Yeah.
that's the only reason I would want him in the movie too.
Yeah.
Don't have him in there for any other reason other than to to have that moment in their lives where they became who they like, what it ultimately leads to, where they would love each other, where they would love each other enough that they would hate for either of them to die.
Yeah,
So
I would.
go ahead, Ben.
What I want for this Black Widow movie is her being the Russian ass kicker that she is before she joined Shield, and then eventually she like realizes like, hey, the stuff I'm doing isn't that good.
I want Atomic Blonde Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
That's
Like
what I
maybe
want.
you do get to see Dreykov's daughter, what Tom Hiddleston, that throwaway line from Avengers, where he's like, "Hey, look at all that red that you have. That's gushing it. See some of those gushing red moments that make her."
Wait, she knew
side.
her dad's name was?
No, Dreykov's daughter is some other dude.
No,
No?
no, yeah, that's the assassin. Like she killed some person's daughter.
Yeah,
And
who
it's
wasn't
like
supposed
Loki's
to die.
mentioning one of the things in her ledger.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said to her. I thought he acknowledged her as Dreykov's daughter.
No,
No,
she's not
no.
Dreykov.
Her
No,
dad's name is Ivan.
No, that's what I was getting at. Is that
Sorry, so Dreykov's the last name. Her last name's Romanoff.
I'm aware of that,
Okay.
but children can have last names that are different than their parents.
True.
No,
Sure.
he's mentioning that he
he's
knows
saying
her
that-
history, and that's why it scares her.
Yeah.
Implication that she
Killed
either was
someone.
responsible for the death of or
Okay, got
Um,
it.
killed her.
I've for 10 years I've
Misread that.
Misread that
Oh,
line.
sure.
So for me, I've read a lot of Black Widow's solo comics. She doesn't have a lot except for the modern age. For me, there's two situations. Either you do more modern stuff before she dies, and you deal with Chaos, which is like an evil organization with the Black Room, where they create like Black Widow-esque characters, but they're way worse.
Just realized this film could take place in the 5-year gap.
Yeah,
It
I don't know
could.
I don't know why you didn't realize that.
I
could.
wasn't really thinking about
yeah,
it.
so we could do that.
Well, because I feel like on some level you kind of have to see other Avengers, and I don't really want to in it.
No, you don't have to. But again, you
On
can do
some
that.
level, you absolutely would have to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she is like the leader or whatever.
Here's the problem.
That's why I want it to be in the past.
Here's what's setting the problem. The problem with setting a film anything post Age of Ultron. And I'm saying this because my ideal situation is different. Anything post Age of Ultron, she's an Avenger.
I agree.
She is absolutely an Avenger.
I
Any
agree.
movie that would have
She's
to,
a good person.
any movie that would star her would have to at least have an Avenger.
Yeah, that's why my second idea, which is the idea I want, is early 2000s, where she's still the Black Widow assassin, and maybe Hawkeye's in her a little bit, but it's where she is a hard-edged killer, and this is the moment she turns into a hero. And I'm like, I don't know how that happens, but
That's what I want.
So my ideal situation, and mind you, anything you guys have said, I'm in for.
yeah,
Truthfully, I would actually really like to see the story set between Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron. I brought that up specifically because I like the idea of seeing that time period where she was figuring out who she was, and you can have the Black Room, you can have the Spy versus Spy, you can do all that stuff within that time frame.
You know what? That might have more merit than I thought. Because that, if you put that there, then like she's kind of confronting her past, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It puts her past more at the forefront. It makes her actions and thoughts in Age of Ultron about herself more prevalent, and why they would be so at the forefront of her mind if she did just do that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually pretty on board with that idea. I think that's an interesting place to put it. It's unexpected because everyone's kind of expecting it's got to be in the 5-year gap, I guess, or way in the past.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was thinking like, oh, it could be that space that you're talking about in between and Winter Soldier. It also would condone a theory that I've heard that the young actress Florence Pugh from Fighting with My Family that's been cast, that she's going to be the next iteration of Black Widow.
Oh, interesting.
That she would, so if she were in the program during the events, as you say, between Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, and that's kind of where her connection got in, and then she would kind of assume up towards the mantle for a later film.
Yeah.
I could see where
That's
that
interesting.
I could see where that could be a potential actual build.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible idea.
Because I always thought it was strange that, in Winter Soldier, Cap's like, so are you coming? And she's like, no, I got to go do a thing and find myself. And then in Age of Ultron, she's like, I'm an Avenger.
yeah. I think that's only just because like different
that
writers
happened to
different.
all of them, but but it does seem
Yeah.
most
But at
egregious
least-
with her.
But at least in Age of Ultron, Sam and Cap have a line where it's like, so what are we doing with this? Oh, we're still looking. Like there's an acknowledgement that something has happened.
Yeah.
Whereas for Black Widow, it's just kind of like, here I am making martinis and I'm a monster because I can't have kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
set in the past or set. I don't know. Set in the past or set. 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 Set in the p All right, thanks, Luna. Set in the past or set in that Winter Soldier to Age of Ultron time period, I'd like to see Fury in it.
Same.
I
Same.
think that I'd like a little more of them with each other because they have a good relationship that we see in the other films, and seeing that either built in an earlier film or in the Winter Soldier Age of Ultron, it would also help some of that Fury stuff, because it's like, where the frick did Fury go during that time is also kind of a question mark. So I wouldn't mind seeing both of those.
Yeah. I'd be into that.
Boy, you actually kind of sold me on the. I really hope this takes place after Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
I
kind of want that too.
I think I'm in that spot now.
And you're right, because they can still do like the Black Widow and Chaos stuff, because that is part of her past.
Yeah, everything is still on the table.
And it honestly would make like why she's thinking so much about it, or the way she thinks about herself, which I don't like, but that she thinks of herself as this monster. At least that would be more on the forefront of her mind. I'd understand if I was watching them in chronological order. Oh, this is like why she's diving so hard into this Avengers stuff. She's like really come face to face with her past.
And to get people to shut up about Budapest, you could have a Budapest flashback. I don't want it, but we're probably gonna get it.
Look,
that's not important.
Budapest was a throwaway line. We need to stop talking about it.
Yeah. There was already footage from it, which was just footage from Avengers, but they repurposed it, and there was footage of it on the screen in Avengers. We've seen it. It's done.
Yeah, we're good.
We don't need it again.
No, we don't. But
so the other film that we're hearing is coming out next. This you guys
real quick, actually. If it is set in that Winter Soldier Age of Ultron time, does Jeremy Renner still make an appearance?
An appearance.
Yeah.
I think a cameo appearance. We could maybe have her on the farm at the end of the film.
That'd be nice.
Like, because
maybe even on the farm at the beginning.
Yeah, because she knows
where she starts from.
She knows Jeremy Renner lives there.
Yeah,
she knows the family.
That could be
Aunt Nat. Yeah.
That could also be the scene where they go up to like, hey, well, Laura's pregnant again, and if it's a girl, we're gonna name her Natasha.
Yeah, that could be
because in Age of Ultron, she's like, he's gonna be Nathaniel, and she's like, traitor.
Yeah, that could be that scene.
Yeah. That is the most interesting place I think they could put that movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
I always
thought so. Yeah, Ben, you won me over. I'd rather see that than just a regular flashback.
All right, cool.
Like a regular prequel, like Captain Marvel style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm humbled. Let's move on.
I think fundamentally, I do want to say I don't think I want to see the 5-year gap for her.
Probably
I don't think
not.
that's what I want her movie.
Yeah,
to be.
I don't think so either.
Me neither.
I don't think I want to see that.
I don't think there's a way to do it well without including other Avengers.
Especially because you see her
because she's
that.
kind of especially like taking on leadership role, Command Central. If you're not going to get all the other people back, I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't want Black Widow.
It's just going to cheapen that scene.
Yeah, I don't want Black Widow Civil War where half the Avengers are there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So the other film we're pretty sure is coming out next year is Eternals.
Eternals.
Now, mind you, none of these films are announced officially. Probably at Comic-Con.
Well, Black Widow's almost a guarantee.
Yeah, they promised us a Black Widow movie. And what's his name?
She's like talked about
David
recently
Harbour?
that she's producing it.
No, David Harbour was like, yeah, we're shooting in June.
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige was like,
I think there's enough smoke to say that Eternals is a thing.
Absolutely, definitely. So I'm not familiar with the Eternals.
Neither
I'm just going to throw that one out there.
I got nothing for Eternals.
I think the most fundamental question is this in the past? Is this now?
I think now.
You think in the past?
It's thousands of years in the past.
I've been thinking
it's future stuff, but these characters, and Feige's talked about it, the Eternals characters in general, not the movie, but he says the characters, they span thousands of years. I don't think he said that on accident.
Yeah.
These are characters that are immortal,
Sure.
basically, so I think this is going to be a century-spanning, like, maybe
narrative.
not narrative, yes, 100%.
Something that takes from way back and brings us
It's
to
about
now.
families and legacies spanning thousands of years, and Thanos hopefully is somehow involved because he is part of that legacy.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
For people who don't know the Eternals, Thanos is an Eternal.
Yeah, so very quickly, the Eternals were created by the Celestials, who experimented on human beings thousands and millions of years ago to turn them into gods, basically. So you have the good-looking gods, who are the Eternals, and the ugly ones called the Deviants.
Thanos is a deviant.
Thanos is a deviant. They're basically
they did this to other species. They did this to the Skrulls. The Skrulls that we see are deviants, but they beat the race of pretty people. So that whole race is just deviants.
And this is not to be confused with the Inhumans, who are Kree experiments from thousands of years ago to turn humans into super soldiers.
Sure.
Right.
This has happened multiple times. But this is the franchise where, for me, it's so bonkers and it's so crazy. Like, this is the one where I'm like, I don't really know what they're going to do.
Right, and
I
who
really
knows
don't.
who knows what they can pull from. That's why I was going to say, like, I don't think there's a lot to say about it, but I was just like, where do we feel the time frame would be? I think that you're probably right. I think it goes like way back, and I do think it also comes up to pretty much near modern.
Yeah.
maybe even right up to them acknowledging that Thanos is dead.
Yeah.
Now is this set because the Eternals live on the moon of Titan? Are we seeing that, or are we seeing the planet Titan to tie it in with Thanos?
I would really like, if Thanos is going to be in it at all, I would really like to see the divide where he made the decision to do the things he did.
Yeah.
Personally.
But do we have any indication that Thanos is thousands of years old?
We don't have any indication
We do
that
not.
he isn't.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, Eternals could operate as not solely as this.
Yeah.
But it could operate as a pseudo origin story for Thanos.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, obviously,
Does him picking up Gamora at a young age negate that though?
No.
No, because Gamora.
Because he's been conquesting forever.
Yeah, he picked up Gamora as a young age. He wasn't young.
No, I know, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's more
As
recent
long
in
as
his
it's
memory.
set before that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
like, we're fine.
Yeah.
He still has multiple children. I mean, Ebony Maw, Cole Obsidian.
No, yeah.
I assume that Thanos, at least for the past 300 or so years, has been doing this
Yeah.
across the universe.
Yeah.
He's known by a lot of entities
That's true.
in the
Yeah,
universe.
that's true. Yeah, okay.
I mean, Xandar knows about him as the Mad Titan too. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He could be
I,
old.
I would say Eternals. I just want to.
And we do know he had to be pretty old because he lived long enough on Titan to see it when it was good, to see it when it fell, to
Yeah.
see it when it drifted off of its gravity course. So
That's true.
he's old.
You're right.
thinking he did that.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, like
Yeah.
he's old.
He just punched the ground real hard.
he's
Yeah.
old, he's older
Bullshit.
than Josh Brolin is.
Yeah. You go.
There we go.
That is a guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
Mhm.
And it'll be interesting to see how what effect that's going to have on the MCU
Yeah.
going forward.
Be really interesting to see.
Is there anything in the Eternals you'd want to see? Mostly, I'm asking Ryan.
Yeah.
That would build to anything down the line that
They
you can think of,
honestly,
just like how we're talking
yeah.
about Latveria.
yeah,
anything like that.
They could, depending on how far they want to go into the directions of like Greek gods.
Sure.
Because the Marvel Universe does a lot of that stuff, but that's also more cosmic stuff.
Right.
So they can absolutely introduce Hercules from a long time ago, and then just like Wonder Woman, just have a whole pantheon of gods if they want to go in that direction. Which I'm saying, it's a comic book universe. Do everything. Have Norse gods, have Greek gods, have them battle each other. Do all that shit. They could really set up a pantheon of Norse and Greek and have all this stuff, kind of like what DC does, but for Marvel. And to set up like the grander stakes of like the Celestials and like. Even like the Beyonder and like this really high concept stuff, because that's what this is. This is really the highest concept that Marvel's done so far.
Sure.
So I hope they just go for it. Is what I say.
I think we could see. I don't think we're going to see like for example, the Living Tribunal. I don't think we're going to get that far cosmic, but I
Yeah.
think this is the next step into getting to there.
100%.
I think this is meant to definitely open the minds of everyone
Yes.
to
Yeah.
what the universe can do now that we've passed Thanos.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, for me, like looking at this unit for regular people, that's the one to introduce. All right, we got really crazy magic shit in different dimensions,
And
so
also,
it's like, get ready for it.
they did say a multiverse.
Multiverse, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got a question actually before
Sure.
we get further. Do we want to see another 10-year spanning super narrative?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm kind of with you. I don't
I
think
think,
so either.
Like a lot of TV shows do, they do like mini arcs. I think if you want to do a couple mini arcs that maybe ties in everything.
I'll put it this way because I've thought about this. What I want is I do want there to be a plan, just like there was for these 3 phases to build
Sure.
to something. I want them to know the plan. I don't necessarily want to know the plan.
Yeah.
I want to know the plan when we get there and I look back.
Sure.
That
I-
they knew, but I didn't need to know. I don't need to see comparatively, I don't need to see the stones building the building blocks of where we're going next to tell me, hey, Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, that's
Yeah.
the thing. I don't need to see the pieces. I just want to know that they know them. I want them to be building to something. I don't want to necessarily know what it is, but I do want them to be building a overall plan
Yeah.
and narratively like where things are lining up and for a reason.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is I truthfully, now that we're done with this super narrative that I've just coined, I would rather
you're not
see,
wrong.
I mean, I would rather see just movies. With obviously, like Kevin Feige's not an idiot. He's going to have a plan for what he wants to do next.
Sure.
But I would like to see more emphasis on just, here's a movie, and not worry too much about the interconnectivity of them.
Yeah,
do like Shazam, Aquaman kind of stuff. Like
Do like Shazam, Aquaman.
And to be honest, that's kind of where we've been sitting with Phase 3 when you think about it. Like, take out Civil War, look at Black Panther, look at Spider-Man Homecoming,
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Even arguably Thor Ragnarok.
Arguably Thor Ragnarok.
Arguably, like, I'd say, like, it's a full narrative for Thor.
Yeah.
Yes, it does lead into the events of Infinity War and everything, but it is a full narrative focused on Thor and a good film on its own in its own right. That doesn't require the viewing of the next step. It just, like if you didn't watch the post-credit scene, like they're heading to Earth, that's it. I think we are at that point where they're letting the filmmakers build those concise films and still allow them to be building blocks to something else as well. I think we're there, so I'm not worried about that, but I do want there to be a thing down the road. I do want that to happen to us. I just don't need to see it happening.
Yeah, mainly what I was just saying is I would like more of Black Panther, more of Spider-Man Homecoming, more of Ant-Man and the Wasp, more of those kind of like self-contained, not worried about building a larger narrative.
Of every couple episodes, every couple of movies have, Thanos is here, remember him? And like, we don't need to see that, but they are building something. Don't let us know this time.
Yes, exactly. That's how I feel. Like, don't give me the jacuzzi scene. Don't give me Thanos
it
showing up in the post-credits of Age of Ultron. But, when I look back, let me see how things were lining up that they did culminate to this moment.
Yeah.
Let the little eggs be there that I can look back and I'm like, they were these things were happening because this was going to happen.
Yes.
I would say the reveal of Thanos at the end of Avengers was perfect.
Well, that was like the first. That's like the first.
Yeah. But still, though, it's like that was a tease. Is like this is what we're probably going to be building up to.
Yeah.
But they still
probably.
Actually, like Avengers is a good example. Like go back to not counting Iron Man 2, the way they built to Avengers, where we knew we were heading for something, but we weren't being, pretensed with it all the time. You know, Iron Man saw Nick Fury at the end and he said Avengers Initiative. That's it. Thor saw Coulson. That was it. Captain America had the Tesseract and then wound up meeting Nick Fury at the end. That was it. Like
small connections,
small pieces that are building to the larger narrative, not overt.
Coulson going to New Mexico and you see the hammer at the end of Iron Man 2.
And I think because again, if that was the first phase, so they are building. So I think now that we're starting fresh, I think they will be doing that.
Now
again.
that being said, I do want those kind of standalone films. However, I will say certain characters I want to see more Thor Ragnarok kind of crossover. Thor and Hulk in a movie rather than having to isolate Thor and Hulk in separate movies.
Yeah.
I want to see more of that. Not necessarily like on a crazy scale, but
as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Can we use that thought as a springboard into talking about what we think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 could be?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what it's going to be.
So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think we're all in agreement. Thor should be in it.
I think Thor is in it.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I think it's 100% that he's
especially because Chris Hemsworth will sign a new deal.
He signed a new deal last year. We just found out about it too.
That was official?
Yeah, but exactly. We're still finding out. But yeah, Chris Hemsworth signed on for like 5 more movies or something.
Excellent.
I mean, he was very much. We talked about this before. After Thor Ragnarok, he was very much re-energized with the character. So I think there's still places he wants to go with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a great place to put him.
Hell yeah.
And he does say as Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was a book that came out recently.
And that's a super recent book.
Yeah.
So like that's surprising that it's already getting mentioned in a movie.
So it could have just been like a little shot to comic nerds, but I'm down to see Thor in space because he does.
I can't even imagine
Thor's cosmic.
James Gunn writing Thor. And how funny that's going to be.
I am looking forward to Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt being able to play off each other better because they're being written by James Gunn.
I agree.
Specifically Chris Pratt.
So definitely we're talking about, there's the question of Gamora. You guys disagreed with me when I first said this, and I'm pretty sure you probably still do. I would at least like part of the movie to be dedicated, not like the main plot, but like a subplot, B plot, C plot, to be dedicated to seeing if it is possible to retrieve Gamora from the Soul Stone. And possibly finding out that they can't, and Quill has to deal with that and learn to love this new Gamora. That's kind of what I would like to see.
No,
this does enter an interesting question of like, how many of these films do we think take place in the year 2023, or how many of them take place in 2024?
Like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 could take place before Infinity War.
No,
I don't think so.
It can't?
Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I don't think there's any way that it will.
That wouldn't even be that wouldn't be fun anyway.
Well,
Because we already know what happens.
I know what you're saying. I see that what you're saying because there's the gap in the room
there's
for
like
it.
There's like that 5-year gap between Guardians.
There's a big thing in that that a lot of fans would be pissed about if they did that, and that's the fact that Adam Warlock would exist but not have been involved.
You're
in the
right.
Avengers
You're
films.
right. I forgot about that.
That's where
We do know Adam Warlock is in Guardians.
Adam
of the
Warlock
Damn it.
is definitely,
and I was the dumbass who put Adam Warlock on my own bingo card. So you're right.
Adam
Greg.
Warlock is definitely like a Vision character where like he was made for a purpose. And like it's an evil purpose, but he's going to become a good guy just through hanging out with these people.
Sparks, I take that back.
I saw why you thought of it. Like there is a gap of time. They totally could.
Because Gunn did say that Adam Warlock is going to be in Guardians 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, James
I'm
Gunn
gonna be okay with that.
James Gunn explicitly said after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when everyone thought that Adam Warlock was going to be Infinity War, he said, "No, I'm using him in Volume 3."
Yeah.
So
So my point why I brought that up is like, what year does this occur in? If this is not in 2023, which I know it was originally supposed to be, so
Yeah.
who knows? But if it's taking place the year it comes out, so 2 years later, 2025.
Yeah.
Okay.
What the
I think already the search for Gamora thing is done.
Mm-hmm.
If they did it, it's done. If we're picking up years later, it's over already.
that's what I was just. Even if it's a mention that we tried and we failed, that's still something.
Or there's
I would
no
like.
way to get her back. Like that's fine.
Yeah, that's still something I would like because it does carry off the idea that he's searching for her at the end of Endgame.
But I don't think I know it shows the picture of like the Gamora we know from Infinity War, but I think he's just searching for Gamora, and that
Gamora.
just means a Gamora who is there. Like it's because he knows that Gamora is dead, but then there's this other Gamora, and at that point I'm assuming Nebula has explained.
She does, because he's like, this is the guy that I fall in love with?
No, but I mean,
No,
like, because
but
we're
by
seeing
the time
them
we see him
standing
again.
on the ship
Okay,
at the
yeah.
end,
Gotcha.
and I'm assuming by then she's explained the whole story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Quill as a character, I could see him wanting to try to find a way to get her, and like failing or succeeding before the movie starts or after the movie starts.
Sure.
I want something there about that, because I think Quill as a character wouldn't just be like, well, I want my girlfriend back. Like, he's selfish. I want my girlfriend back. I don't want this.
I get that. I agree. I don't know. I just don't know how much time we'll spend to that. Anyway, I fully understand. Other details of we talked about, like, seeing after effects of the 5-year gap.
Yeah.
I want to see how different the dynamic is of the Guardians now that Rocket and Nebula are 5 years ahead of the rest of them.
And have been working together for all that
I
time.
think that they're going to be really close to each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'd really like to see that.
I would too.
That's going to be a totally different dynamic, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. See, that's the thing when I was talking about. I don't know if I said this in the Endgame review, but if I were Peyton Reed, James Gunn, Brian Coogler, coming into this post Endgame world, like, regardless of the fact that I probably pissed off that you wrote out some characters I liked using, I would be excited by the storytelling prospects. The whole universe has changed. More so than anything we've ever seen in a franchise before, you have the opportunity to change everything we know about these characters. Like you just said about Guardians 3. Rocket and Nebula will have a very different...
It's Marvel now.
Will have a very different
everything
thing.
is newer.
Yeah, and because Chris Pratt and Drax and everyone else is coming from a different time period, that's very different. I'd like to see that.
It's also really great that Thor will be in the third Guardians film, because if they are going to have Adam Warlock, that Thor is at least a good power counter to him besides just the Guardians.
Yeah.
That dude's whack.
Because that was going to be
powerful.
stacked for a while.
Adam Warlock fights Thanos. Like, yeah, that's...
I'm sure they're going to nerf him a little.
They have to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to see. I'm very curious about where that could go. I'm very curious, like, because of the 5-year gap, it has made me incredibly curious about the next phase.
I have a suspicion that many of the first few films we're going to see in these first 3 years either take place in the year 2023, or they're like Black Widow or Eternals, where they take place before, or they're very tight on that window. I don't think that they're going to be taking place like the real time 2 years after the events of Endgame that we've been seeing.
Right.
I think a lot of these films are going to stay tight to 2023 to catch up towards 2023.
I agree.
That's why it's a 5-year plan.
That was my thought.
Yeah,
I'd
I
be
think that's
interested in seeing
that's
that.
very much true. I think that we're going to see a lot of films kind of overlapping each other, kind of happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
This is Doctor Strange in the year 2023. This is Black Panther in the year 2023. The Guardians of the Galaxy in the year 2023.
Ant-Man and the Wasp in the year 2023.
In the year 2023, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Spider-Man 2023, yeah. All that kind of happening.
Yeah. Because by the
it's
time
going
we
to take
get
us
to-
time to get
Right,
that.
so that would
It
mean
will
by
be
the time
2023.
we get to the next phase, the end of phase 4, we would be in
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's super smart.
I think that is roughly the trajectory
Yeah.
and the plan. That
Which-
might get violated a little, but who knows?
Yeah, but honestly, I
I-
like that idea a lot.
I will say I can almost guarantee it does get violated by at least one person, and that's the third Spider-Man film,
Mhm.
because they will want to pump that out quick,
Yeah.
and that's almost certainly within the 5-year plan. They're not going to sleep on that for 5 years.
Yeah, we'll
there
see.
will be another Spider-Man film within that 5-year plan. and
2021
That one
probably.
will be probably 2024
Yeah.
or something. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that there will be some progression, but for the most part, I think
Because they
a
want
lot
to
of
keep
these.
them in.
But I think a lot of these are going to take place
Yeah.
the year following.
They're going to want to
Endgame.
keep him in high school and probably graduate him in the third film.
Yeah.
Potentially, who
Yeah.
knows exactly what's going to play out.
That's what I mean.
or like first year out of college, like he's already graduated very beginning
Yeah.
of the movie.
Freshman year again.
And that's where he meets Dr. Octavius.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So what? else?
This reminded me actually because I just brought up Spider-Man. I wanted to go back. What Michael Keaton's in Far From Home.
Yeah.
Do you guys think he was snapped?
Oh man. Man, it's real convenient if the entire cast of Spider-Man: Homecoming was snapped.
I don't know if it's important.
Because I think it is. Because imagine if he's this dude who's been in there 5 years and maybe this could be because we left Michael Keaton in a place where he's kind of like on the good with Spider-Man. If you wanted to bring that guy back around to being a villainous potential threat, have him have sat in 5 years while his family was dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. No, I agree with you.
yeah,
I agree with you because they're setting up Sinister Six.
sure.
Because the Scorpion's in jail.
Yeah,
with
so
him.
now
Yeah.
so now there's a Vulture who really hates everything because he blames
he-
the heroes for this ever happening
100%.
misguidedly.
His daughter
maybe.
was killed.
That's
His
what I'm
daughter
saying.
was
Like,
snapped,
if his
yeah.
whole family was snapped and he's just been sitting in prison for 5
I'd be
years,
so mad.
not to mention 5 years have now passed, and if he was alive during that time, he might have served a decent chunk of his sentence.
Yeah.
Maybe be
probably-
able to get off for good behavior.
I just
Who
probably
knows?
could-
I just
gone-
want to say, sorry, Ben. I just want to say, you mentioned that they're setting up the Sinister Six. Like, Sony has been trying to set up the Sinister Six for years, so now it's gotten to the point whenever I hear Sinister Six, I'm like, oh,
No, I know.
Sinister
But here's the
Six.
thing: if you just do it like Marvel and you do it organically, you could just have it in like the fourth movie and it means something.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No, I think
No.
the fourth movie.
Stop.
Not the second movie. All right.
Yeah, the movie that Drew Goddard was gonna make.
that poor guy.
Come on, we've already got Scorpion, Shocker, Mysterio, and Vulture. That's pretty good.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah,
oh
we got
wow, we got
four
four
of
of
the
them.
six.
Oh wow. All right. So while we're talking about Guardian stuff,
Yeah.
I've been catching up on Donny Cates' Guardians run, so I got a lot of
For
it on
sure.
my mind. We were talking about like an overarching arc. Do we want to do the 22 saga thing again? Sure, but I want one of those middle. I want like a phase to be Guardian centric and do a Nihilist stuff. Right. So it's like I wrote down Avengers level Guardians of the Galaxy event movie. Whether it's called Guardians of the Galaxy: Annihilus, or it's just called Avengers Annihilus or whatever. But
You
I
want a Nihilist.
I want Annihilus.
I have a quick question about
Yeah.
that because I know you've wanted a Nihilist. Do you want a Nihilist to be held off till the Fantastic Four come around?
It would make sense. Yes.
Sure.
It absolutely would be better to unite all those characters together because
Sure.
that would be awesome. But like, there's characters like Nova, Beta Ray Bill, Moondragon. I wrote down Cosmic Ghost Rider as a joke. But there's all these characters from the Abnett and Landing Run, and now her back again, where I'm like, oh man, there are just so many good characters, and I really think you can do what they've done with the Avengers and just do that in space with so many other characters. Have a Nova movie.
We talked about this a long time ago, but when James Gunn was spearheading the next phase, he said it was going to be a more cosmic-oriented phase.
And now that he's back, a lot of these ideas are probably going to come back in the
100%
frame.
bet.
So there could be like the idea is, I don't think Annihilus was not on their mind. Like I do think that possibly that's an idea for them. It'd be interesting to see if it was Guardians of the Galaxy Avengers crossover.
Yeah.
So it was like that.
I
Go
will
ahead
say
with your
real
thought.
quick, Annihilus is not. That's why I said I don't want him to be the end-all villain because Annihilus is honestly just he's a huge wave of aliens.
Sure.
He doesn't have a huge personality. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But the wave is so
He's
enormous.
kind of like Space Ultron.
yeah, he's Space Ultron. But like trillions.
There was
like,
Space Ultron for a while.
There was.
No, but I mean, like, related to the film specifically,
Yes.
he's kind of like a
Like,
space Ultron.
It's a wave of unending death. Like it's never been
Yeah, yeah.
stopped. So like the threat level's there, but the personality isn't there like a Thanos. So that's why I want him to just be like like an Avengers baddie instead of like an Endgame baddie.
Sure.
But
I
you can
could see
build
that.
up and have like this huge cosmic battle with Captain Marvel there. Show up Rhodey in a spacesuit. Like you can do this all again in space.
Yeah. I think. Actually, I think it would be very interesting if Annihilus, let's say near the end of this 5-year plan, is when we get our next Avengers film. And
Yeah.
I do want something that brings the Guardians and Avengers casts together again. That's more focused on them, not like our whole universe cast.
Yeah.
Specifically, just those teams.
Yeah. Sure.
Whatever the Avengers are and the Guardians. I just want those two teams doing something.
Whatever we think the new Avengers cast will be.
Right. I don't need Spider-Man in it. I don't need Black Panther. Sorry, not Black Panther. Black Panther might be part of the Avengers.
Spider-Man also might be part of it.
Spider-Man might be, but like I don't need him there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I want Black Panther. I want
Doctor
Captain
Strange.
Marvel. I want War Machine.
Yeah.
All there with the Guardians. But I want Falcon as the new Captain America. But
Captain
I don't
Falcon.
need I don't need Spider-Man there.
Right.
I don't need the.
Who not?
It's escaping my mind. I don't
What does it
need
look like?
I don't need Ant-Man and the Wasp there.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need lots of these other side things. I don't need all that to happen, but I like the kind of a focus on those teams interacting with each other.
I agree.
Who do we think the new Avengers are going to be?
Scarlet Witch,
Scarlet-
Doctor Strange, Black Panther.
I don't
Do you
think Scarlet Witch.
I don't think Doctor Strange is going to be an Avenger right away. I don't think so.
I think he might
don't
be
think
like a Batman.
I think he'll come in
Yeah.
not in the next Avengers film. I think he might come in the one after.
Really?
I kind of do. I think they're going to let Doctor Strange kind of be his own, and he could. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I could see them leaving Doctor Strange to the side to let a focus on Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Bucky if Bucky's
Will
still
Captain
around.
Marvel be? They basically said that she's going to be part of the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much 100% guarantee.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think the new Avengers lineup was Falcon to Captain Falcon. I don't think Scarlet Witch, mostly because I think her TV series will take
Oh
precedence
yeah,
for that
no,
character.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure Captain Falcon will be in the series. I'm saying Captain Falcon.
It's-
Captain
yeah.
America.
Winter Soldier too.
Yeah, maybe. Although I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised to not see Spider-Man and Doctor Strange in our next Avengers film within this next 5 years if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised not to see them.
I imagine-
I would imagine them actually voluntarily being involved and part of it for the next
Like that
Avengers
first
go around
Actually,
after that.
I will counter your point, Sparks, because I think Spider-Man is an Avenger.
Well, I mean, he's technically an Avenger.
Yeah, but I think Spider-Man is going to be part of that main Avengers
I
team.
think he's a popular enough character that there's going to be a lot of demand.
Well,
for
not just that. The character Peter Parker himself is going to want to try and uphold Tony's legacy of being an Avenger. Since Tony was such a big.
Possibly, yeah.
So I will agree with you on Doctor Strange not joining the Avengers fully until the sixth
You're right
Avengers
about the
film.
Batman call. It's a good call.
Yeah, like
Doctor Strange is like the Batman.
In the Justice League animated series, Batman was going to be part of the Justice League, but he's like, I don't work with you
Can I-
guys. Bye.
Here's
He's a reserve member.
I love Spider-Man.
I know you do. So do I.
I want to see him on ground level stuff.
Before you get
More-
him in the crazy space shit.
He's already been there.
done
I
it.
don't want to see it again. If the next thing were to, for example, if the next Avengers film were Annihilus, I don't really want to see Spider-Man there.
Neither do I.
I don't feel like he can
Yeah.
do a lot right
You're
now
right.
as he is there. I'd rather see him building his little ground level world and build himself up to actually on his own having the confidence to be, I'm an Avenger. Go back to the Spider-Man Homecoming idea where he was like, I don't think I'm ready for that.
Okay, I can see that.
And so I'd rather he be saved off for a
I
later
agree.
film.
Okay,
agree.
I see your point.
I think it's entirely likely, though. Like I agree.
For money
you made-
reasons
You made a
only.
very good point, but
Yeah.
I think it's entirely likely that Sony will be like,
Money,
no,
baby.
My
We like that.
character, our character is in your Avengers movie.
We've seen that the Avengers movies make 7.6% more money with a Spider-Man character in it, so we need that money, please.
But I imagine that Spider-Man will get 2 movies to everyone else's 1 in the time before we get an Avengers film because of the way that Sony's able to line it up.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think that's why it's okay he'll miss an Avengers.
yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not to mention, I could also see him appearing in a different film that isn't an Avengers film, but like a
Also, he could,
Ant-Man and Spider-Man
he could
film.
be in the Avengers movie, but not be an Avenger. It'd be like a silly cameo. Like, wait,
Sure.
you guys didn't call me?
Sure. Yeah.
Because like just so we can get that Tom Holland money.
Oh, I want that Ant-Man and Spider-Man film.
You're welcome.
Dude, there was Ant-Man and Spider-Man, and then what other characters? Some other bug characters. I don't know, but they call it A Bug's Life, and I'm like,
Mantis.
Mantis. Thank you. It was Mantis. I was like, The Bug's Life coming out soon. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Hank Pym becoming Yellow Jacket for a hot second.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we? We've talked about
I know what I would like to see.
Yeah.
What up, dog?
Especially because they could, and we talked about this at dinner, and I had an idea, and Ryan said it was a really good idea.
Oh, thank you for bringing this up. Yeah.
Was we could bring Riri Williams into the fold, either in this next 5-year plan or the early next 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of other people and other podcasters, I will call you out, but you know who you are, have been saying, make Shuri the Ironheart. It's not going to happen. Stop saying that, for the love of God. She's not going to become Ironheart. But here's what you do. You make Riri Williams Don Cheadle's niece, and she was born somewhere either right after the snap or during the snap, something like that. And have her do the comic accurate origin story where her parents get shot down in a gang war
in Chicago.
Yeah, in
at
Chicago.
a park.
And since Rhodey's the only living kin, he decides to I'll bring her and I'll raise her
as a ward.
And that's where he finds out that she is a freaking genius, and she will become Ironheart.
Yeah.
That's how you bring her into the fold.
Yeah. We had a long conversation about that.
You
Yeah.
just reminded me of a thought that I'm just kind of like. That I'm just kind of like, oh man, how messed up would it be?
You did make a face. So what was your thought?
Oh, I was thinking what happened to the people who were snapped while giving birth?
Oh,
Did the baby stay?
That's a rough thought.
That's we should probably not.
There's a book of all those kind of ideas.
No.
What if you were doing this during the snap and then you
what's worse, the mother giving birth and she disappearing, or you giving birth and then the baby snapping in
I
front
saw
of
a
you?
comic.
man.
I saw a comic once that one of the web comics that was like Thanos with the snap,
Yep.
and then you see a pregnant woman and she's just walking, and you expect her to dust.
But the stomach inflates?
No. But then there's just the baby there. There's just the baby laying on the ground, and the baby's like, "What?"
I'm alive.
I was most like that thought I came up with because I was like, well, this would be the more humorous thought. I mean, it's horrible, but it's there's still comedy there. I was thinking what if you're the dad helping your wife give birth and you get snapped? How traumatic would
That'd be
that
horrible.
be?
Yes, there's a lot of awful.
Real world ramifications are awful. Yes.
Yeah.
But going back to Riri Williams, because we were talking about, you don't just suddenly bring in a kid who's like, oh yeah, she's always been a genius, and so that way Rhodey would not know, and he finds out through getting to know his niece.
Yeah.
That
oh wow, you're
like
Tony.
Yeah,
Holy
that she's
shit.
one of the smartest people, and also it'll help her to become the next. I almost said Iron Man.
Well, I mean, she
Ironheart.
Yeah,
because her uncle is not only War Machine, who knows how to use a suit, but also his best friend was Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
she can probably get the idea, and maybe Robert Downey Jr. can come back for a voiceover of the
AI.
Of the AI.
I feel like that's a high possibility.
I still really want that to be a thing.
I really want Don Cheadle's Rhodey to stick around a little longer. I want him to get the time to be like a main person in a film.
I love Don Cheadle because now that we have basically two Iron Mans. We have the really smart one and the really brawny, funny one. Right?
Yeah.
Well, not that Tony's not funny, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Rhodey's sarcastic, but now we just have basically a dumb Iron Man, right? So it's so I have this super suit of technology, but I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to use it
which
or
is
fix
where
it.
Professor Hulk and or Riri.
Yeah,
would
so
come
you
in.
could have Hulk
Exactly.
and or Riri exactly, and be like, hey man, we'll help each other out,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'll teach you how to be Iron Man if you teach me how to be smart.
Did you guys notice that Professor Hulk is smaller than the Hulk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
yeah, he's
People
not fully.
people have been saying that. I think I noticed it this time.
That was cool.
Oh yeah,
Right.
People find him very attractive
He's just
now.
yeah, they do.
Oh boy.
Yeah, okay. I think we're at about an hour now.
So-
On this,
What else did you guys want to
There's
touch
plenty.
on?
I'm 100% all about that Don Cheadle thing.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
I really want him to stick around. I had an idea a long time ago that it probably will never happen, but I wanted the real Mandarin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I wanted
so-
I wanted it to be Ben Kingsley because I want them to have modeled what Trevor became, because he said he
got plastic surgery.
plastic surgery and stuff, that he was modeled after the real dude.
Yeah.
And so you get Ben Kingsley back now as the real Mandarin. I want it to be magic. I want him to go up against Doctor Strange and Rhodey and Riri.
that's smart.
I think that's a movie
Uh-huh.
that I'd be 100% into.
And also,
Yeah.
you could bring Sam Rockwell back as Justin Hammer after the death of Tony Stark. Be like, yes, I could finally get back on top. But here comes Riri Williams with her own Iron Man armor.
That's why-
and he's
yeah.
just pissed. He's like, I finally on top, and now this stupid little nobody shows up out of nowhere and is better than me? Oh, hell no.
The
I'm
Mandarin,
always okay with Sam Rockwell coming back.
100%.
Yes.
The Mandarin in the comics for the first 20, 30 years of his life was a racist stereotype.
Yes.
And then they evolved him into being like, he's a businessman, he's a politician, he's a filmmaker, like all this crazy shit, while still being like incredibly powerful with these 10 rings of unlimited magic, which we now know because of the Kieran Gillen run. The 10 rings, they're like the souls of like ancient like celestials, and like that's why they're so powerful. So I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Oh,
he's
that's
like,
why they're called the 10 Rings, because they're magic?
Yeah.
Well, initially, I mean, it's been a couple things. Like first it was magic, then it was science. Now it's this apparently.
Yeah, now it's like ancient, like basically like Infinity Stones, but like a human on the human level. The Mandarin's a really cool enemy for Iron Man because he's all tech and he's all magic. That's such a fun parallel. And how does Tony deal with magic? Much like Superman, who's invincible. How does he deal with someone who can punch him but it actually hurts and it's magic? Like, it's a really fun. It takes a really good writer to do that shit right. Matt Fraction did it excellently.
I don't think it's likely we're going to see that.
No,
but I think it would be cool.
It would be cool.
It's something I would like to see in the future. We talked a bit about Eternals. The Shang-Chi has been rumored.
Yes, it has.
Shang-Chi for me, like Shang-Chi's dope, but he's just a kung fu guy. So like, I hope that's a small scale, low budget. Just like this dude kicks ass.
Yeah,
because that's kind of what he does. He's just Bruce Lee, but he's the best martial artist on the planet.
Joins the Avengers.
Yeah,
I'm asking. Would he in the movies?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
maybe not a main character, but he has been a part of the Avengers. He hangs out with Iron Fist all the time.
No, I know that, but like, do you think he joins for the Avengers films?
If the movie is accepted enough, I think so. Yeah, because you don't have a kung fu guy. You don't have a guy who, like Black Widow does like martial arts, but like.
Well, she's dead anyway.
She's dead, but like I want to see some like Japanese hardcore martial arts movies.
Sure.
Like I want to see that shit because we haven't explored that part except for Iron Fist, but nobody cares about that.
It's an interesting thing doing Shang-Chi because on paper it doesn't feel like an Avengers level film that we have seen, like a large budget event.
He is a ground level dude who's really powerful.
That's another character where like kind of much in the same way I feel about the Netflix shows themselves, but that you could put Shang-Chi and Spider-Man in a film together.
100%.
That wouldn't get weird.
And it's super interesting to me because I feel like Marvel wants to corner every market. You know, they want a horror movie, they want this and that. They have Iron Fist. If they really wanted to, they could have, because Iron Fist is more popular than Shang-Chi. They could have made Iron Fist the big guy, but they're not. They're trying to get an actual Asian character to have be prominent in the movies, and that's super smart on their part.
Yeah.
So I really hope they get like kung fu dudes to make this movie.
Yeah.
Like get the guys who made The Raid to make this movie. That'd be awesome.
So the Disney Plus shows.
Oh, geez.
What do we think about the direction that these could go in?
Okay, so let's.
I don't even know, man.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is probably the one I have the most concrete idea about, and what I want to see the transition because I do think that the next movie we see Sam in, he will already be Captain America.
Sure. Yes,
I'd want to see the transition to him accepting the mantle in the show. I think that's what the show should be.
Right.
Him taking on and being like, I can do this, and I can be Captain America.
Yeah. And then Bucky is still Bucky to Captain America.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
Like
I was
Captain
actually-
Winter Soldier. I'm totally okay
and
with
actually
that.
give Bucky a character. I'd like to see that too.
100%.
I mean, I think that's given probably the idea of why they decided to do it as a TV show.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all in agreement on that one.
I would never be upset with seeing Old Man Steve maybe appear and just give him some advice.
No,
wouldn't be
that
against
would
it.
be great.
Listen,
Do a little bit of coaching.
there's a Charles Soule She-Hulk run where she's a lawyer, right? And then old Captain America walks in, and he's being nice to all the receptionists and all the ladies, and then Steve walks out, and then She-Hulk's like, well, you guys really like Captain America? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like 90, and he's still got an ass like nobody, and like they're all complimenting him because he's so nice. So even at 90, Captain America is the best. So I want...
Got America's ass.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's still got America's ass, yes. I am down for old Steve Rogers 100%.
Yeah, anytime Chris Evans wants to come back and do
Yeah.
that, I think that'd be great.
100%.
That would be
Whether
awesome.
it's in the next Captain America movie with Sam or in this show,
Yeah.
whichever. I feel like that's the most concrete and obvious one to be that.
So we have
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
I'm guessing.
It's a horrible name for a show. I just want to say.
It really is.
I'm guessing it's gonna be between Civil War and Infinity War where the show takes
I
place.
have no idea.
But at
We've
the
heard
same
so many different
time,
things,
it
yeah.
could be her trying to figure out how to bring the Vision back.
You know who could bring Vision back? Shuri could bring Vision back easy.
Yeah.
Done.
So,
Bing bang boom.
so maybe Shuri
No,
brings.
Fing Fang Foom.
I
Now-
you.
Now, Brandon, you posted something that was like, oh, it looked like it's being rumored that it's like going to be set in the 50s or whatever, right?
Well, I didn't post it. What happened was on the Disney on the Disney Plus
Like shareholders.
shareholders meeting that happened at the investor conference or whatever it was. They showed concept art to the people there. They didn't show it to the public. They showed concept art to the people there, and it was Wanda and Vision in the 1950s.
Yeah. That just makes me think of
or a
Tom.
1950s look.
Yeah.
Or 1950s look.
That makes me think of Tom King's Vision Run, because that's all about Americana,
Sure.
stuff like that.
I really don't know. I really don't know what
Yeah.
that show's going to be. That's
Neither do I.
It's weird to think about right now.
Yeah.
Do you think she has the accent or no?
Oh, of course not.
No.
That's dead.
They're giving up on that thing.
R.I.P. accent.
That thing is gone.
I like the accent.
I wish. I mean, it's a commitment. Sure. I wish they would have
Did
stuck
she
with it.
have it when she was talking to Thanos?
No.
No.
I couldn't tell.
It was fine in Civil War.
Yeah.
When it was present, but she'd gone more towards English, but it was there. It's just gone after that.
Yeah.
What's the
The Loki TV series.
Loki TV
was the other
series.
Oh
one.
yeah, that one.
Which,
I think that's the one.
There's
with
a
the
lot
biggest
of-
can of worms.
There's a lot of people thinking that it's alternate universe now, the Loki that escaped.
That's
Could
what
be.
That's what I think.
Could be.
For me, I like Loki's dead in our universe, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to see. I mean, I guess we could see a prequel version, but I like the idea of, okay, I have this chance to do whatever I want, and I like this Loki unhinged, where we don't have to worry about the ramifications of the universe.
Well,
Yeah.
what about the ideas before that happened that it's a Loki Tom Hiddleston narrating, but it's not him
Younger.
starring. It's a young alternate.
I like both ideas.
Well,
Because
'cause-
I want to see the reincarnation Loki stuff from the comics that they haven't done yet. So, like, I'm cool with both ideas.
right.
So the idea we know is he is influencing events through time. So it's his. So it doesn't seem like it's time travel. The way they said it's just his narrative leading up to we see him in Thor.
Which does imply prequel. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
okay, yeah.
I'm okay. I honestly, after Endgame and Infinity War, I'm just like they're just squeezing as they're milking as much Loki.
My
as they
question
could 'cause
is-
they know people love Loki.
Let's say the series is about our Loki and it's about pre-Thor Loki. Why show us an Endgame? There's another Loki that gets out.
As a joke.
I guess as a joke, but
just as like they needed the mess up to get to the 70s
that's true.
and all that. But
Yeah.
But I put a lot of thing in people's heads.
no,
like,
it
this
did.
is what
It did
it's-
100%.
Yeah.
And I also think, as it stands, what we think this Loki series is and what it's being talked about as, I question why we need it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's
I
just
feel
like
like
that Loki
Loki's,
comic book,
I
dude.
feel like Loki's well explored,
Yeah.
and I don't need more exploration. Now, if you were doing that alternate reality, I'm like, hey, that's fun.
And now, as we talk about these Disney Plus shows, Loki is the only one that I look at that I'm like, oh, you're only doing this because Tom Hiddleston is extremely popular as the character.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that's true. There has to be something more to it.
There
I don't
has to
think
be,
I don't
yeah.
think Feige would just go, especially because this was the first one we heard about, which means that it must have been the one that they felt the most confident about at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta believe that there's a good
Yeah.
reason for it. I'm just
Absolutely.
struggling to think of what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was like, this show's about Loki traveling through history and influence stuff. There was like a meme of like he's talking to Caesar, or he's talking to Brutus, and he's like, "Yo, you should just kill Caesar." And he's like, "What?" And it's like just doing that through history. That actually might be really good.
Right.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, you should bomb Japan. What?
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 God. Yeah,
It'll be weird to see.
I think if that is the idea of the show, but it's like, but then he's just influencing our history.
What if he's just Doctor Who?
Evil Doctor Who?
Evil Doctor Who.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
so. It's not confirmed,
yeah, dude.
but there's potentially a Hawkeye series.
Yes.
Hell yeah, I got that.
I think that's
got this on here.
I think that's a great idea.
Me too.
Have Jeremy Renner pass the bow on to Kate Bishop.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
This is gonna be talked about one of my 5 wants now. I typed.
Young
I typed.
Avengers.
I
Because
typed. But I wrote down.
I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to see Renner in
Very-
another. Well, we might see him in the Black Widow movie,
Maybe.
but I don't know that we'll see him in anything else past that.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I would like to see him passing it to Kate. It is interesting that kind of Endgame does set up the idea that he's maybe passing
Training
it
his
to
daughter.
Lila. But I know kind of same argument as Riri. Don't
You
care.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could just be teaching her how to shoot an arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can also just be that.
It'd be interesting to see that show, though. I'm honestly, I think that's the only show I'm like really into.
Oh, I'm really into Falcon now that he's going to be Cap.
Like, I mean, obviously, I don't want to give the assumption that I'm not into all of them. I
The one he's into the
wholeheartedly
most.
am.
Yeah.
But the Renner one, I like this Hawkeye. I'm into this Hawkeye. I'd really like to see this one progress.
We've been wanting a Hawkeye series for a very
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
to give him more attention.
Yeah, and I especially
agree.
I really like Renner as the character too.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about this Hawkeye show.
Before we move off Disney Plus, any other shows that haven't been announced that we think like a character should have a show, or where we'd like to see someone show up on a show?
Let me think.
Not off the top
Agent
of my
Carter.
head.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think an Agent Carter
I
prequel TV series.
would not
Yeah.
mind seeing one more season of Agent Carter.
Absolutely
but
not.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I would love
think-
to see an Agent
I
Carter
think
TV
the
series.
book is
season 3.
closed now,
Yeah,
and probably should stay that way.
because
Yeah.
I would just like to see, because the season 2 ends on a cliffhanger. I'd at least like to see them wrap up that cliffhanger.
Obviously, there's the What If show, and that's its own.
Yeah,
Whatever ideas they want to show us, wonderful. We don't
I
need to
want-
speculate about that. Who knows?
I want a. This is a joke answer, but kind of a real answer. I want a mockumentary, like a fake documentary about Banner being in that gamma lab for 18 days.
Yeah.
And it's just like documentary footage of him and dealing with it, and like all the 7 stages of grief that he's going through, trying to be the Hulk, trying to be Banner, and it's like a fun documentary.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would like. To
I'd be into that.
I would like to see a what if episode of Secret Empire of True Hydra Cap.
But like, how would
I don't know.
get there though?
I don't know. It could be like when before Steve's mom died, someone said, "Hey, I'm going to help take care of you," and
mean,
that
to be
person was Hydra.
They could literally just start it like, hey, what if his mom went to this meeting instead of this meeting, and then Captain America was.
Yeah.
But no, but the cosmics.
Cosmic Q. I know.
yeah.
I know. Cosmic Q. I just want to see this.
Trust me, dude. I want to see all this crazy cool shit
I
too,
know.
but it's
I know,
gotta
I know.
have merit.
It's gonna have merit.
the thing is, the thing that has me really interested in the What If TV series is that it's MCU
specific.
specific.
True,
It is events in the MCU that have happened that could have happened in another way.
Right.
I'm very much into seeing what that could be. What if Sokovia didn't just be destroyed in Age of Ultron? Obviously, that's
Yeah.
dumb because Sokovia is horrible.
What if Iron Man died in Avengers?
What if Iron Man died in Avengers? What if he doesn't come back through the wormhole?
What if, what they could on the What If show where Steve Rogers went, the alternate reality he lived out his long.
That
old
is
life.
a what
Yeah.
if. Yeah,
They
Yeah.
can show that.
that'd be
now.
great.
Yeah.
That seems to me a logical place to show us what was the world like where Captain America was around the entire time.
What if Bucky didn't die in First Avenger?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What if
That would change the whole world because he shaped history. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Or also again, what is that other alternate world where Thanos disappeared in 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if all
What if
kinds of things.
What if Gamora didn't choose to betray Thanos?
Mm-hmm.
So
We're
many.
really interested.
So many.
Really interested.
Yeah.
So we brought up Hawkeye. So I'm going to tie this into because I don't know if this could be a movie or it really. I just want it to be a movie. It could be a TV show, maybe better. Young Avengers, because they set up a couple. They set up Hawkeye and they set up Stature. With the Skrulls introduced now.
Stature, for anybody who doesn't know,
So
is
it's
Cassie Lang.
Cassie Lang, who is young Ant-Man.
Yeah.
She does shape shifting stuff too. Hulkling, who's a young Avenger. He's a Skrull who gets. He's like the ward of the Hulk. So like he's a Skrull who shapeshifts and he's a young Avenger. He's cool. Miss America is a Latino superpowered badass who it has a huge following with young people because she's super cool. She can get introduced anyway.
She goes through portals, right?
That are stars
Yeah.
that she punches into the ground. She's amazing. And then lastly, Wiccan, who is the not the son of Scarlet Witch, but the son of Scarlet Witch. There's like weird reality bending House of M stuff. But he is basically a male Scarlet Witch. He's like a witch guy. There's a lot of half of those characters are gay and lesbian. So like this is ushering in the future of Marvel with these guys would be super super interesting.
I think Young Avengers as a movie.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that I'm worried that the small scale of them would mess it
I
up.
don't think so. I think that sort of idea could be a big one. I don't know if it's Phase 4 though.
No, definitely not like immediately, but like we've got half of them already.
I think we're moving in the direction that we'll
Introduce more young
We'll
characters.
get it at a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think definitely Young Avengers as a film.
Yeah.
Because see, if you save off Spider-Man for the second Avengers outing in this new phase set,
He could be
whatever,
the Young Avengers leader.
He could be the Young Avengers leader.
That's
I was
so
gonna
smart.
say him trying to make his mark as an Avenger, and this
Look
would
at my
eventually
team.
lead to his passing and Miles Morales and blah blah.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see a Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel's
Kamala Khan.
awesome. Yeah.
I think that's definitely high on their ideas
Yeah.
for the future.
And they've definitely said like we want her for
we're
the
gonna
big
get
screen.
Photon. Photon could
Yep.
be part of Young Avengers as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Although
wait.
She might be too young.
She might be too old now.
Too old now,
because they're
yeah.
definitely teenagers.
She could like potentially be a mentoring
Yeah.
character for the team.
To be fair, Young Avengers like they don't have to be
They don't have
teenagers.
to be
Being in your
teenagers.
early 20s, you're still young. You're not 50 like Tony Stark.
How old would Monica be? Do we want to do the math on that right now?
No,
Okay.
30. Let's just
I
say
feel
30.
like there's still plenty to talk about.
I'm just going to say
think
30.
about it right now.
I would say it's about 32.
Yeah.
Kamala Khan would be interesting because she is an Inhuman. So you'd have to introduce that into the MCU proper.
Here's a real question: are they going to do that? Are they going to nix the Inhumans and just go with mutants, or are they going to try to do both?
Now, as I said before, Kevin Feige was never jazzed about doing the Inhumans movie. He was very happy to not have to do it.
While
so I
he's-
wonder
yeah.
I wonder if now that Ike can no longer force him to do a film, would he be more interested in doing it organically?
Yeah. Because while like the idea of the Inhumans, like overall, he might be into, but there are characters like Black Bolt and Karnak who are if they were on the big screen and you see Black Bolt like shouting and destroying a mountain with his voice, that's stuff that's like made for movies. So like it would be a disservice to Marvel, the MCU, if they didn't get these characters in there and utilize them. That's how I feel.
Especially because Kamala Khan, you can't. I guess you couldn't just make her not an Inhuman.
Yeah,
It's the
but like
same- because the Inhumans and the X-Men have a similar issue. They were created because it's like, well, how do they get these powers? Well,
Yeah.
they're this.
And the
They have a
MCU
genetic
hasn't
thing.
given the MCU itself, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. talks about the Inhumans, but MCU hasn't given us like, oh, what's the term for people with super? Oh, enhanced. Sorry,
Enhanced.
Yeah,
She could just be an enhanced.
because it's been implied that there are just.
Because I was going to say,
enhanced-
what's in DC? It's metahuman, right? Like if you just have
Yeah.
superpowers, you're a metahuman. They don't really have
like
that.
nobody questions why Spider-Man has powers.
Yeah, he's a
Right.
yeah.
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 And
So
this-
it could
I
just
think
be-
a few people have actually even called him a mutant before too.
Not in the
movies.
films.
Not
Not in the film,
Definitely
sure.
haven't used
I'm
the
not
word.
talking specifically
Oh,
in the
yeah.
films.
Also-
Nobody
yeah.
questions why
Also,
he has
hold
powers.
on. In the comics, he's a mutate. There's actually a difference.
Okay.
There's a difference between a mutant and a mutate.
Yeah.
But some people, I mean, I agree. Ben's also right that people in the press like, is Spider-Man a mutant?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
should he be beholden to the same discrimination? All that stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd be interested to see.
I guess this is a good bridge into the Fox characters.
Yeah.
How do we want to see the X-Men and the Fantastic Four brought to the MCU?
Well, I've said
Man, I don't know.
I've said how I would like to see the Fantastic Four. I think they should be 70s space adventurers, and through crazy cosmic stuff, they come back, and they're only slightly older than they would have been.
Oh my God, Brandon,
they
let's talk
were.
real quick. So that's exactly what I wrote. I said from the 60s or 70s. I
Yeah.
said Lost in a Negative Zone. Similar to Wasp, but not. They would have to do it differently so it doesn't look exactly the same, but they were lost and they come back a little bit older. Like, oh, wow, it's 2025. This is crazy.
Where
Yeah.
Reed Richards still has the
Yeah.
gray hair on his side.
Yeah, like they're old enough to where they have gray and they've got kids.
I don't want young Fantastic Four. That's absolutely the thing. They need to be not old, but definitely 30s. Like,
so
established.
So you want them to already have the kids?
Yes, I think when we see them, when they are introduced, they should have the kids.
I agree. Keep them very young, so they can grow. But I absolutely do not want to start fresh with the Fantastic Four. I think them being the first family would be cool if they literally were the first family, but they got lost in time. I think that's
And they knew,
awesome.
and maybe they knew Fury.
Yeah.
Like they were Shield agents or something.
And this is a way where they can backpedal a nihilist. Like they come back and like, guys, we need to prepare for this, but then just like don't.
Well, they
mention-
wouldn't if they're from the 60s or 70s. They wouldn't have known Fury, but they might have known Howard or Hank.
Right.
Oh yeah. Shield
Hey, you
stuff.
could bring
Yeah.
John Slattery back.
Yeah, like and again, like Sue Storm was an agent of Shield at one point. They can totally do stuff with that. Like there's
Sure.
so many possibilities.
Sure.
And I'm just like sweating thinking about it.
Yeah, I was told that by my manager, by our old manager Chris from Nerdables podcast. And ever since then, I've been like, hell yeah, that's how I want to see it happen.
So I think that I would want them to come back in let's say in this plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
An Avengers film happens. The villain is a nihilist.
Mhm.
The Fantastic Four come back in that movie.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
As a counterpoint
interesting.
to a nihilist, and then we get them out of it. Kind of the way Black
Like,
Panther and Spider-Man were
they don't know
introduced in
how to
Civil
be a
War.
nihilist, and
Yes.
then the Fantastic Four are kind of the Deus Ex
Yeah, the
Machina.
Guardians and the Avengers are kind of dealing with it, and
Yeah.
it's not going as great, and the Fantastic Four are a little more aware.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be into that.
Where does Doom fit in?
I would say,
Oh,
yeah, you're the
I-
Doom guy.
Well, it's
For him to have
It's just-
Latveria, where
I-
does he fit in?
I don't see my personal problem is I don't know. It's patience, right? Because like I want Doom to become a hero at one point and then lose it all. So like he starts the villain, he becomes a good guy. Where do you draw the line in the movies where like is he neutral and he just appears as a bad guy,
Sure.
or is he actually a bad guy?
So my specific
that was for
question
the dog, just so you guys know.
being is Doom's not with the Four.
No, he would not.
He didn't
He would
quest in
not.
space.
He would.
So
I see.
his origin comes from a different
Okay, I see.
You're with me now.
I'm with you now. Ah, shit, that one's tough. That
right.
one's tough.
That's why I was curious, because I love the Doom taking over Latveria and all this time thing, but
Yeah.
that would separate him from the Fantastic Four. He doesn't even know Richards then.
That's a problem because they are so intrinsically connected.
That's why I wanted to
in Doom's
ask.
history too. That I have not thought about that. That adds a huge wrinkle to everything I'm thinking about now. Because you have to have them connected. You have to. You have to.
Well, you can make them connected. You can make them connected after the fact.
Yeah, but
Because look, I know their origins are linked.
Yeah.
But they don't have to be. Like you can.
dude, Doctor Doom time.
This is why I brought it up,
No,
because I'm interested in like
for
what's
me,
the
Brandon,
version?
like Doctor Doom is like his origin involves time travel with Reed Richards. Like Reed is intrinsic to that story, especially now that we're in the MCU. Like with the Fox movies, you don't have to do that, but now that we're here, give that origin its due. Give those characters their due. That's
so
what I mean.
the downside of that is this is much like the case of, I mean, like Spider-Man's on a bigger level, but
Yeah.
we shot Uncle Ben twice. We put Doom in the thing with the Fantastic Four twice.
Yeah.
We've done it
Yeah.
twice.
yeah.
Do we do it again?
You don't have to, but then you have to somehow figure out. Well, no, they could have still went to college together. They could have still all done that. Just the experiment didn't happen to him. He still does his magic shit. He doesn't have to. He can still get his powers other ways.
Sure.
He's still a technological genius. He can
Sure.
still burn his face doing whatever he does. So it would bum me out not to have them so tied, but they can do it. I just don't want it.
Well, yeah, you can have them. You can have them still tied, and you can still have that rivalry if he comes back.
But the years of them not being like together, I don't know if like that rivalry will still be as impactful.
with Doom, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Doom will hold the grudge.
Yeah, like Richards, you're alive. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But
Could have pulled power from the dark dimension to age slower.
I was just about to say that if he has magic,
He does. Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Like as long as you lean into it, that's all I was.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Because I feel like I like your idea of introducing the Fantastic Four. I personally think that we can't put Doom up there again. I think the two movies killed it.
Yeah, no.
I don't think we can retread it just the same way we couldn't show shooting
Are you
Uncle
saying
Ben again.
Are you saying
Right.
use Doom at all, or
No, I just mean Doom going through the same
Oh.
origin process as the Fantastic
Oh,
Four.
I agree, okay.
I think that they can't be linked now. I don't think we can see them in the same movie just
Yeah.
for the same
As
reason
long
we can't
as-
see Uncle Ben being shot.
As long as we see his child origin with his sad origin with his mom and his dad,
Sure.
that doesn't involve the Fantastic Four. And as long as you know that he had a rivalry with Richards, and Richards is kind of the reason in college that his face gets burned off.
Sure.
As long as that's all still there, then we're gravy.
What if
We're
Richards?
gravy.
What if during their final fight, that's where Richards gets where Richards gets Doom's face burnt?
Well,
Where they're
it
in a-
happens
they're
very
in a-
early in his life.
I know, but like you have the college rivalry with between Doom and Richards there,
Mhm.
but also just take it a step further. That's where Reed also met Susan. Is that what happens in the books too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only that, but so both Reed and Victor are trying to get Susan. Susan chooses Reed over Victor.
Mm-hmm.
They go into the negative zone, get lost for 30 years, and then Victor does his magic techno shit. Takes over Sokovia, dubs it Latveria. Reed comes back.
Oh my
He's-
God! Like, yeah, Victor, what happened to you? Who are you now?
yeah,
Ooh,
and
that's
then
good, Ben.
and then he's like, "Look, Susan, I took this ruined country for you." They fight.
I was-
his face gets burned. He continues to wear his mask.
I was going to say much the same, that I think that Doom should look normal, like a person, and not have his burnt face,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
have any of
Okay.
that yet, if he's taking over Latveria, because I think that the people need, when they first let him come to power, need to trust him on appearance.
Nice.
And the whole thing is that they're anti any masked heroes.
Oh
that
my
kind of
God,
thing.
you guys! This
just saw
movie
something.
is like so good in my head right
I
now.
just saw something. You could also not have Infamous Iron Man, but reference Infamous Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like when Doom puts on the suit,
Yeah.
it's not like an Iron Man. It's kind of reminiscent, and
Yeah,
then. And then he's like, "This armor is modeled after a fallen hero of Earth. I am a hero." And then
Okay,
Reeds
yeah.
kicks his ass, and then we get the Doom mask we know because his face is permanently burnt.
That's pretty good. That's all real good, guys. I'm really into this.
Oh, I just figured it out. I just figured out how you do that. This is all garbage. What you should do is
Okay.
you should send all five of them, all five characters, up into space.
Okay.
Now it's got to look cheap.
I thought you were doing something genuine.
No,
Okay.
no, I like
Well,
your guys' idea a lot.
Anyway, yeah, I think that's the best way.
yeah, I like this idea a lot.
I think we see the Fantastic Four and Doom sooner than we see the X-Men.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
X-Men.
Now,
Guys, there's still two
Let's-
X-Men movies coming out this year.
Let's
Oh shit! I
talk
forgot about New Mutants.
X-Men.
yeah.
I
Honestly, we are literally 5 years away. I can't even tell you.
There are some fundamentals I think we can acknowledge about this.
Yeah.
For one thing, I don't think Eric and Charles will work in the MCU the way they've worked before.
Yeah.
No.
Don't think you can't have the history
So you can't do it.
No.
I think
Eric can't be 110 years old. Yeah.
I don't think it can work the same way. So you've got to do something new. Here's a thought, not necessarily the one I'm in love with, but it is a thought.
Is it about Black Magneto? Did you hear this theory about? Okay, go ahead.
No, it's. I think you can have mutants have been there. We just haven't been paying much attention to it, especially during the 5-year gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but we haven't been catching on. It's actually literally under the radar, and have Charles not have a school, but he's set up just kind of a safe space for mutants, and he's been kind of gathering them. Charles believes that they need to be protected and hidden and curated and all that.
Like a utopia, sort of, kind of.
Utopia. That's a good word for it. Yeah.
And Eric could even have built that with him, but Eric doesn't think that they need to. Like, here's the big thing. I don't think that the discrimination against mutants overall, the generality of it, works in the MCU. And I don't think it works because we are living in a world where everybody in the universe knows the Avengers undid Thanos' snap.
Yeah.
People with powers save the world.
You can't hate people with powers unilaterally. You can't hate heroes
Yeah.
unilaterally. So that changes everything for the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
But there can be a fundamental level of distrust about what the amount of enhanced individuals that Charles has potentially been hiding. How many
He's building
there
a
are.
child army.
Yes, and that puts nervousness on the shoulders of those who are looking at it.
Also, it scares the Avengers, and then you get Avengers versus X-Men.
I was just about to say
because they're fearful, but they're fearful for the wrong reasons.
One of the things I actually have been
Would it
wanting.
be better than the book?
Yes.
Good.
It won't take a lot.
Now,
Sorry, buddy.
now I do enjoy that book for what it's worth.
It's got Phoenix Force Cyclops. It's cool.
Yeah,
It's got some
but
stuff.
because I actually was flipping through it the other day, and I was like, I know they're probably gonna do it because one of my favorite tropes in comics is when heroes fight their heroes.
Dude, that Avengers
And-
versus X-Men is a $1 billion name alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But definitely do it better than the book. That's what I was thinking we can see maybe 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
That especially, I don't think the X-Men, I know we're going to see, I feel we're going to see the Fantastic Four a lot sooner than we will the X-Men.
You know, I think it's possible. I think there's a possibility. I don't know how big the possibility is, but I do think there's a possibility that the next Avengers movie is where we see the X-Men. And it's called Avengers versus X-Men. I think that's a possibility.
Just dive head first, this is it, guys.
Right.
Just
And
like go
that's
straight to the deep end right then and there.
That's the movie episode. That's the movie that introduces this concept that you were talking about, Sparks. The idea that they've been hiding the X-Men.
I'm okay with, you know what, if Marvel Studios and Disney decide to do that, then you know what, hats off to them. But I want them to pull it off. I want them to pull it off right.
And I think let mutants be mutants. You know, this happened naturally. This has just been happening.
Yeah.
But it's been slow, and Charles has just been picking up on it. So and we have the time. The past 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Mutants have been born, but so much else is going on in the world, and Charles has just been able to pick up on them bit by bit.
So the big thing for a lot of regular people is going to be, where have the X-Men been this whole time, right? And that's what we're trying to figure out. I like your idea of they've been hiding undercover, and then Charles has been building this. It's not an army, but he's been building to the other people. It's
that's what it looks like to others, but not what Charles was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's an awesome idea, especially after the snap and half of them are gone. Charles is like, "Oh, I need to protect my people."
Yes,
100%. I think this is an awesome idea.
I think even have an idea that Charles was on a path to bringing them to the forefront and doing something to bring them out into the world right after the events of Wakanda bringing itself out to the world.
Yeah.
And then Thanos happened.
And
Charles decided, no, we're going to pull back.
Yeah. Yeah, much like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they captured Inhumans and stuff. We could have been capturing mutants this whole time and just never known about it.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean there have to be thousands of mutants.
If it was S.H.I.E.L.D. capturing mutants, we would know about it because of Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay, that's true.
But if it was someone else...
Did you mean specifically the television show?
Yeah.
Yeah, he means specifically after the events of Winter Soldier.
No, I know.
The show
I know, but
I know, but
if it was S.H.I.E.L.D. capturing them, I think it would be because if it was depending on how long they've been capturing them. If it was just after Winter Soldier they started doing it, then that's different. But if they have been, then it would be found out.
I think his basic idea was just that people who they thought were Inhumans in the show could have been mutants.
Like we were confusing the two.
Sure.
People who were born with it and people who were transformed.
Fundamentally, I just think that like have it have been natural. Some people have gotten it later in life. Charles and Eric are in the first generation.
Yeah.
You know, they caught on very quickly.
I'll be honest. It sucks that Eric can't be a Holocaust survivor anymore.
Here's the thing. This is a great point. And I'm probably going to get it wrong because I'm stupid and I'm ignorant. But someone made a great point about having a black Magneto and have him be from like Rwanda, and he's going through the Rwandan massacres, and now he's trying to save his people, and doing something like that where it's a modern version of the Holocaust.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
And that's so different while still being the same thing.
That is. But there are
Jewish.
Look,
I get that.
There are a few Jewish characters.
Yes,
there are. I mean, there's more than there are of other minority characters, but there are a few Jewish characters.
Yeah.
Magneto is a very prominent Jewish character.
Yep.
And as someone who is, I would feel sad, not betrayed, but sad to have that taken away from him.
I understand. My thing is that I don't even know how valuable it is to even have Eric as a character in the MCU, to be honest with you, because you can't do this same story of I believe that the mutants should be treated as because this world doesn't allow for the narrative of the entire majority population hates mutants.
Unless we have a like Civil War-esque situation which puts a target on mutants.
Hey, here's an idea. What if Xavier is older, but Magneto is younger? So Magneto still Jewish,
but if if he wasn't there for the Holocaust, then it loses a lot of its power.
No, but people are still radicalized even if you're not part of a massacre.
No, sure, but I think that is very, very part of Magneto's origin. It's him in
I agree.
Auschwitz.
I would never take that away from his origin, but I do think there is a parallel to be drawn. Look, if I were to be radicalized and decide to kill all Germans, I could say it was because I read about the Holocaust and I feel for my kindred people who've died.
But you see,
in the Holocaust.
it's not nearly as powerful.
I agree, but you can't do his story in the MCU. You can't
that's why
do the
Holocaust. That's why you change it for the better.
Well, I think that's an idea that you can change for the better. Yeah. I think that's an idea. I don't think it's the idea.
I feel that eventually, when we put Magneto back onto screen, if we do the MCU and it's in 2023, 2024, 2027 even, we're gonna have to change something.
He'll be
because
37.
because that time that's gonna be close to he's gonna be well over 100 years old.
Yeah,
the Holocaust is gonna be about 80 to 90 years that have happened.
That's what I'm saying.
Whereas when we got Sir Ian Kellen. Or Ian
McKellen.
Thank you, Ian McKellen.
Gandalf himself.
As Magneto in the year 2000, that was perfect. He was in the right age range. It was fine. It was comics are probably going to always have it then, and then they might just throw in some hoodoo voodoo.
There's a lot of, I'm young now.
Some magic that he's still a Holocaust survivor, but he's hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
But eventually, we're going to have to change Magneto's origin.
The X-Men films have problems. One of the things they got right was always Charles and Eric, both iterations of the actors.
Yes.
And now it's going to have to be different. Just the same as we can't shoot Ben, we can't put Doom on the ship with the Fantastic Four. We have to change Charles and Eric. They can't be the same. Yeah. It's not going to work anymore.
No.
That has to change.
As I often said, you can't catch lightning in a bottle three times.
Arguably even, I see a potential MCU where we don't even have necessarily the character of Eric or Magneto. I see it. I can see that there's plenty of other X-Men things we can do and not touch Magneto, and it's not relevant if we're not even going to have that opposition between Charles and Eric anyway.
If you don't have the Martin Luther King Malcolm X parallels, it's almost like why have him there? Because his whole thing is to be a counter to Eric, to Professor X.
The way the MCU world works and how far along we're going to be by the time we do
especially
get the
because
X-Men,
we're so far along.
I just don't think that it's necessary to force, and I don't see it working organically right now. So I see a potential where we don't even do it.
I agree.
And we just do other things with the mutants. And on that note, I'd rather when we do start with the mutants that the kids we have, the second generation that Charles has been looking after is led by Cyclops. He gets to be the main character that he should be from the comics.
Thank you.
And we have no Wolverine for a while.
Yeah.
A while.
Now, see, I would love that. For money reasons, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Wolverine's going to be there from the beginning.
I don't think so.
Really?
I agree.
No, so-
I think they could.
Here's
I think
what
if Kevin
here's what I'm
Feige
coming
has
from.
the faith that we can do a Shang-Chi movie, he has the faith we can do an X-Men movie that doesn't have Wolverine in
That's-
it.
Here's
I
here's
believe that.
here's where we always come from. Kevin Feige is almost allergic to doing things that have come before.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is so resistant to doing things that have already happened. It's quite honestly an allergic reaction to it. That's why we haven't seen Uncle Ben. That's why when Venom was announced, we were like, well, we're never seeing Venom in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's entirely likely that hey, there were 17 years of Wolverine.
That's true.
Let's not do that yet.
And man,
Let's
yeah.
start going somewhere else.
Also, yeah, you're right. Like I want to be wrong because Cyclops is such an awesome character, and he has had no play in the movies. I
Nope.
feel bad for people who think Cyclops is a bad character because of those movies.
A lot of them.
Because Cyclops is freaking awesome.
Yes, I think Cyclops should be our focal
Yes.
in-point character, along with like some of the others who obviously should be present. Nightcrawler, I feel, is a good one. But certainly there's a lot of characters who would be better for representation to have in there coming from the X-Men that I think we should.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And we could still have the main cast of characters from Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
Cyclops, Emma Frost, no Jean Grey. We can not throw her into a movie for a good long while.
well, I think
or
Jean
ever.
Grey. I think
No, you
Jean
need
Grey
Jean.
would be there
Because
I think
it's
more
about
so
the
than
Avengers vs. X-Men is about the Phoenix
There's
Force.
a
well,
difference-
you change
there's
it.
Age of
we change
Ultron
it-
isn't about time travel. They could change.
But we
it.
could
No, but
change.
Ultron is in it.
I know,
Yeah,
but the
but
X-Men
Ultron-
are in Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
all
but I'm
right.
talking about for the movie, like Ryan, when you were saying earlier, your idea for an Avengers versus X-Men movie, you have the Avengers afraid of the X-Men because it's like you guys have been here for all these years and we never knew about you.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able to fly under the radar? You take the Phoenix Force out of there completely. It's just like in the Civil War comparisons. They took out the those dumbass heroes trying to go over those kids and that school got
I
exploded.
think it's
You're right.
perfectly fine to have Jean Grey. I don't think we need to do the Phoenix ever. But I think you can have
I
Jean
agree with
Grey.
that.
But I think Jean Grey is
I
fine.
still fully, as of now, I disagree that we don't need Jean Grey for a long while.
I didn't say need. I said it's okay to have her.
I still
Because
don't feel
I
we
think
need
the
Jean Grey.
relation. I think the relationship between Scott and Jean yields more dramatic results
You're right.
than really anything else in the X-Men franchise. You don't need Phoenix,
No, you don't.
and I don't think
At least
we'll get
not
Phoenix
for-
for a while.
And I'm going to say this right now.
Yeah.
I don't think either Jean or Cyclops need to necessarily be white when they're cast. Just saying.
That doesn't really matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So if they're not white and they're cast, 100% power to them. I'm fine with it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, the X-Men, you should cast diverse characters. For
Yeah,
the
That's why I'm
X-Men.
so
Yeah.
excited for Eternals, because besides Angelina Jolie, but that character is like a Celtic woman. Like they're all like completely different looking people.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But,
that's awesome.
but I think like what everybody's going to have to get on board with, and I'm not just saying in this room, I think in general, it's just the X-Men films for the MCU, they are going to be very different.
I want them
Yes.
to be.
And they need to be.
Yeah.
They have to.
The Charles and Eric relationship most likely isn't going to be there, and it probably shouldn't be. There are going to
Honestly,
be other
like-
things done in different ways. We might finally get Mr. Sinister done in a really cool
Wow.
way, and that could be
Teased
something
for 5
great.
movies.
I'm more okay with getting rid of Eric altogether as a character in the MCU than I would be a radical change to his character.
yeah.
I think if you were going to change him, I think if you took it in the direction of the Rwandan thing, I don't think that's a terrible idea. I think there are parallels of tragedies throughout human history.
I mean,
that
as
can
long
be
as you make him
drawn.
Jewish, a black person can be Jewish.
Yes, that's fine. There are parallels that can be drawn between human tragedies that have happened in this life, and the X-Men are a good allegory for it.
Absolutely.
So doing things like that, I'm not against. I do
The
think
Punisher's origin has changed, like whatever war works for the time period.
But my bigger thing is that the fundamental point of Eric's character will have to be different, because I don't think he can be fighting for a brotherhood of mutants in a world that I don't think can be 100% anti-mutant.
yeah, I agree. I think Feige's smart enough to realize that too.
Right. And I think
Yeah.
that's the most drastic, like, big shift we're going to have to see when
I
the
think-
X-Men come over.
yeah.
And I think that's why, whenever he's asked if we're going to see the X-Men, I think that's why he's always kind of A, dodging the question, and B, saying we're not going to see it for a while.
Yeah.
Because
They have to figure it out.
it is a massive shift in the continuity
This
of
isn't
the franchise.
this isn't like getting Spider-Man. This is getting a universe of characters.
And the X-Men, even when I open up my Avengers vs. X-Men book, there are so many characters on both sides that I have to keep track of, that there are times where I was reading that book, I had to flip to the front to remind myself who that person was.
And here's here's the other end of it. If you are going to go for the anti-mutant allegory, that strong stories, you've got to do it better than it's been done before in the films, which isn't too hard, I'll say.
No.
But you have to really go for it. You have to do it right, and you have to build the groundwork before it happens.
Agreed.
Because this world right now is not ready for it.
Yeah.
It's not the world that would do it. Not right after this snap.
They just got
no way.
This, like we've talked about, the superhero people just save them.
I'm looking forward to, this is something that we didn't touch on earlier, but I'm looking forward to not just people on Earth regarding the Avengers as the heroes who undid what Thanos
the universe,
did,
yeah.
but the universe knows they did it.
Hell yeah, dude.
The universe is suddenly going to have all these people alive, and who did it? Guess who?
Thanks to Captain Marvel.
The Avengers.
With Captain Marvel patrolling the universe, they're gonna ask her like, "Hey, how come all our people came back?"
The Ravagers were
Yeah.
in the last battle.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
she can straight the Ravagers. They can straight up say is like,
By the way, Ravager
This-
movie.
This was a delivery
I'm
on
okay with
Fury's promise from the end of Avengers, where he said, "Every world knows it. Every world really knows it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Bring on Annihilus."
I would love to
Ooh,
see a
baby.
Guardians 3000 movie with
Me too.
Stallone and
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus.
Now, I've been wanting to get this. I think you
Michelle
guys know
Yeoh.
where I'm going to go with this, but I know we're.
Really?
I feel like we're winding down. But what
Yes.
what I want, it's probably not going to happen. I don't care, but I want it. I want, if there will be a definitive, and I mean definitive, end to all these MCU movies, how many we're going to get, and when this bubble pops.
It's not going to be in our lifetime.
And probably not, but if it
It'll
does,
be in our lifetime.
I want Galactus.
Oh, we're going to get Galactus.
I want Galactus to destroy, to practically wreck everything, and I want Thor to sacrifice himself like he did in the Ultimates, on the Ultimate books. where
Okay,
he
if this
traps
is the end of Thor's
Yes.
line. Okay, cool.
End of Thor, end of Galactus. The end of the MCU is because of Galactus, the Eater of Worlds.
You know, you could do that at. I don't
That
know if I
is-
necessarily want that.
that is what
I will
that
tell
is
you what,
I personally
After just
want.
watching Endgame, Galactus kind of is not on the same scale.
But I want Galactus.
But I just don't think he's the final enemy of the
the
entire
end
MCU.
of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Ryan.
Yeah.
I don't think Galactus is
Honestly,
the end all be all
Galactus
of the
is
MCU.
like a Fantastic Four, like Avengers movie. That's a huge threat. That's Avengers 1 threat. That's not Endgame threat.
It'll be interesting to see. In the back of my head, I think I've always believed on some level that if we got to this point, I think we're looking at three sets of 3 phases.
Yeah.
So about 3 decades of the MCU, and it wouldn't shock me if that happened.
Yeah.
Relatively, in my mind, I kind of see that being the trajectory.
I
of
think
things.
we will see the last MCU film in our lifetime.
Oh, I think as it is, this MCU universe, I think probably.
Yeah.
If we aren't killed by something strange.
No, it's
Doctor Strange.
Anyway, the one other thing I was going to touch on is that major Avengers villains that we've talked about. Annihilus. I know one that I'd absolutely like to
I got
see
it here, baby, but go for it.
is the Cosmic Red Skull.
You really faked him out.
I did.
I've watched Avengers Assemble before.
Personally, I'd like to still see the Red Skull used for something.
Me too.
I'd like that to happen, and you know where I'm going.
Yeah, no.
If there is a 10-year plan, I know who I want to be the next Thanos, and it's Kang the Conqueror.
It
Yeah.
absolutely makes sense now that they've introduced time travel shit.
Now
'Cause
that
now
they've
that you've
created
messed with-
disparate timelines, Kang the Conqueror, and we'll get into it in our book club in a bit,
Yes.
why this fits so well. I think Kang the Conqueror is the obvious next choice of the bad guy.
I
Yeah.
completely 100% agree. If we're gonna do like 10-year storylines arcs that they've been doing, Kang, Galactus,
I also
Just flip those.
Galactus, Kang.
There you go.
yeah, yeah. Okay. I also wrote. I didn't say this because I was going to tie it in for the Young Avengers. Iron Lad, because Iron Lad is a teenage Kang,
Yeah.
and that's awesome because he becomes Iron Man to stop himself from becoming. It's awesome time travel shit. I love it.
Kang
It's awesome.
exists in 3 different time periods. There's 3
Yes.
different characters.
There's also
Kang exists in a lot of time.
there's also
periods.
Immortus, who is the old
His
version.
Future,
Oh,
his
yeah.
future
So
version.
Kang is there's young. I don't
Robin
know
Tutt.
who peed, old me or young me. You know, Kang's awesome. Iron Lad. Hey,
I think all of this time travel stuff has opened up a wonderful Pandora's box that in another decade we could see some of our actors who we've said goodbye to just now come back from alternate timelines, alternate dimensions,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this big kablooey against Kang the Conqueror, who's trying to right the time problems that have been created because of this.
that's the plot from MK11 right there.
So, with that, is there anything else you guys want to talk about the potentials of the MCU future?
There was a Screen Junkies movie fight that just happened this week, and the exact same question was asked, like, who should be one of the next big next big enemies? And somebody said the Squadron Supreme, and the Squadron Supreme is a group of superheroes from an alternate reality where their world was destroyed, so they come to Earth.
They're dope too,
they're dope.
They're a Justice League analog.
They're basically they're a Justice League analog. Hyperion, Darkhawk, like all of these awesome characters, but they are vicious and sinister, and they are much like the Justice Lords.
Very similar to the Justice Lords.
Yeah, they're evil versions of the Justice League.
Crime Syndicate.
Crime Syndicate. Thank you.
Well, they're closer to the Justice Lords, but the Crime Syndicate is not far off.
Depending on which version, they are heroes, but they're also like anti-heroes. But they are a anti-hero team. And I think it would be awesome if there was like a Superman versus the Elite type movie where they come and the Avengers, like it's been a long time, so people are used to the Avengers, and this new Squad Supreme team is doing the shit that the people want them to do.
Would you say they are lawful
and it's a battle
evil?
for the hearts of them and the mind.
Well, the only difference is with Superman versus the Elite, it was like the difference is Superman doesn't kill, the Elite does.
Yeah,
the Avengers kill.
No, but it's not like they're blatantly like murdering like
Ryan.
regular people.
Would you say the Squadron Supreme is lawful evil?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
But yeah, because they're anti-heroes. It's better. So
Yeah.
the Justice Lords and the are similar because
Justice
the Crime
Lords are
Syndicate
lawful evil. The Crime Syndicate is chaotic evil.
There
They
you
don't
go.
care.
Yeah, because the Crime Syndicate are evil. The
Also,
Justice Lords
like
the Squadron Supreme aren't evil.
depending on who writes them, like in Hickman's Avengers, Hyperion is just a straight up hero in this version, like because this is a different Hyperion from a different world, but the Squadron itself is a anti-Avengers team, and I think it'd be cool to have like a power dynamic that's like I said, like of the hearts and minds for the people.
Did you read this post Secret War Squadron Supreme book?
Yeah, by Marc Guggenheim,
where Darkhawk was recruiting different Squadron Supremes from different multiverses to
do.
create a new one.
Yeah, that book's awesome.
It was really
Ooh,
weird.
maybe Secret Wars could be the end all be all.
Secret Wars could be the
secretly,
end of
yeah,
the
that'd be-
franchise.
I didn't mean to say secretly, but yeah, like Secret Wars is the biggest thing they could possibly do.
Yeah, maybe Secret Wars. Like we have our King of the Conqueror films, we have our Galactus films, but the end all be all be Avengers Secret Wars.
That would be truly insane.
I would like to see that as the final
Yeah.
MCU film.
Imagine Endgame, but all of the bad guy enemies are just like evil Captain Americas and evil Thors. I'm just like,
You have
That
Thanos.
is not
No.
America's ass.
No, you have Thanos with Ultron and Oh, that'd be bad.
that'd be nuts.
There's a lot of incredible potential for where we can go, and fortunately, doing the diverse timelines thing has left doors open for actors we've said goodbye to
Smart.
still
Very
return
smart.
someday.
All right, so shall we move on into our book club then?
Heck
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice discussion.
Welcome to the Fake Nerd Comic Shop.
Yeah, hi. Do you have any books?
Can you be more specific?
Anything readable?
All right, then time now for our book club. Sparks, it's your turn.
This
Take it
is
away.
Avengers Forever. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. It's Kurt Busiek, right?
Yep.
Avengers Forever by Kurt Busiek from 1999.
It's a 12-issue series, so it started in 98, it finished 99.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is one of the more popular stories. It's also called the Destiny War.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's referred to as the Destiny War. This is a very big Kang the Conqueror story, which is one of the reasons why I picked
Sorry,
it.
real quick. I think the Destiny War was also an event happening at the same time that intertwined into it because
okay.
there are moments where like, oh, is this the Destiny War? So it's like a weird mix up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to pick this because this is something I read a long time ago. I think it was the first thing I read that had Kang in it, which is what put him on my map of like, oh, I think I really like this Marvel villain. Specifically because there's an issue near the end that's entirely focused on his perspective. That made me go, I think this villain's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Avengers Forever is this 12-issue series, and what happens is that
Kang from the future,
Immortus
has a time army.
Yes.
Ryan, you were wrong. The Destiny War is the name of the event that is
Is it?
going on in Avengers Forever.
Okay, that's weird. Okay,
Yeah.
I read something different. Okay, I'm glad you clarified. Okay.
So this, So what happens at the end of Avengers Forever is the Destiny War, and the Destiny is Kang is fighting against, has been in this whole thing. Kang the Conqueror himself is fighting against the destiny of him ultimately becoming Immortus. Mm-hmm. He's trying to prevent it because he's seeing Immortus, who's now going to attempt to kill Rick Jones,
who is somehow like the most important person in the universe.
Yes, and that's due to a thing that Immortus did before. Correct.
Rick Jones is a character that has been around in the Marvel Universe. He formed the Avengers.
He's like the Jimmy Olsen of the Marvel
Yeah,
Universe. He's criminally underutilized in every capacity.
So what happens is that you find out that Immortus is actually like the lackey of these characters called the Timekeepers. And the Timekeepers are having Immortus do all these things trying to basically cage humanity's progress. And Kang catches on to it, and he's like, F that. And so he pulls a whole bunch of Avengers from different points in time.
Which is, I have it here, maybe the coolest splash page, if I can get it, I've ever seen. Is it this one?
Oh, well, that's later.
Oh, that's later?
That's
Okay.
later. I was
Sorry.
just talking about the main team we're following up to that point.
Oh, like Yellow Jacket,
which
Captain
is
America.
Steve Rogers after he watches the president shoot himself.
After the first Secret Empire
Yeah.
storyline, where it was
Yes.
just Hydra had just infiltrated the government.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he's back to being captain.
He's a
He's
disillusioned.
Disillusioned. Thank you.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers.
He's going to give up the mantle, but he hasn't yet.
yes.
Yeah. You also have Janet Van Dyne.
Yes.
As the Wasp.
Yes.
Before she married Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's Janet and Hank and Giant Man from just in the future of where the story starts.
Is she?
And then Yellow Jacket.
I
No,
don't think
isn't she
past.
married to Giant Man
No, I don't
in
think
Avengers
so.
Forever?
I don't think so.
Yellow
She's-
Jacket's the
but
bad
Yellow
one.
Jacket hasn't married her yet, but they are married.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
he's like,
yes.
oh, I do marry you.
This
in the
is Yellow
future.
Jacket from the past, who's an asshole.
Right,
Yeah.
Yellow Jacket from the
Yeah.
past,
There's
who's
two
an
Hank
asshole,
Pyms.
but
Yeah.
Hank Pym, who's
'Cause
Giant
he's-
Man, is married to
he's
Janet.
trying to get because the whole because sadly I only read 7 issues. I'm sorry. Because Yellow Jacket has been trying to sleep with Songbird
Yeah.
all the effing
Ever
time.
since Wasp said, no, stop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's been trying to sleep with Songbird the whole damn time.
Yes.
and then Songbird finally
Man, Hank
sings
Pym
by
sucks.
punching him in the stomach, say, "No, you are Janet's husband.
Right.
You are Hank
She's my
Pym.
best friend."
She's my best friend." And that's where Janet's like, "Wait, what?"
Right,
Yeah.
because she's from further in the future. Anyway,
It's a lot of time
It's
stuff.
a
whole
lot
team-
of time bullshit.
whole
I
team
love
of
it.
Avengers pulled from all these different points in time.
What was
love it.
interesting is we see the current day Avengers, which has Giant Man, has Captain America, has
Yes.
Scarlet Witch,
Yes.
and then the Giant Man that we see is from just in the future of that moment, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
This book is it's got a really interesting concept, and I'm really sad I didn't enjoy it more. Honestly,
Yeah.
I will not lie. When I start reading this, when I have to get out of this damn habit of reading stuff very late at night. But reading that first issue, I was reading the first few issues, and next thing I realized, I'm dead asleep. I am out.
that happened to me a lot.
But probably because I got some caffeine in me. When I was reading, I think it was once I got out of issue 4. Then I was like, man, this is some good stuff, because that's the part where we get into where the team split up, where I was starting to see the things from Endgame intertwine. Like you have 3 sets of Avengers going into 3 different time sets. One at
Yes.
Tombstone in the
Yes.
1800s.
Oh, my God.
One of Captain Marvel, Marvel, and
It's the son of Captain Marvel.
no, son of Captain Marvel, and the Wasp in the 1950s with the scroll.
70s, Nixon's president.
No, he was vice president. They're in the 50s.
You're right, vice president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nixon was, and they were talking about him going to China, and then the 1950s Avengers hear that, going, wait, what? And you also have Captain America in the far future with a much older T'Challa.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
super cool.
Oh man,
Yeah.
That shit's so
Once
good.
I got to that,
War of the Worlds esque.
Yeah,
yeah. Once I got to that, I'm thinking, oh, this is some good shit.
and this whole thing opens up with the
And we still
Avengers army
Yeah.
in the far
Yeah,
future.
the time army of
Now,
Immortus's
the
Avengers.
The prologue, I was like, what the hell? And then we get to the whole Rick Jones thing, and then him being like Rick Jones was a paraplegic, then he could walk again.
John's Rickards.
Yeah, Johns Rickards, that asshole who just murders an entire planet for no good reason.
I have a theory. It's probably not true, but I think that he might be a Richards descendant because it's so far in the future. I think Rickards, he might be a descendant of Richards just for
I
fun.
thought that too.
Just for fun.
Well, he's
I
also
thought that too.
he's a reverse of Rick Jones's name.
oh, that's true.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
John's
yeah.
Rickards.
Rick Jones.
That's
yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Oh, is it just
I was
Rick Jones
surprised.
from the...
I thought that at first. I thought that was going to be
Did
a Reed Richards.
Did they not
reference.
mention that the names are so similar in this comic?
I think they do, because it's kind of implied that Rick Jones is kind of all over the place
Yeah.
throughout this story. So there's all kinds of good stuff. You got the Supreme Intelligence. And,
Oh, yeah, we got-
and
How she's supposed to
what's
look.
the guy with the
Libra.
Libra.
Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Libra.
I got a great quote from Captain America right here. Forget it, Libra. I talked to Iron Man via the phone recently, and he filled me in. And maybe you're Mantis's father, and maybe you're not, but you're clearly in league with King and the Supreme Intelligence, and we're not just going to trust you like that.
Right.
It's so good.
There's a. This is not the writing style I enjoy.
You don't
from
like old comics, I don't think.
I do
No,
like old
I
comics.
don't like old comics.
He doesn't like old comics.
Okay.
I have read comics from every era. It is specifically, and I'm trying to narrow it down.
You don't like wordy comics.
There's a problem I had with the New 52 Superman run, where every panel was explaining
I didn't read that run.
It's horrible.
That's why I didn't read it.
Every panel in that book is filled with words describing what is happening in that panel, and that is very similar to how this was written. It's rather than showing me what's happening on the page, it's describing to me what is happening on the page, and I couldn't get over that.
I can understand. If you ever attempt something like this again, it's obviously too late for this one now. I would suggest you can skip a lot of the blue text.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're feeling confused about something, then read the blue text.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It is all the
you
scripting
just-
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you just if you're confused, read the blue text.
Because it
If
wasn't
you're-
the dialogue.
If
that
you're
was,
not,
the-
then
you're-
just skip it.
You're right. It was the blue text that was. It was just too much for me.
Sure,
I just couldn't
and
get
I mean,
into
like
it.
I would have told you, like, hey, skip it, it, and if you are confused in a moment, then read it and help yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's more like an index if you're lost than it is anything else.
Yeah.
Because there is so much happening, like, it actually is helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes I needed to okay, hold on. I need to really think about this. What happened here? Oh, okay. Because at one point, like, they get to the space phantoms and explaining how they've altered due to Kang's orders. They have set up so many events throughout the entire Avengers history, including the marriage of Vision and the Scarlet Witch, and
Mantis and Swordmaster.
making Vision take over the body of the Human Torch. All kinds of nuts. And that's when I really relied on that stuff a lot. But otherwise, I would have just said you skip it and you read what's going on in the comic, but you don't have to.
Real quick, those old Avengers who is it's old Black Panther, but is also Jocasta, who is an Iron Man lady, Thundra, the Crimson Dynamo, another Iron Man villain, and the Living Lightning. That's the Avengers.
Don't
of the
you mean
future.
Whiplash?
I knew that name sounded familiar.
There's a whole lot of stuff happening. This is a very at the heart of this story is about Kang, the Conqueror,
trying to destroy his prevent his future.
Prevent the future decision that Immortus is making of working for the Timekeepers and killing Rick Jones to cage humanity. And there's an issue 10, I believe, where it's entirely focused on Kang's perspective and how he got to this point. And it goes through basically his whole personal history of living as a pharaoh and his love of his life being murdered and how many times he's fought against the Avengers, how many times he's fought with the Avengers because of things that happened. It's nuts. How there were infinite number of him at one point, and then they all had to kind of coalesce into one.
That's some good
because of the crystal he held.
Did that become Immortus?
No, he's still he's because
I know about the
Timekeepers are trying at the end of this story. The Timekeepers, when so Captain America summons a whole bunch of Avengers from a different point in time, from all these different points in time. He summons a whole bunch of Avengers, and that becomes the Destiny War.
Okay.
Well, the Timekeepers are trying to force the transformation on Kang of becoming Immortus. This is what's happening at the end. And Kang is resisting with everything he has. And Immortus doesn't believe, it's hinted that Immortus doesn't believe that what the Timekeepers tell him to do is right, that he's actually been fighting for humanity this whole time, and they feel like he's just been letting them down. And so they're forcing Immortus into the position where he's going to have to kill Rick Jones, and instead he decides to turn on the Timekeepers, and he destroys himself. And in doing the destruction of himself, undoes the transformation being done to Kang, preventing Kang's destiny from being fulfilled.
That's some good time travel shit. Dude.
That is some good time.
That's the shit that I'm
also,
super into.
I love the name of the Forever Crystal.
It's forever.
Yeah, the Forever Crystal.
That's pretty badass.
I don't know.
And the comic ends with the Supreme Intelligence holding the Forever Crystal, and you're all like, oh, God.
This is just, I'm just going to quote something. The time, no time at all. Or all time at once? For this is the time stream, a realm beyond reality, which flows through, around, and above all of time. The place, a vast, sophisticated time machine in the form of the world-famous Sphinx hurtling through the time stream, built by King the Conqueror, as a memento of his time as ruler of ancient Egypt. The stakes? Nothing less than the destiny of humanity itself.
Yeah, that's pretty damn great.
It's awesome. I love that shit.
You know what's interesting? I just realized what the writing reminds me of. It reminds me of Stan Lee. It reminds me of how Stan Lee specifically
it's very
writes.
much in his taste.
So, okay, Ryan said, I don't like old comics. It's not true. But here's what I don't like. I don't like Stan Lee's writing.
Okay, that's fair.
Except for that Silver Surfer book.
It's a good Silver Surfer book. Well, he
I think
writes very much like Alan Moore.
That's him aping not Stanley, though.
Right, no,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't like how Stan Lee writes. I know that's horrible to say, but it was that tone that I wasn't into.
It's more cheesy.
I don't
it's more
think
comic booky.
that you have a problem necessarily with how Stan Lee writes.
Mhm.
You have a problem with Stan Lee's description.
Yeah.
He's
Writing.
descriptive.
You don't necessarily have a problem with like the dialogue or the stories he comes up with, but you don't like the descriptions.
Yeah.
You don't like the way.
You don't like the cheesy descriptions.
You don't like how the spider in a twist of fate.
That's not surprising because you don't like that in the Sonic comics either.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. Yeah, true. Yeah, maybe I just don't like overly descriptive comics.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be.
It's a thing of a different time because
Yeah.
in many ways what it is what you're seeing is the adaptation to page of radio stories.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's coming from. That they're used to radio stories, and that's how they told stories. And it took a while for comics to realize they didn't need to rely on the narrative of that to keep the readers being able to follow what's happening. Because that would happen in radio stories too. They'd tell you something, and then
Little did he
you'd be
know.
hearing the dialogue with it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is 1998, 1999. It is in the style of Stan Lee, and that's why I think it's happening here. But that is where that's coming from, you know. If you ever went back, I do think like the last few issues of this are incredible.
I would,
and
the way
and
you described it, I would love to go back. It
I
seems
think-
like a story right up my alley.
I think just skip blue text,
Yeah.
and when you're confused, read it, but you don't have to read all of it, and it might make it easier. For
Here
you.
are some blue text that I liked because I think it makes
Genuinely,
sense.
like I'm being 100%
Yeah.
honest. Like some blue text I skipped because
Yeah.
it genuinely was just recapping what I just read or telling me what I'm looking at, and I'm like, I'm not confused. I'll just go on.
Yeah.
I understood that, but there were times where I needed to read it because I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is.
yeah.
Rick has so many questions for his older self. What's going to happen? How did he get this way? But there's no chance to ask them. He's gone. And in his place. So, we're in the Endgame now, are we? And it's
Yeah.
Rick Jones as Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Which is a future Rick Jones.
And sometimes you don't know how a character is feeling about another character unless you're reading the blue text.
Sure.
But a lot of times you don't need it. So
I
would say
will agree,
skip
Brandon.
it.
Especially in this, like, it is very description heavy, but I'm here for like comics. Like, I'm here to read words. Like, I does none of that. Like, I like words. I want to be a writer. I want
Yeah.
to write more words.
I mean, I read novels for that.
Yeah.
I read tons of novels.
No. Like
Yeah.
I'm partially with you because I'm saying like there were blue texts where I felt it was tedious and I didn't need it,
Yeah.
and I knew
Yeah.
when that happened, and I was like, I'm just gonna breeze past that because I'm interested
Yeah,
in
I'm gonna still finish it.
what
Yeah.
I'm seeing and what I'm seeing the characters say, and that's all that
Yeah.
matters. But like fundamentally, this story is just
Awesome.
absolutely cool.
It's bonkers.
If you, I imagine, because I haven't read all Marvel comics up to that point, but like if you had this like totally painted a whole tapestry on how events had been arranged
Yeah.
for decades by
Even-
Kang the
even-
Conqueror and
yeah.
his Space Phantoms and Immortus and all the strings that had been pulled up to this point. And this, it does feel like this massive culmination of these things that were just happening behind the scenes. And the fact that I just read this and didn't read anything else leading into it, and it felt that big, is impressive.
Yeah.
And
This
the way that
feels-
it walks
yeah.
me through it all, so I understood
like
it.
we keep bringing up Endgame, even they mention it itself, but it feels
Right.
like the culmination. It feels like a huge epic event.
Absolutely. By the end, it 100% does. And this
Especially
is,
the end, yeah.
And a big reason why I picked this is because I wanted to tie in with Endgame and say, like, this is why I think Kang the Conqueror is a fantastic villain to take the place of the next Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He is this person who can do so much because of how he messes with all these disparate timelines. The things that are... He is also himself a complex character, both having this nostalgia for his separate identity he used to be when he was Ramen Tut, but
Hell
also
yeah.
having this hatred for the person he knows he will be in Immortus. It's so complex and it's fascinating,
Yeah.
and it's really well done.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. True to my promise, though, I did read Shazam, the Shazam book I skipped.
Oh yeah.
Monster Society of Evil.
Oh yeah.
Very good. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Instead of reading The Wild Hunt, I started reading Hellboy proper, starting with the first issue.
It's awesome.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I want to go back and read Hellboy sometime.
Hey, man, I got them all.
of it. Yeah, it's on the docket.
Yeah.
That Shazam book's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna pull up my other favorite Shazam book at some point. I
should.
just don't know when.
All right. Anything else you guys want to just bring up, or is that it?
Nope.
He's going to pull out a quote, I'm sure.
I was trying to, but I don't think I can.
this is a super duper cool comic.
This is the reason I read comics. Like this time shit, bringing in armies of future Avengers in medieval armor and like AK-47s. Like it's just like this is the shit like I want to see eventually in the movies.
Man, that imagery of the Avengers army from like way far in the future, I'm like, holy.
Yeah,
what
it's
the balls.
super cool.
There's this part where in the last battle where Giant Man is just grabbing all the Thors from that Avengers army, and he's just taking all their hammers, and he's like, I'm lucky that these don't have the power of Mjolnir, because I wouldn't be able to grab this many of them and swing them around. And he's just got like a fistful of counterfeit Mjolnirs.
Yeah.
That's cute.
That's counterfeit Mjolnir. That's good. Yeah, this book's awesome.
All right.
It's really good. Yellow Jacket also, at one point, that's a cool thing. Yellow Jacket betrays the team. He betrays the team to Immortus.
Yeah.
And winds up having them captured and brought to like the place where the timekeepers are.
Yeah.
And you find out that like he ultimately doesn't believe in what's happening there, and he turns on the timekeepers, not specifically Immortus, but the timekeepers, because they're making promises to him, and he's like, nah, I'm not about that. And he rejoins the Avengers, and you hear Libra like make a dissection of like that's why it had to be this particular version of Yellow Jacket, because he needed to betray the team in order to bring them to this place at this point in time. And like everything was thought out.
Yeah.
Everything was planned out. And it's like, this is why it had to be this specific jackass version of Yellow Jacket. They needed him to betray the team to get them there.
So the big splash page where Captain America gets all the Avengers, is that issue 11 at the end of issue?
Yeah, it's at the end of issue 11.
So it ends with like the quote, and this is like there are dozens of various heroes of various universes, but it's every Avenger who is, was, or ever will be from all the timelines that didn't go sour. So how do you like them apples? Because we like them just fine. I'm like, Captain America.
Show them the splash page.
I already showed Ben, but it's literally like there's like a green Hawkeye, there's like a Dr. Dormammu Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like there's so many. Let's like this is why I read comics.
Oh, that's Sasquatch.
Yeah, there's everyone's there. It's
nuts.
It's really cool.
It's really cool though.
There's a giant Ant-Man. It's a giant. Giant Iron Man.
And this is one of those things where like
Giant
sometimes when I
Iron
read
Man.
comics that do this, I feel like when you throw that many characters up on the page, like yeah, it's really cool to see, but then at a certain point, like the battle just kind of becomes okay, it's a wash. But because it's not the focus, and the focus is actually what's happening with Rick and Kang.
Yeah.
In the last issue, and the battle's just a background. You see cool moments.
It's just cool stuff, yeah.
But it's not the focus of like, oh look, they're overwhelming them. Oh, there's a it really lands because the character and emotional beats of what this story was about what's happening with Kang, what's happening with Rick.
Hell yeah.
Who's the brain?
Ooh, let me see.
The brain in a jar. Also, female Captain America's there. Good call.
Let's see.
I realized she was introduced at that point.
I don't know who that brain is.
He's just
I mean,
brain
like,
in a jar.
there's definitely characters on there that I'm like, I don't know who that is, but this is cool.
All right, then. Ben, do you know what your book club's going to be next week?
I do not.
All right.
I will let you know later tonight.
We will figure that. We will post that on social media.
I got it.
You know who it is? The brain?
Yeah, her name is Martha Johansson.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not even joking. Is she part of the Unmen? Oh yeah, she's part of the U-Men. She's part of like a super like low level X-Men group. Her alias is No Girl.
All right.
That's a real character.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we will post what Ben's book club is this week on social media.
Hey, thanks guys for doing this Marvel Future talk with us.
I love Marvel.
Let us know what your what's the word
ideas.
I'm looking for? Speculations. Will be for the next phase.
No, I'm really
Speculate responsibly, please.
I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to do this, because it's we are very much I've listened to so much Avengers Endgame podcast and read so many think pieces about the end of the MCU as it is right now, and
this
all
era.
this stuff. This era, and it's interesting to live in this moment where we know there is more and how big it can become.
Yeah.
But we've also come to the end of the first big step of where we started.
It feels like after the Avengers came up, but on such a more massive scale.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, they did the thing that they were building up to. Now what?
Right.
Really, now what?
Like, really, where are we going?
It's like for real. It's like, okay, now what? It's like I feel like the fish at the end of Finding Nemo, where we're like, yay, now what?
Yeah.
Or is it over? Not till the fish jumps.
I'll tell you right now, though. I'm really glad we've done all this Marvel discussion. I am ready to leave it behind until
Same.
Spider-Man Far From Home comes out.
Same.
I'm ready to be done with it for a
Is
while.
anyone else a little marveled out at this point?
I mean, in my heart of hearts, no. But for the podcast,
to be honest, not Not completely, but
Not
that's
go-
why I want to stop now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you just want to
But
stop.
I'm ready for Far From Home.
Quit while we're
I'm
ahead,
done
so
with-
we don't have the
yeah.
burnout.
I'm done with Endgame talk. I can talk about Marvel literally all day long.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
I'll take
so,
that.
Until then, we got some Marvel stuff on YouTube.
Hell yeah, we
Jesus,
do.
do we?
Please check out this episode. Check out our previous episodes. I
Yeah.
will try to have the 4th rewatch part, which obviously you can find on our regular podcast
Right.
stream, but as a video to complete the series up on our YouTube channel. I will also, in time, be putting up our archive episodes. Our archive episodes will include every single one of our original Marvel Cinematic Universe reviews from Doctor Strange on. Those will all go up, so anybody who wants to kind of check where we were
In
on
chronological order.
that. Nope. Anyone who wants to check those out, because when we did our last part 4, we kind of we didn't paint with full strokes like we did the ones before because we'd done those reviews. So if you wanted to get into our nitty-gritty, other things that are going to go up on there are like
Nitty-gritty.
a lot of our topics about fandom and scores for films, and our interviews with Andrea Romano,
Ooh, that
and our
scores for
episodes
film
with Mike
episode was really
Mottola,
good.
and our episode with Marc Guggenheim, Christopher Swindle. All of those
Yeah.
are going to go up.
And, Basement Arcade every Wednesday.
Basement Arcade every Wednesday.
Fake Nerd Watched
for
every
now.
Tuesday you're looking at.
I think today. I think this one will be on
I
day.
think we could.
Honestly, I prefer them out on Mondays.
Yeah.
But like when I work and how slow my computer goes,
Yeah.
make it so it comes out when it comes out, and I'm doing my best.
Today's an early day though. So
Today's
I
an
think
early day.
we'll have it
Um,
Monday possibly.
All right, so check out our YouTube stuff. Check out all the stuff that's up on the feed. But we don't have a lot to announce because, wow, it's weird to not announce 15 dozen things coming out in the next couple weeks. Well, we only have Detective Pikachu next week.
All we have
very
is
excited.
a movie every week from here till the end of the summer.
Oh,
Yep. Except for in
Except
June.
for 1 week in June.
In the first weekend of June, we may have a surprise. I'm not ready to announce it yet.
I like having a schedule. It's nice to know what we're going to be doing.
yeah.
Yeah,
it
so
is
next
nice.
week is Detective Pikachu.
Oh my god, I'm so
Um,
excited, guys.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us this week. As you all know, we are a Funko affiliate, so please click the link in the description. Use promo code SHOP10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase. We get a little bit of kickback. As you also know, we are a member of Pave Media. You can check that website out at pavemedia.net, where you can find shows like Basement Art. Nope, that's ours.
I mean, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
The
The Batman one.
Batman vs. the World. Let's Get Contextual. Beyond the Box Set. Check out all those shows. A lot of cool people, a lot of cool shows.
yeah.
We do have a Patreon. You can find that at patreon.com/FakeNerdPod.
Throw us a buck or two.
Podcast. Yes. Throw us a buck. Keep the lights on. It's very dark in here. tpublic.com/user/FakeNerdPod. Pretty sure that's right. For our shirt store, if you want our logo on a shirt, looks really good on a shirt.
Can't
Yeah,
take that,
to be
Disney.
honest.
It's ours.
I
be
have
honest.
I have a shirt with our logo on it.
Yeah, it looks
and
real good.
I really like it. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
I got a miscellaneous
I
shirt.
think you wore it in our Endgame review.
I did.
You did, yeah.
I was not planning that, but I knew where. I didn't think we're gonna video record. I was like, oh, good thing I'm wearing the shirt today.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you to everyone who listens. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our intro musics and other musics and things. You can find him on Instagram at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards.
Yeah.
You can find a show, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes, facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, Instagram at SubProc Podcast. Very funny show. New episodes are coming.
He's also in an awesome band called Treasure Town
Yep.
And
the
The
element.
Element.
and The Element.
Yeah, he's been busy with Treasure Town, so
Yeah.
Subprocs.
I love those videos, Jeremy.
Keep
Keep
the
them up.
sideway
Keep
for
'em
that.
You can find Mike Mottola, our wonderful logo designer and friend,
Hell yeah.
at Mike Mottola. He just did I don't know if I've ever plugged this, but he did like a 60-second documentary for an Instagram thing. It's really good.
Oh, okay.
Really good. So check that one out.
Yeah.
60-second documentaries on Instagram. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, FakeNerdGuys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ryan,
I'm at DJ Tony Snark at everything.
Ben,
BenMagnet27 on Instagram and Twitter.
Sparks.
Sparks Witty on Instagram, SPARKZ Witty.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I can confirm we are on all of those now.
Nice.
Through the new feed. For now, we'll see what happens when I eventually do delete the old feed. So yeah, you can find us all there. So rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. And once again, guys, if you guys are having trouble with the feed, let me know
I'm
so
still
I
having
can
trouble with the feed.
so I can fix that like he just did. I'm still trying to fix that.
It's okay.
I'm not even sure if I can, honestly.
I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, stay fake nerds.
Yay!
Yay.
I taste blood in my mouth.
What?